Hello and welcome to Mock Sporting House Ballard's weekly Legacy Tournament. It's a beautiful Memorial Day Monday, federal holiday. I had the day off. It was great. Spent some time outside. I'm your host, Josh Monks. Joining the booth, Jake McCune. We got
Hello.
two JMs in the booth.
Yes.
How you doing today, Jake?
Very well, very well. I also had the day off, got to spend time catching up on some house tour type stuff and watching some fighting games from the weekend.
Oh, yeah,
some
Combo Breaker, right?
Yeah, Combo
Exciting.
Breaker is a very fun fighting game tournament. We do have some...
Ooh, that's some weird feedback.
Yeah, hey, Will, just a heads up, we have some kind of headphone clippage going on right now. So I guess we'll see what it sounds like on the broadcast.
Yeah, we'll check that out. Let us know if it sounds weird. We're getting kind of like it's like a clicking noise almost, some feedback. We'll get that figured out as we go forward. Let us know if it's still happening.
Yep.
I'm going to head down to the match now because I think our players are ready.
Yes.
So let's see what we got going on. So we got Nick Ragazzo. I'm pretty sure he's on Elves, not actually 100% sure. Not sure what Daniel's playing. We're going to have to find that out as they play.
Yep.
And of course, we have 4 rounds of Legacy coming at you live. Here's 6:30 p.m. Pacific time is our start time. We're running a little bit late. You know how it goes on holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, I think, a little lighter today, as it has been in a few weeks as well. So usually on days like that, we're willing, or, the community sentiment is, the community sentiment is essentially, let's wait around and see if anybody else shows up, and then we'll start at 6:40 instead of 6:30, basically.
Usually what happens. Yeah, so it looks like we have 25 players today. So it is a little bit on the light side for us, but that is much higher than it is in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's still a healthy crowd.
So I'm looking at Nick's hand. It definitely looks like he is on Elves this game. I see an Elvish Rewired Symbiote in his hand. I believe I also see the Archon of Justice, which is kind of like his one of Natural Order target.
Yes, that is kind of the newest card in the deck, I think, even though it's like a couple sets old at this point. Lets you shut off a certain spell type of your choosing. I think you get to choose between like almost
type.
all of them.
I think it's every non-creature spell type you can name. And I think he's also got like a Nettle Sentinel and Heritage Druid. So it's a pretty well-rounded Elves hand. I think I didn't see any Gaia's Cradles, and I don't think I saw like a Green Sun Zenith or a Natural Order. So
no, it looks like he's kind of on the Dudes and Dirtle plan and draw into some more action.
Yeah, I think he's got a Mana Dork as well. I think this is definitely I'm going to curve out and I'm going to attack you with my Nettle Sentinel every turn.
Exactly. Yeah.
Looks like Daniel took a mulligan. He's scrying right now on his 6, deciding if that's top or bottom. Looks like it's hanging out on the... going to the floor.
Still hard to see, too, so...
Yeah, he's still holding the cards at a tight angle. Oh, he tried to show it to us. Didn't quite work out. Appreciate the effort, though. Oh, it looks like a Reanimator strategy. We're going to reveal a Chancellor to start out.
Is it sounding okay on the stream?
It sounds fine now.
Cool. Oh, yeah, well, what we hear is not necessarily what's going out of the stream, so just making sure with them out there.
If it's a feedback noise, I assume that it'll be picked up everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. In the past, we've been live and hearing each other completely fine, and it's been super weird. So that sounds like it's going all right.
Yeah, I do see the audio bars picking up for us. So at least that's getting sent.
Yeah.
Looks like no drop frame either.
Still, Daniel's keeping him close to the chest. I tell you what.
It's just the angle, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like Nick started out. He did show Chancellor of the NX at the start of the game, so that's why this Nettle Sentinel was getting countered. Okay. So I'm guessing that Daniel's playing some sort of Reanimator package.
In that case, yeah, I think I'm
going to update it to Reanimator, and I'm going to pretend that it's definitely Reanimator.
I think that's absolutely fair. That is how we should treat this.
There we go.
All right, sounds good.
Who's casting the casters? Thank you, Super Cobra 82. Looks like a Mana Dork coming down, as well as a second Nettle Sentinel. So got some slow clocks, some slow beats coming on for Nick.
Llanowar or Findhorn Elves.
So it looks like Daniel kept a 0 lander. He might have a Lotus Petal or 2 in there, and he's just not quite ready to deploy them yet.
Yeah, I can imagine that this deck keeps in order to discard to hand size sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. It sucks when you mulligan too, and you got to do that. And that's a strategy.
Yeah, not great.
So it looks like turn back to Nick. I believe this is his 3rd turn. So starting out with an Elvish Visionary.
That's
going to draw a card. Gaia's Cradle is found, and he does have Wirewood Symbiote and a Critter Hoof in his hand.
Yeah, and I believe this is his land drop for the turn, so he's going to be able to do some nice synergistic elf stuff here.
Yeah, about to show us what Gaia's Cradle do.
Yep, 1 mana for that, and then we're going to make probably 4 with the Cradle.
Yeah, he's going to use the creature to cast the Wirewood Symbiote, so now that when he taps the Cradle, he's got 1 more elf or 1 more creature in the battlefield, get 1 more mana out of that.
Yep, 4 in the pool for Nick Ragazzo.
Probably going to see some untap and bounce. Untap the Mana Dork, bounce the Elvish Visionary is a good spot. Oh, no.
Oh, just playing another.
Start with Visionary too. So 2 mana in the pool. Draws another Cradle. Sadly, already played a land this turn. The most explosive Elf's hands usually go through the process of I untap with the Gaia's Cradle, I tap my Gaia's Cradle,
Yeah.
I play another Gaia's Cradle. That's usually the most egregious hands you can get out of this deck, especially this early on in the game.
It should be noted this is still a very sweet sequence for Ragazzo because now he can, I think, just natural cradle him next turn.
He's got enough. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. So just the cradles themselves is 10 mana.
Exactly,
So he's
yeah.
also got Savannahs in play, so he can make the white mana if he wants to
So-
make the Archon instead.
Pretty much one turn for Daniel here
Yeah,
to
pretty
have
much.
some sort of interaction to get this out of his hand. Good Thoughtseize, perhaps, or do something of his own to go off.
Definitely. Looks like Daniel's in the tank, so he might have the option of like maybe cracking a Lotus Petal. Oh, nope, just discarding a hand size. Griselbrand hitting the bin,
Okay, yeah, this might be it.
and Nyx probably says, I'm going to add some mana to my mana pool.
Yeah, because does the hoof even give haste?
It itself has haste, and
Okay.
it gives your other creatures
So,
trample,
so it's
but not
worth.
haste.
Okay, not haste. Okay,
But
still.
you want to untap with like 3 or 4 guys, and it's usually lethal at that point.
Oh yeah. I can
So
imagine.
it's exponential growth, right?
Oh,
X
we're
square?
just casting the Archon here.
I think we're just being fancy here. Just
Oh,
getting
you're
as
right.
many
We're still
creatures
gonna
on the
have enough. We're
battlefield.
still gonna have enough to hit Creator Hoof. Yeah,
Pretty sure we still got mana
of
for
course.
the
Yeah,
hoof
1, 2,
here.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Boom, baby.
Yeah, there it is.
That's nuts. Wow. Well, there you go. That's a
Quick
good
game
elves.
going to elves.
Yep. Very solid elves start for Nick Ragazzo. That is, as you said, he didn't have any of the key go-off cards necessarily in his hand, but once you drew the Gaia's Cradle and able to draw with the Elvish Visionaries, there's a number of things you could have found there, but, with those 2 threats in hand, his options were a little more limited.
Yeah,
considering
definitely.
that typically you're searching up the
Yeah.
Crater Hoof or something like that.
Usually you want those cards to be tutor pieces that put the creature on the battlefield rather than actually having to like cast the card like
Exactly.
like a heathen.
So him being able to just chain draws there, I think he probably knew he was looking for another Gaia's Cradle in order to just go for the hard cast.
Yeah, I agree. And Scary Roar, I'm pretty sure you're right. I don't think it matters much, though. I feel like we're kind of past the point of no return there if that's what we're force of willing.
Yeah, and if my opponent just discarded a Reanimator or Griselbrand to hand size, I'm assuming at that point I'm free from Force of Will because blue-black's just way less. It wouldn't even be doing that line very often, right?
I think that hand was probably a mulligan. I didn't really get to see it, but it looked
Okay.
like it was a no-lander with the strategy of discarding a hand size and drawing a land.
Right.
So maybe it gets there, but I feel like you can probably find better 4s, and he would have mulliganed to 5 there, so
Okay.
I think it probably would have been worth it to shuffle it back in. Again, I can't say I know for sure. I mean, maybe it was just missing 1 land from a turn 1 kill. Like, sometimes you have the Dark Ritual, you have the Reanimate, you have the Entomb, and pretty much regardless what you're playing it against, especially with the Chancellor and the opener to reveal, I could see a keep, but I think you'd have to keep that knowing you're going to get punished a lot of the time.
Sounds about right. Sideboard cards here are fairly, kind of limited on either side, right? Elves, do they pack any number of surgicals typically, I'd imagine?
Usually, yeah, Surgicals is the card that they have access
but that's
to.
about it. I guess a Scoos potentially as
Yeah,
well,
Scoos.
if that gets on the battlefield enough, although that's often a little slow to race Reanimator.
Yeah, I think it's probably still fine.
Yeah.
The fact that you put 1 in your deck and all of your green suns and natural letters could find it if needed is,
Totally.
probably worth having the Scoos in your deck. And it's not like it's
Totally.
that clunky to draw. I mean,
Yeah.
even Archon of Justice and Crater Hoof, which are arguably infinitely more clunky than Scavenging Ooze, were still being cast on like turn 3, turn 4 that game. So I think Nick's just deciding what's coming out. Looks like a pretty wide range of stuff. No glimpses. That's pretty much all I saw. I think I saw some Nisses coming out as well.
Yeah.
Makes
Interesting
sense.
that Nick is, I believe, on maybe the Chaos variant. He did have a Savannah, I thought, right? Didn't we see
He
that
had
game
multiple
one?
Savannahs. To be fair, they all play Savannah.
That makes me wonder if Daniel's packing anything like Massacre in his sideboard, and if he's heads up enough to kind of bring that in non-traditionally. That's not something you would maybe usually bring in here.
I don't know if it's necessary, but I feel like the way you're going to lose to elves, like you're not really worried about getting beat down, and you're not really killing like hate bears. Like there might be another Sworn Canonist or a Gaddock Teague, but like that's probably it in terms of like interactive creatures. So I don't really know if that's the avenue that I want to protect myself on. I'm a lot more worried about surgical, so like hand disruption is far more powerful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And of course, Nick's probably also, if he's got black in his deck, he's probably also got access to hand disruption as well.
Yep. Yeah, Elves is often packing Thoughtseizes somewhere in the sideboard. Is that like an uncard on Nick's map
it's an Urza's Legacy card, I believe. I think it's called Bubbling Beebles or Bursting Beeblers
I've heard
or
that
something
name.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Bubbling
yeah.
Beeblers.
That's awesome.
Chat, let me get an exclamation mark card, the name of that card, please.
Oh yeah, should get the
Yeah, Nick definitely showed a sideboard card. It was a little tough to see. We'll just fast flash. It's really weird when you're like in the feature match area and trying to show off your sideboard, you're like, oh, I showed it to him for far more than enough time. And then you like watch the VOD and you realize that like at no points were the cards like not even moving.
Yeah.
I like actively try to count to 10 when I'm showing cards because that's kind of the sweet spot. So I did see a Thoughtseize in Nick's hand. So he does have the Black Splash, does have interactions with Daniel's hand, which is definitely a good place to start when I'm looking at an adult's hand. I'm like, okay, my plan A is
Absolutely.
to interact with his plan. Usually that's not how you're going to win the game, that's how you're going to not lose the game,
Yeah,
which is usually what you got to do first here.
Mulligans
There we
for
go,
Daniel.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
good stuff.
2 lands, Nettle Sentinel, Assassin's Trophy, Mana Dork, and I didn't see what the last card was.
There was a Crater Hoof in there,
was that a
so
hoof?
kind of a 6-card hand, but a very good one for
Yeah.
Nick.
Mhm.
And as we saw, Crater Hoof in hand isn't the worst thing.
Yeah, you just need 2 Cradles, but yeah.
Yeah. You can play to it.
Yeah, you can certainly cast it at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, Nick's definitely played here quite a bit, and we've got him on camera quite a bit. He certainly knows how to execute this deck. Solid game plan. Can't complain. All right, looks like Daniel's looking at his 6, trying to decide whether or not this will be acceptable. That looks like a yes, and it looks like a scry. We'll see where that scry is going, to up or down. Riding the escalator, or is it staying where it is? Looks like it's going down to the basement.
All right.
So Daniel's going to be on the play. Let's see if he has any pregame actions, potentially revealing a Chancellor. Looks like yes, there is the Chancellor. Nick's first spell will be Mana Tithe, which I thought might get printed in Modern Horizons. It didn't.
Is there still room for it?
I have no
potentially?
idea. I assume it's not going to get printed anymore.
Dang.
And we got a Cabal Therapy to start out for Daniel. I don't know what he named. Was it Thoughtseize? Looks like no. I'm guessing it was Surgical, but can't say I know for sure. Sastra. Yep, that last card is a Crater Hoof.
Yeah. Yep, no hits, so pretty safe that he did.
Yeah. Nick's going to draw another land, so he's got excess 3 mana here. And I'm wondering if Nick is going to play around the Chancellor. Looks like no, he wants to trade, so he's just going to run that Nettle Sentinel into the Chancellor. Back to Daniel. Let's see what Daniel's going to do here. He's very worried about that Thoughtseize. Does not want to reveal his hand. Doesn't want to even reveal it to us here on the stream. Natural Order, I believe, is the draw. Nope, it's another Mana Dork. So we're probably going to see a Thoughtseize and a Mana Dork deployed here for Nick this turn. First, he's going to check to see what it looks like across the street. Daniel's going to show his hand at the table. Looks like Animate Dead, Reanimate, Gristlebrand, and Chancellor of the Annex. So I'd probably take the, so there's kind of 2 schools of thought here on which card you want to target here. I think based on Nick's hand, I think you want to take the Reanimate because it's got an Assassin's Trophy. Assassin's Trophy can destroy the Animate Dead.
That makes sense to me.
Sometimes if you're able to pressure your opponent's life total, you're like, hey, you know what, you can have Reanimate. I think I can get you to like 8. And then you can't even play
that
Reanimate.
potentially happening, yeah.
Nick's board is pretty slow here. He got his Nettle Sentinel counted on turn 1. He doesn't have any other threats. He doesn't even have an attack here on the second turn. So I think he's probably a lot more worried about the Reanimate and then saying, I should be able to deal with this Animate Dead, and hopefully that'll be enough.
Okay, yeah. I think that definitely makes sense. But
looks like no.
There you
So
go.
he's deciding, I want the Animate Dead.
interesting
take 2 there.
line of
Looks like
play
he's gonna
considering
fetch-
the Assassin's Trophy, but
Hey, you know, Assassin's Trophy also just heart targets the target, so...
it just goes after lands, you know?
well, it goes after the thing you reanimate. It doesn't
That's
have
true.
to...
Yeah, that's also true.
Abrupt Decay can only destroy the Animate Dead.
All right. Mana War Elves comes down for Nick. And Daniel gets another turn. I mean, potentially he just draws he needs a land and a Faithful Fluting or something here to pitch, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have a way to get those creatures into the graveyard.
Yes, yeah.
He does have a way to get them out once they get there, though. Looks like
Yeah.
it's just going to be a pass, though, for
Huh.
Daniel. No action.
Another Assassin's Trophy for Nick. Not a bad draw in this matchup. But it is going to be slow going for him until he gets something else on line here.
Very true. Looks like we're actually just going to natural
What do we
order
got?
here.
Oh,
Yep.
nice. Yeah, okay. Maybe
So-
he has probably the Archon.
just Archon, yeah.
Archon's a solid
So now he
pick.
named Sorcery, and I guess that actually kind of cleans up that avenue pretty nicely.
Absolutely.
Yep, looks like it is.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm going to guess it's on Sorcery. That makes this play a lot more heads up. I really like the attack on Animate Dead instead as this gets around.
Yes, yeah.
kind of 2 birds
I
with
think
one stone.
I think this all makes more sense. I think Nick definitely had that in mind when he made the pick for sure.
Yeah, the equity on
Ooh,
Sorcery
and it
here
has
is
Vigilance too.
Yeah.
Nice. I forgot
just
about
another
that.
keyword that this creature randomly
Yeah,
has.
just flying Vigilance, whatever.
Does it all. No lifelink, sadly.
Yeah,
It's the only one that matters.
that's so wild. It's like a hate piece that's also just a super nice clock.
Yeah. Proactive.
Yeah, love it.
Good in game 1, good post board.
one of those cards that popped up and you're like, oh, cute, they're trying it, and then it just like hasn't gone out of the deck list because it's clearly very effective.
Yeah, remember when people were playing that? Just like Nissa.
Yeah.
These cards are just kind of staples in Elves nowadays.
Yeah, Newness is quite nice.
I think it took a while for people to be like, oh, it untaps Gaia's Cradle. Oh,
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
super nice there.
Makes my Gaia's Cradle taps for one more when I tap it the
What's
second
that
time.
blue card Nick Wergasso just drew?
Oh, that was a good question. Mindbreak Trap, I believe is what
Oh,
that is.
sure, okay. That makes sense.
Looks like a Mindbreak to me.
And that one goes after spells in the stack or a graveyard?
Yes,
Okay.
any number of spells on the stack.
Got
Rav
it.
Trap is the one that goes after the yard.
Oh,
Looks like
Daniel
no
does
plays
not
from Daniel.
have it.
So Daniel did not cast a single spell of that match.
Why didn't he go
A Faithless
for
Looting can't
sorcery.
be cast when Archon's in play. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he saw the writing on the wall then.
So
no good ways.
honestly,
no good ways for him to go off after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Usually, I see this matchup go kind of in the favor of the Reanimator deck. Usually, they just kind of explode, put something on the battlefield. But Daniel wasn't really able to provide that win condition. He wasn't really able to provide a tool to win the game.
Yeah,
So,
that is how it lines up sometimes. When a deck like Elves can just put something like a 4/6 or a 5/6 flyer on the battlefield that shuts
I think it's
off.
a 5/5, maybe. I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever it is.
That just
Archon.
stone shuts off like a third of your spells or something like that, if not half of your spells.
Yeah, and Reanimator pretty much has to resolve a critical mass of spells. Like, they pretty much have to find a way to get a card in the yard and then find a way to get it out of the yard.
Yeah,
and so not being able to do either side is really, really weak.
And it's like if that static effect on a card is something that Reanimator can play through, but not when 5 in the air is coming through.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
takes
what's
some
so
time.
crazy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to find like an Assassin's Trophy of his own to deal with it, and that might not even be the win there.
Turn 3, that was able to come down thanks to Natural Order for Nick, so that's a sweet one.
Mana Dark and a Natural Order, absolutely. Pretty rock solid sequence.
Do we want to see if we can find a backup
Yeah,
match?
definitely. I can take a look, swing around, see if we can't get a backup match. That was so early into the round.
Exactly,
so I can't imagine not.
We didn't quite anticipate that, but we'll see if anyone else is playing. I'll grab that for you. Perfect. So yeah, welcome to the night, everybody. In case you are new, or in case you're just joining us, this is going to be 4 rounds. Still in the middle of round 1. I'm going to see if I can make a quick adjustment here. Check this out. A little bit better. Oops, sorry about that, folks. Anyways, yes, we are here. Card Kingdom. Mox Boarding House Ballard is the location. Waiting for... Oh, there's my phone. Waiting for Josh to hopefully find a backup match. Let's hear it for any of these new Modern Horizon spoilers that you guys are excited about. I don't think any of them are going to necessarily break into Legacy yet, other than ones that we already know about, which aren't even that many, right? I'm trying to... Well, let's pull up the spoilers. I have a web browser in front of me, after all. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there is that new charm, but I think it's a little too cute. It's 3 mana. The new Yawgmoth seems very cool in a potential Zombardment Shell or something like that. I would love to see that card go off. Pay 1 life, sack another creature. Kill something. It sounds exactly like what that card might mean.
Yeah, makes sense.
The ninjas are sweet. Just looking at some spoilers here. Did we get a backup match? Excellent.
All right, guys, good news. We've got a backup match. It's also Grixis Control versus High Tide. So if you guys like seeing some combo, we'll definitely get that on camera.
Yeah.
I'm going to start filling out the stuff. We can head down to the match now.
All right,
though.
Sounds good. We'll take it down.
Yeah. So let me just
Speaking of
update
Grixis
all this
Control,
stuff.
nice to see that they not only are players going to be able to get non-foil copies of Kess, but it is now a modern legal card.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty interesting. Might be what Grixis needs to kind of be pushed into the control arena in Modern, where Blue-White has kind of been the predominant deck for a while, as far as that type of strategy goes.
All right, I'm not sure who's up a game. I'm going to go find out.
Okay, here, I got your mic. We're going to go check that out. All right.
Zach is up a game. Do any place New Horizon lands could go? I mean, I feel like that effect is really, really powerful in decks that don't want more lands than the number of lands they need to cast all their spells, and then also have a very low CMC.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that, like, in terms of enemy color decks that fit that in Modern,
There's not even that many, right?
I feel, yeah, like Jund is probably one of the first decks, but that deck honestly really likes hitting like 5 or 6 lands, so it's not really looking for that damage, and it's
Yeah.
really not looking for that utility. Like, it's probably happier to just be like, land go, that's fine, I just drew land for the turn.
Sure.
I gotta say, like, if there's gonna be like a Delver deck or a Young Pyromancer deck, like the Wizards deck maybe, that's probably gonna love that blue-red land.
Yeah.
Because that's a deck that, like, after 3-4 lands, you're kind of, that's enough.
Right. Obviously, Burn is the big candidate for some of those cycle lands, as are maybe like.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Well, is there going to be a? Are they going to do a full set, or are they just doing?
So
4
right
more?
now it's enemy colors.
Okay, so just enemy color. Okay,
which is
okay.
weird because Rising Canopy is allied color.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
So that is weird. That's like a troll.
So the cycle has not been finished. Right now
Sure,
there's 6
yeah.
of the 10.
Okay.
I don't know if it's even in this one. Yeah, I think Storm's
Infect
also
would.
gonna love
Yeah, I
it.
think Infect would maybe like the
Yeah,
blue green or
yeah.
a blue. Yeah, blue green
Blue
one.
green. Yeah, they'll probably play that.
It certainly creates an interesting like paradigm for like now everyone has access to these.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's not really everyone. It's like enemy color
everyone.
decks,
Yeah,
which
every
is a
deck that would
specific subset.
every deck that would want a cantripping land now can play a cantripping land basically.
An enemy
yeah,
color
yeah.
cantripping
Yeah,
land,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Presuming they're not finishing it, which would be pretty powerful.
Yeah. We'll see where they go for that.
Absolutely.
Got some Chris fans in the chat.
Go, Chris, go.
Hopefully he can come back from behind. I'm guessing he's got access to Flusterstorm now, which is certainly going to increase his chances of winning this game significantly.
Yeah, this seems like a big game 2 deck against combo, right? Like you get to take out all your bad cards.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like the mental paradigm of linear strategies versus kind of non-linear control decks is that linear strategies say, this is my one plan, I think I'm going to win most of my game ones.
Yep.
I'm hopefully going to not lose some of my post-board games. The idea with control decks is you're like, my goal is to be a catch-all here. Sometimes my nets aren't shaped the right size, and I need to change my deck between game 1 and game 2, take out my interaction pieces that are soft, add some interaction pieces that are a little bit more targeted and specific, cards like Flusterstorm.
Sure.
And so you're definitely getting better as a Grixis deck post-board, and I think your deck doesn't really change all that much post-board in some of these combo decks.
Sure.
So here we have just a really cantrip-heavy hand. Double Brainstorm Preordain.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And just lands after that. Certainly the kind of hand High Tide's pretty happy to keep.
Looks like we're going to start out with a Ponder.
Ponder, okay. Not a bad draw.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, especially into Hand Disruption, you kind of just want cantrips.
Yeah.
Looks like that's going to be a shuffle, too.
Makes
That's
sense.
usually what you want to do with your cantrips, too. If you're not shuffling with your Ponders, you probably should be saving your Ponders.
Sure.
That's what I look at. You better know what you're looking for when you cast your Ponder, and then when you find it, you keep. Otherwise, you shuffle.
Right. Yeah. Just, keep in mind that it could be a shuffle rather than a random card. Yeah, exactly.
Usually, if you're looking for a card, you're more likely to find it if you don't keep those. If you don't draw 3 cards and on it. You know what I mean? That's always the way I look at it. All right, so Zach's going to pass the turn back after that turn 1 Ponder. I imagine it's going to be like a Strix on 2 here for Chris. That's pretty much trademark card. Oh,
no him to 2-rock, no Strix.
that's too bad. Those are like the 2 drops to play.
Exactly, right? Must have. He does have a Spell Pierce in hand.
Yeah,
I see.
so Zach's probably going to play a fetch land here, and then... he's just going to pass... Okay.
Preordain.
I probably would... When I already have the Brainstorm sequence set up where I have a fetch land plus blue...
Sure.
I usually like casting the Brainstorm first.
Okay.
So it looks like the Preordain is going to happen now, because now Zach doesn't really have a window to play the Brainstorm here on curve.
Yeah.
So it looks like... Is that going to be top-bottom? It looks like it's going to be 1 on top and 2 on top. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, you just put the card directly in his hand on top of his library, but we know what's going on there. Yeah, so 6 cards in Zach's hand, 3 are revealed, but probably not for long. So I know one of those cards that Zach saw was a reset. So once you get some High Tides, that's going to generate some mana.
Okay.
Untap all my lands.
Yeah, that's how it starts to go off, right?
It's certainly an interaction of things that untap your lands, and High Tide is pretty much the bread and butter. So it looks like we got a Snapcaster here on turn 3. This is going to pop back on a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, we might just see a Force from Zach.
Yeah, Zach does have a Force, but he's also got access to that Brainstorm. If he wants to hide something, he could potentially do that here.
Okay.
Which I'm not super opposed to. I'm always a fan of using your Brainstorms to accomplish many things.
Yeah, in response to discard spells, they always seem pretty brutal to the person casting the discard spell.
Yep.
All right.
Just
Chris-
on curve, hand disruption is great versus combo decks.
Totally.
Force them to figure out how to interact with their cantrips.
Totally.
So it
Well,
looks like Cunning Wish, Force of Will, and Turnabout are the three
Zach's
cards
just
in
going to
hand.
say you have to choose.
It's usually I'm going to take Cunning Wish. I think there's a case to be made for Brainstorm here.
Sure.
Especially like when you take Brainstorm the first time, when you see multiple Brainstorms, you're like pretty happy to take the second one too. You're like, all right, well, I just stopped you from being able to get the first activation of Brainstorm, so like the first time you cast Brainstorm in a game tends to be better than the future times you cast Brainstorm in a game because like when you cast Brainstorm, you're gonna like change the contents of your hand, and like changing the contents of your hand after you've already like changed the contents of your hand is less exciting.
Sure. So with the other two cards, what's the middle card?
Turnabout. That's it. Choose a card type and target a player, and then either untap all permanents of that type or tap all permanents of that type. The wording is really, really convoluted, but basically it just untaps all of Zach's lands.
And just like you drew it up, Chris is going to take the Brainstorm. So what does the Cunning Wish find Zach now?
Usually it'll be a High Tide, or it'll be a card that untaps lands.
Okay.
I'm going to say pretty much always those. Maybe it'll be a Brain Freeze if like we're super late in the combo. I think there might be a Meditate in case Zach needs access to cards and he's got a lot of mana.
So we're taking the Brainstorm mostly knowing that even though Zach has supposedly 2 combo pieces in hand, we can still win the war of attrition against him.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
The way to look at this deck is it's very much Solidarity, not Spiral Tide. I'm not sure, actually. I guess it must be Solidarity. Solidarity is known for going off during the opponent's turn and using a reset. Spiral Tide utilizes Time Spiral and is a sorcery speed combo deck that goes off and uses the untap clause on Time Spiral to help.
Yeah. The last iteration of High Tide I played against here locally was Solidarity. I'll say that much. So
I have certainly been reset here. I've certainly been reset here. I've also had Time Spiral cast here. So it looks like Chris is going to try and jam a Force, and Zach says, you know what, I don't know if I can actually beat I don't know if I can beat a Jace here, so I'm going to go ahead and use a Force here, pitch Turnabout.
Okay.
And so this is kind of what Chris was thinking about. He's like,
yeah. He knew he was going to put Zach down to 1 spell just by forcing his hand, forcing the Force.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why, like, this deck isn't an A+B combo deck. It's very much a fair weather kind of density combo deck where you really need a lot of moving parts kind of all together.
Totally.
The deck is very good at finding those parts and kind of providing them to you in a timely manner. Cards like Meditate really allow you to do that. But yeah, certainly I would say that, like, attacking the sequencing... Oh, Zach is revealing a High Tide. I'm a little okay, I see, I understand. Zach casted a tutor there, the Cunning Wish, and found a High Tide on the end step. Looks like we might just be going off here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he's just revealing it. Oh, is he casting it? So this was... We've now untapped, and Zach's played his land for the turn, and I don't know if he's casting this High Tide.
Yeah, I'm a little confused as well.
We shall see, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe the... okay, he's just catching up on the tap. It seems like this is still on the stack, maybe? No? What is that?
So it's just he's got his hand revealed is what's going on.
Okay, it's just being played up.
And yeah, it looked like he wasn't sure if he was casting it or not, so I was like, I'm not sure what position this is in. It was in the super position of both in the stack and in his hand.
Yeah.
We now know.
I just noticed live totals are a little bit off screen, but it seems like Chris has been cracking in a little bit.
Yeah, I gotten hits in there with a couple snaps and then a couple fetches. Ultimately, I don't think live total is going to matter too much.
No, not a lot.
It might come down to the wire, and if we're like, oh, I feel like Zach was pretty close to winning there, and then just concedes, it'll probably be live totals. But I think he's in the ballpark of like 13 right now.
Yeah. So. Certainly not going to be the most relevant in this match.
Chris is at, who knows, he's like Dotsies a couple times. I think he's fetched once.
I think he's at like,
His live total is irrelevant this game.
Doesn't matter.
So yeah, Zach is a Time Spiral away from winning this game, I think.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if Chris has any interaction pieces. I guess he's got a Snapcaster Mage so that Spell Pierce could come back. So it looks like Island Turnabout there. And so Turnabout can also be used as a protection piece, because on your opponent's end step, you can Turnabout them and tap all their lands. Kind of like Giga Drowse them.
Gotcha.
Not the most exciting thing to do with that card in a deck that makes your mana tap or make your island taps 4 islands.
Sure, but certainly can buy you the turns you need.
And Team Cameron, that's actually in his hand. He's just revealing it. He got it with the Cunning Wish earlier. We actually weren't sure what was going on with it. We were like thinking it was halfway both in play and in his hand, but it's just another card in his hand.
Yeah, he's just playing up as a courtesy to Chris.
We appreciate
and to
it
us
here.
as viewers,
Yeah, when I do it, I like try and have it be like right next to my hand, so it's very
Yep.
clear that it's connected.
Yeah, I
Force
typically
Will's
keep
a
my whole
draw.
hand face down and then keep the single card face up or something like that.
It's important when you do that, though, make sure to reveal the rest of your hand otherwise, because
Yeah,
usually they
yeah.
end up face down and the stream never knows the cards that are hidden. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I wonder what
yeah.
this could be. Third Snapcaster Mage. I
Ambush
think this
Viper
is just,
Squad.
yeah. I think this is just a Piker here, targeting a
Yep.
Spell Pierce, but probably no interaction. Oh!
This must be a crack for lethal.
Yeah.
I don't know why you go for this otherwise, but it's pretty solid. See what Zach can do in response. So like, what is that card in the white border?
I think it's a Counterspell. I think that's
okay,
Counterspell.
yeah, just hard counterspell here.
Yep. See, I'm
Maybe
going to
buy
guess
yourself
he's
a turn.
8 or 9 is
Must
probably.
be, yeah.
It's worth mentioning that High Tide and Dual Lands is a pretty funny interaction.
He could, Chris could
Oh,
Spell Pierce it.
yeah,
It would
but
just,
Zach
there's
does
not
have
a lot
mana.
of point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zach
yeah,
does
yeah.
have mana. He'd have to crack a fetch and have to commit the mana.
Exactly,
but
yeah.
Chris is probably like, you know what, I think having this Spell Pierce in my graveyard is more
I
important,
think it's fine, yeah.
which is reasonable. So I'm guessing Zach probably has
And
one
the
more
Thoughtseize.
turn to
I don't know if
win.
he drew that or what. What is he, what?
I think that was his draw for the turn. Otherwise, he would have held one of those snaps back, I feel.
Oh, yeah, no, he just did the attack way before he untapped his lands.
Yep,
Yeah, just a lot of sequencing
very
stuff.
much so.
I
Yeah,
got confused for a second.
everybody plays Magic in shortcut mode.
Totally,
anyway,
totally.
Usually, I think that Magic exists kind of in the mentality of the players than it does the actual board state. The board state's just one way to represent what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get life totals up between after this game, but they're not super relevant right now. I think Chris is attacking for almost lethal. I think one turn away from lethal.
So I think Zach actually should have just gone off last turn. I think
What
he's
is the
actually
other
getting
card in
punched.
his hand?
So he's got Time Spiral and High Tide
Oh,
there.
he does
which
have
is-
Time Spiral. Okay.
So he's got exactly enough lands here. He's got 8 lands. So the first island he taps to play High Tide, and then he gets to tap 4 islands
for 8 mana.
for 8 mana,
Yep.
which is Time Spiral plus pay around Spell Pierce.
Gotcha.
So we wanted, I believe that Zach was looking for another blue card to pitch to Force a Will, in case that's like what he needed.
Sure, the backup.
To make sure it goes through. That being said, he just exposed himself to a hand disruption piece and has a 1-turn window to find
That is the game you play when you wait with that extra turn, right?
I believe this was a Ponder, though, so I think he might be able to Ponder and see what happens. I think that he's probably dead next turn. The life totals are a little bit off screen.
Sure.
Don't think it matters too much in this matchup, but if I were to guess, I'm going to say that this cracks lethal. And I think that if Zach is looking at lethal here, and he's going to play the Ponder, I think he starts with a High Tide. Just he generates 1 more mana. Yep. Here it is. Bam. And I'm pretty sure Chris has 1 card in hand. I don't think it's Counterspell.
No. Wow, he's tanking. Seems like a straightforward cast.
There it is. Yeah, there's the High Tide.
What do we got? Yep.
Sounds good. And so now it's worth mentioning Chris's lands also tap for an extra blue.
Oh, it is worth mentioning.
So if Chris has Force of Will here, he can actually hard cast it now. He
That's
couldn't
pretty
hard cast the
sweet.
High Tide.
That's actually pretty sweet.
Storm Die's coming down. Looks like Brainstorm found off the Ponder.
Second blue, still in the pool too. So
Yep, still got a blue floating. So I didn't see what the other cards off the Ponder were, but it looks like Zach does not want them.
yeah, I think that might be a blue. It's also Storm, but I think that might be a blue mana floating for Chris's sake. Yeah, to keep track.
Yeah, I guess Storm is 2 right now.
Certainly,
so
yeah.
it's definitely not 1. Let's see what Zach's going to do with his Brainstorm. So he's really looking for Time Spiral here. It's basically the... okay. So he's got 3 mana in the pool now. Chris is like, all right. Or 2 mana in the pool,
yeah, 1 for the Brainstorm.
And so
Pick that back up.
Muddle the Mixture, is that what that is?
That would find him just a 2 mana card, right? What does that find you in this deck?
Transmutes for 2. So we're going up to 6 mana. Let's see. I got a turnabout. Okay.
Oh boy.
So I think we're at 1 mana right now. Oh, 2 mana, and we're untapping.
But we're untapping all our lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely generates mana.
It's very nice.
5 wall. Okay, so we got a Ponder. We untapped all our lands, casted a Ponder, really hoping to find something here. Finds a Force of Will, gonna shuffle, find a Time Spiral, find a cantrip. Let's go.
Yeah, Time Spiral is just gonna draw 7, right?
Yeah.
It
also untaps 6 lands, which is...
Oh, that's what I forgot. Okay, so it does both.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning that it also refills Chris's hand, so he gets access to cards like Force of Will as well.
Yeah.
Usually, the High Tide deck is going to be way more explosive with 7 random cards in hand than Grixis. In a scenario where, they already have a bunch of mana in play. Shuffle! Looks like it's fetch land.
That's not going to do it for Zach.
Yeah.
Right. That does give us a game 3, though, which is quite nice.
Yes, it does.
Good
15 minutes left in the round, perfect timing.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. Perfect sequencing.
Fun stuff from Chris there with the Ambush Viper mode, Snapcaster Beats, getting there against the Stumbling High Tide, but really Thoughtseize being the key card in that
Most
game.
definitely. Yeah.
Pretty good with Snapcaster Mage, from what I hear.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times, a lot of the control decks, especially in Legacy, are pretty much like 45-ish against most of the field.
Sure.
Sometimes a little bit worse,
Sure.
but usually in that ballpark. And then post-board probably increase their win rates by probably 10 to 15%.
Right, so really pulling the weight in those post-board
yeah,
games.
definitely. Definitely trying to get up to 60%. That being said, it's definitely a cost, because I mean, like, when you're expecting, not necessarily expecting, but like pretty prepared to lose game ones,
Sure.
like, you need to roll high twice. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah,
and like,
absolutely.
sure, you're higher than 50-50, but like, you still got to roll high both of them. Like,
Yes.
That's, you know, 2 games that you really got to perform in. So that's
Yeah.
why I think control decks are so grindy, is because you're pretty much always playing 3 games. Like, it's pretty regular to
it's
have
not
games go
presumed that you will win game 1, right? Yeah.
And if you do win game 1, I think a lot of decks can certainly get you if they're on the play.
Absolutely,
game 2,
yeah.
so.
You definitely benefit from.
So it looks like some Pyroblast, some Spell Pierce, really good action in Chris's hand.
Yes, solid stuff.
A lot of blue cards in Zach's hand. I'm pretty sure he's got a couple cantrips in there. I think that's a Narset, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, that seems like
Excited about
another
that.
reason to be trying out Mono Blue High Tide right now.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we're going to find a preordained. Looks like a top bottom. I think he put a Cunning Wish on the bottom and is drawing an island. So I think he kept a 1-lander.
Okay.
Not sure for sure. He's got Polluted Delta for Chris. Foil, of course.
Oh, of course.
The premium version.
Premier, is that
And premium is the wording that WotC uses. That's the official language.
a Dragons one, or is that some sort of Judge Foil or something on Polluted
No,
Delta?
it's just a construct here.
Yeah, construct here.
A dragons. It's a dragon fetch
The
land.
Dragons.
What if it was a fetch land that could also fetch dragons? That seems fair, right?
That'd be cool. Hey, we're not done with spoilers yet. You never know. Modern Horizons.
Land dragon.
Yeah, Land Dragon.
The Dryad Arbor cycle will be completed. This one's a 5/5 dragon with fire breathing.
We need a new Manland cycle, everybody. Dragon Manland
It's a
cycle.
Grafdigger's Cage for Zach. So this does attack Snapcaster Mage, but it does get beaten by Kolaghan's Command. So good with the bad is what I always say.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of a weird one to bring in against this deck, but I suppose you're also a mono blue deck with not too many sideboard options, right?
Yeah, I think that it's a free slot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It certainly beats Snapcaster Mage, which tends to be one of the best creatures, one of the best cards in the deck in general. Because the way that I look at it is like the deck's got a lot of one-man interaction pieces, you know, Flusterstorm, Spell Pierce, Red Elemental Blast, Thoughtseize.
Yeah, and the more they can
or Snapcaster Mage is always the best one of those in every scenario after like turn 3 or so. And so Grafdigger's Cage certainly attacks the best half of all of those spells, which is the Snapcaster side.
Nice. Big Ponder for Zach here, looking for more stuff.
Cunning Wish, and is that an Old Man in the Sea?
Or is that just an island or an old man?
I think it's an Old Man in the Sea. I think it was an Old Man in the Sea. Which is secretly one of my favorite cards.
Oh, that's a sweet one. Hit and Preacher are both like doozies of an effect.
That's a magic card right there.
Stuff, yeah.
Before we had roll class creature types, we had Preacher, summon Preacher.
Proto Vidalcan Shackles, really.
Very much so, yeah. Just got a Ponder on the stack for Zach, and it looks like Chris is going to respond with his own cantrip, firing off a Brainstorm. Is looking at a Spell Pierce here, I believe is a potential play afterwards, which makes sense. It's a pretty rock solid card to play.
Yeah. Going after your opponent's cantrips in combo decks, usually pretty nice.
Certainly not something I'm complaining about.
Alright, so it looks like he's just, I mean, you definitely want to, his Ponder, he's definitely going to fetch for a Spell Pierce here, right? Oh, he's just making sure he's putting back the right cards.
Yeah, he's making sure he doesn't want to get ahead of himself.
Zach doing us the nice favor of floating the card on the stack, as it were. Alright, what do you think, Christopher? You want to shuffle those 2 away?
Yeah, his hand's got...
he could P-Blast too, huh?
I mean, I think you probably want to Spell Pierce here.
Right, yeah, it's much more efficient.
I would much rather, like, especially versus these decks that have, like, High Tide and stuff going on, like, soft mana spells are, like, pretty weak when somebody's going off, so hard counter is just so much more powerful.
Absolutely. Looks like he has decided.
I think you attack the cantrips.
Yeah, probably grabbing a Volcanic. There it is. Wow, nice. Just threw it right into play, tapped like that, right next to his other land.
You get used to kind of the velocity required to really land.
Super slick.
Ooh, we got a Flusterstorm from Zach here. He really wants this cantrip to resolve.
So Chris does have a Force of Will, but I don't. That still means certain. It doesn't matter.
I don't
right?
think I
It's
Force of Will the Ponder.
Yeah, Force of Will.
Well, you could Force of Will the Ponder after the Flusterstorm resolves.
Oh, sure, of
but
course. That's how that works.
I don't think you want to use a Force of Will.
Not 2 cards worth it. Yep.
I think you're happy to trade 1 for 1 with cantrips versus decks, but 1 for 2 is shaky.
Sounds about right.
So I think that's an Intuition. Maybe it was a Time Spiral. It's one of the two.
Okay.
Probably just a Time Spiral. Brainstorm, and I think a Preordain. So pretty hot pieces of action there. Just going to be a shit from Zach.
Yep, keeps and shuffle, or keeps and goes.
Chris is now going to point to the Ponder.
Yeah. He does have a 3rd land and a Ponder, and mostly just another bunch of counterspell backup other than that, so yeah.
A lot of action. Sadly, nothing proactive.
Exactly, yeah.
Really want to find like a Thoughtseize here, or a Baleful Strix, or Snapcaster Mage, something that attacks. And it's worth mentioning the Snapcaster Mage is still a piker here.
There's Strix. That might end up coming down.
I don't know if you want to play Strix all
this turn.
now.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
So the way that you kind of want to sequence it is like you want mana up to protect against a combo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't want to get killed.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to. You maybe want to. Now he's just gonna shot.
Yeah, and 1 power beat's pretty anemic, so not necessarily something you're chomping at the bit to curve out with. It's like kind of any point in the game. And turn 2 is fine because I don't think High Tide's going to go off on turn 3, but every turn after that it certainly gets more and more likely. So finds the Strix here.
Ooh, after a shuffle too, though.
Which I think is probably best. I don't think he wanted the other cards. I think it was a land and something else.
Yeah, that's reasonable. And yeah, I would just play land go here, right?
I think so.
You get a pass with Force and Pyroblast backup.
You're definitely saying that you have a pretty rock solid assumption about Zach's hand when you jam the Baleful Strix there, which isn't necessarily wrong, but it's.
Oh, I agree.
Spooky.
It's very gutsy, as it were.
It's got Brainstorm here to start out the turn from Zach. So Chris should know that because Zach has not played a High Tide yet, it's probably not a combo turn.
Wow, I'm going after it.
I think this is fine.
Yeah, like you said, 1 for 1 in.
That's kind of what it comes down to. And you don't know how many cantrips are in Zach's hand, but eventually he's going to run out of things. And like right now, Zach's looking for lands and Time Spiral, which is really clunky because he finds a Time Spiral, but there's 2 spells in there.
Yeah,
which,
he might have to shuffle these cards just to try and draw a land. Maybe draw and then try to get. No, I don't know. What else? What are those 2 other cards in the spiral? He's going to put them back.
Looks like he's going to keep there, draw the Time Spiral, and does he have another cantrip? Yeah, okay, he does. Perhaps a Brainstorm. Chris is going to let this happen. Yeah, I think he let this one happen.
Ooh, finds fetch. That's good.
That's actually huge for Zach here. Looks like, so sometimes you know 2 of the cards on top of your library, and you cast a Brainstorm, and the 3rd one is exactly what you need, and it's like pretty disastrous when it doesn't happen, but it's like pretty nice when it does.
That high risk, high reward.
So looks like we're going to see a Ponder here from Chris. I might have played the Baleful Strix first instead of the Ponder, just because you see more cards. And I think that you do this line hoping to find your 4th land off of the chain.
Yes, that would make sense. He does have land in hand, I believe.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was one more.
Hand.
I think it's an island. I'm not sure.
Never mind, that changed things. So it looks like it's going to finds a Baleful Strix again.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it was an island. Okay. Jam the Strix. Yep. Seems fine. Everything checks out.
Yep. Ooh, double Force of Will.
I think that's Zach's like whole hand, right? Double Force of Will, Time Spiral, Brainstorm.
Yep.
And so I think he knows the top card of his library, and I don't think it's anything he wants. So we'll see if he cracks the fetch here. Oh, it looks like Narset's coming down.
Oh.
So Chris does have some interaction for that. He's got a lot of forces in his hand. It's too bad he doesn't have another mana up, because I think if Chris had 1 more mana, he would let this resolve and then flash in the Snapcaster and just attack it and say, you get 1 card, but I'm going to have board and not spend resources on it.
Not being able to do that, though, it's pretty dicey to let that card resolve.
Agreed, yeah. Definitely agree.
Narset Digger of Time is what I'm starting to call it.
Yeah.
Seeing 8 cards and ticking 2 is a pretty familiar feeling.
Yeah, that was certainly banned in Legacy once.
Yep.
And it just sticks around. That's what I like about it. Sometimes you're like, I don't actually need to dig right now.
But just having the effect, like, even if it's an opponent where you wouldn't traditionally need it, like maybe they draw their 1 of Palace Jailer, and all of a sudden your Narset with 1 loyalty has some value.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of cool.
It blocks off avenues if you can control the board.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's weird though, because I feel like Miracles is pretty good at using their life total as a resource, and you can't really do that with Planeswalkers. They kind of don't have 20 health.
Absolutely, yeah.
These anemic Baleful Strix beats are a lot more impressive on a Planeswalker than on a player.
All these newer planeswalkers, though, do have the advantage of paying off immediately, almost like when they hit the battlefield. So
Yeah,
you're almost
definitely.
always going to get a card out of them, right?
Definitely.
New Teferi and new Narset.
Most definitely. All right, back to Zach. I'm going to fire off a Preordain here, so he's still got more digging to do. I'm a little surprised Chris didn't play out his second Baleful Strix. So looks like that Preordain is going to double top, and I found a Brainstorm, another copy of Preordain. I believe the Brainstorm's in hand, and Preordain's on top of the library.
Yeah.
There's the Baleful Strix from Chris.
Building up the board here, making his land drops, and really just getting able to pass with backup every single turn, right?
Yeah, that's really what you're looking for. Is you want like a couple points of power and say, I could do this for like 6 more turns, and then be able to do it for 6 more turns and have that be lethal. Got a Preordain here from Zach yet again. I don't know what that first card was. I think it might have been a Cunning Wish. It looked like a Stifle, which I'm sure it was not. And the second card was another cantrip.
Yeah.
Preordain and what's that card in play for High Tide? So Zach has a Grafdigger's Cage in play, which is his only non-land permanent. Got another Preordain here. Finds a Brainstorm and an Island. Looks like we're gonna top bottom. No, looks like we're gonna double top. Finds the island off the top. Going to use it. Go ahead and use that for his land drop this turn, and send the turn back to Chris. Chris will untap, draws land for the turn, draws card for the turn, and crack for 2. All right, I'm going to get them to move their life pad in.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, now it's starting to get a little relevant here. I gotcha.
Now the pad.
Strix tapping left, land tapping right. Pretty typical Christopher Wessel behavior, if we're being honest here. There you go. Chat's tilted by, Miles is tilted by, or wait. That's Mike. Never mind. Yeah. I get your screen names mixed up sometimes, dudes.
You guys have identical screen names.
Well, no, Miles is totally different, but it's like
16K.
Yeah, but like that could be Michael for all I know.
Yeah. So the way that I remember
names, man.
The way that I remember it is miles and kilometers are both measurement types.
Duh. Oh, now I'll get it.
Yeah, it's 1.6. That's what I was gonna say. I don't think it's 2 kilometers to the mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know it's definitely not 16.
Well, listen.
1.6 sounds about right.
You're twins, and you're named Mike and Miles. Forgive me. But yeah.
I'm about 6 mics tall. 0.0001 miles.
Anyways, we were pointing out Christopher Wessel's
orientation of tapping.
Yeah, ununiform tapping, basically. Yeah. So just like willy-nilly everywhere, honestly.
I like being inconsistent. It's a little bit loose, a little bit wild.
You get a little bit of that Sean Yu factor.
Exactly, yeah.
Put your opponent on tilt for your boards with your board
It's High Tide time for Zach.
That's a good bit. That's a good bit, Mike. I like that.
Kilometer? Yeah, KM definitely is. So there's another force. Looks like we got the force wars going on here, the blue battles.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe Chris has the trump card and another red elemental blast.
Stack battles, baby. Yep, there it is.
Which I think is going to stop this, and I think that Zach probably can't go off anymore. We'll see. I think his last card was that a Meditate? I think it might have been Meditate, not a High Tide, or not a Time Spiral. You can always play this deck.
Yeah, it is. It's always a thing.
Time Spiral used to be banned way back in the day.
Oh, okay.
It used to be like the most important card in Cube Storm decks, and so it like made sense that it was banned. And now that it's legal, I'm like, I don't know why this card would ever be banned.
Yeah.
Time Twister, sure. Time Spiral, you're going through some hoops.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more. 6 mana is a lot.
Zach's going to go ahead and shuffle. Finding a virgin card. Let's see what he draws here.
All those pretty unstable islands.
Yes.
Oh,
another one. Yeah, so it looked like Zach was about to scoop. I'm like, he's got some time. Oh, he's jamming the spiral.
Do it, baby.
Whoa, it's happening.
Let's go.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, for sure. Seems like as good a time as any to draw 7.
You know what? If you can resolve Time Spiral, it's probably a good time to play Time Spiral.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, obviously you want to play the High Tide first, but you can't always get what you want.
Right. It's going to be tricky having to most likely just pass the turn to Chris here.
So I'm wondering if I was Chris, I actually probably Zach only had 2 cards in hand last turn. And then played the High Tide, so only had 1 card in hand. I think you let the High Tide resolve last turn, and then counter the Time Spiral with Red Elemental Blast.
Ah, that would be tricky, yeah, because then you maybe you can do something with that extra mana yourself? Or?
Well, I mean, you counter the Time Spiral and the High Tide, basically, because they don't do anything with the High Tide now. Yeah. That being said, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe Chris is like, no, I want a new hand. That hand was stinky.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly seems happy to draw
So it looks
7
like, yeah,
here.
he's got double Force Surgical.
And
That's
Surgical.
that's a post-board hand for sure.
Yeah, so that is sort of the down, or the, the desperation Time Spiral is certainly showing itself here.
So it looks like High Tide coming down first on this turn.
Yeah, I think we obviously want to just try to stop this, right?
Yeah, looks like we're going to force pitch the 4th Strix. Chris is really good at finding redundant bodies.
Yeah, all 4 Strixes, wow.
Last game, all 4 snaps.
And backup Hardcast Force, too, here, so...
Yeah.
Decent spot.
I actually would have hardcasted the first one.
Interesting, okay. Maybe just to kind of bluff your opponent or something?
Well, I don't know if it's right to go after the High Tide here. I might have actually let the High Tide resolve.
I see.
And I think if you don't let the High Tide resolve, then you want to tap all your lands first.
I see.
Rather than pitching a card. If you're going to do both, like, this is the one that if you only counter one thing, you don't actually go down a card, you just use your mana.
Okay.
And he's got enough mana here that he can also bluff Pyroblast, so, like, cost is pretty negligible on spending mana.
All right, I like it.
I mean, pitching a Baleful Strix is not like it's the most powerful payoff in the world.
Exactly, yeah.
Like that, so he's not really
not missing the card super hard.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so Preordained Resolve. Let's see if we got another cantrip coming down for Zach. I believe so. So I think he's got another High Tide in his hand. So it's a Brainstorm.
Yeah.
And Chris is like, this is getting spooky.
Yeah, 7 lands,
okay,
High
so
Tide.
in response to the Brainstorm, Chris is
Surgical
going to cast... Yeah, Surgical on
I think
the High Tide.
that seems like a good time, right?
Yeah, good time as any.
Yeah. There is a Flusterstorm in Zach's hand, I think.
The storm's pretty high at this point.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. It's looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, with the Surgical.
Zach's checking the sideboard really quick. He does have a Cunning Wish in hand, so maybe he's checking to see if there's anything fancy he can get here.
Sure.
I think this is probably all a distraction. He's just going to Flusterstorm it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like...
maybe because you have Flusterstorm, there's equity in playing the Cunning Wish here and saying, hey, do you want to counter this?
Certainly.
Oh, you do? Cool. Well, I've got a Flusterstorm.
Seems like that's the...
it's an Intuition.
Intuition, okay. Okay.
Interesting. 3 cards in hand. That was an interesting way of displaying 3 cards.
Yeah.
Whatever works, I suppose. So we got a Force of Will Hardcast on this Intuition. I'm a little surprised that Chris also spent mana on the Surgical. I don't think I ever do that unless I like.
Oh, I didn't even notice. You're right, he did. Yeah, especially against this deck, right?
Yeah, and here's Flusterstorm, which is going to double tap here. That's so dirty.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess would have happened if he spent life on the Surgical anyways.
Yep.
Storm was high enough that he could have put 3 on each, I think.
But it's pretty brutal for Chris, as Zach is now going to be able to find
a Force of Will.
Yeah. Well, he's also going to not have to give up all his High Tides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's making sure that his well, so the Flusterstorm cleared that up, right?
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Which was really the equity in playing that Intuition, was having more spells on the stack.
Got it.
Because like that's kind of the trick with Flusterstorm in a lot of these blue matchups, is like you want to overload your Flusterstorm where you counter 2 things with the same one. It's like the opposite of a Force of Will.
Super value, yeah.
So now this Brainstorm's going to resolve. Double Merchant Scroll, Force of Will, and a Spell Pierce.
Pretty flush with stuff in Zach right now.
A lot of action, yeah. That being said, I mean, Zach's also at 6, so...
Yeah, ooh, that was a Culligan's command for Chris, too.
Asking hard-hitting question about Yard Order and which Fluster countered first. Yeah, that does matter.
Yeah.
I think that neither one of these decks are going to take advantage of it. I'm going to assume that... actually, I don't know. I feel like that's an interesting habit. I don't know if everybody's going to have the same sequence on how they resolve their Flusterstorm on multiple spells.
Why is Yard Order mattering for it?
Well, if the last copy of Flusterstorm counters a spell, whichever one it targets is going to go to the graveyard first, and then the other one's going to go to the graveyard on top of it. It doesn't matter in this scenario,
Right,
but
yeah.
you know, technically Legacy is a format where you must order your cards.
Oh yeah, this is right. Chris gets to use this to likely shock and blow up the cage.
Might be a discard.
Oh,
we
potentially.
thought that Zach was at 6. He's at 9. Stupid Arabic
Sideways.
numbers.
Yep. Let's not even.
That's why
start with
people
that.
hate Arabic numbers. Is because the 6 and the 9 look the same.
You know, that's a joke on this season of Veep that is now a real life thing that has come to life.
Yeah.
There's a whole running gag about that that was obviously written like
a couple
a
years
year,
ago, yeah.
if not a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Just hitting you with some topical humor.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/Card Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Stay here for the hot takes. Hot takes on Arabic numbers. I got another time spiral happening here.
And there's nothing that refers to another 75 graveyard order. Graveyard order is so weird.
Correct. I mean, they designed themselves into a corner by printing cards that care about graveyard order, because
Exactly,
at that point forward, they can't change it.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, yeah, it shouldn't matter. Now they just don't make cards where it matters.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, we have a whole format where you can do whatever the heck diddly dang you want to do with your graveyard order.
Absolutely.
Oh, I thought that Hymn to Torek was a dark ritual. I was like, whoa, Chris getting spicy over there.
That seems like a decent start, though. Oh, wait, that's not even a start. That's the time spiral resolving.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not game 2. Whoops. Wake up here.
Going to game 4.
Yeah, well, we are sub 4 minutes after time, so these players just should be...
Oh, yeah. They get about a 3-minute time extension.
Exactly.
I think the die in the middle is the turn count.
Yeah, and I do believe that everyone's aware.
Got a preordain. Yeah, and I mean, Zach's digging, you know what I mean? It's not like he's sitting there twiddling his thumbs. He's certainly taking some serious game actions here.
Yeah.
Sorry, you only drawn 7 cards this turn. I guess I haven't comboed hard enough.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do to keep the train rolling here, but quite a good hand, or quite a packed hand. Islands. But he's just gonna... Oh! Looks like he was motioning to pass the turn there, but has decided to reevaluate instead.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
I could see Graveyard being relevant in Commander, but not a format I play, so... Yeah,
I think there's
one more thing to keep track of in a game of Commander that's too much for me, man.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of things that it's like, I don't think this rule is going to be relevant, and I don't really feel the need to introduce this into this game.
Exactly,
so it's better to just kind of let people play wild and free.
Oh,
that being said, if they mess around with Yard Order and then they're like, now I'm going to bring back my Nether Shadow, you can be like, hey, hey.
Yeah, everybody knows the rules. You can always bring it up. All right. Zach, what are you doing, buddy?
The best part about...
Tapping up. Oh my god, what is going on? Both players making some motions here. Aha! We decided to cast Brainstorm. Sounds good.
Let's see what we put back. It's a little hard to tell what's in Zach's hand. He's playing pretty quick, too, so cards are kind of snapping around. I think there's a Merchant Scroll and a High Tide in his hand, though, so definitely has some tools here.
Yes.
So there's the High Tide. Looks like it's going to let that happen. At Team Cameron, there's also Nether Shadow, or Nether Spirit, whichever one it is. Gets played in Manaless Dredge.
Yeah. So yeah, the Shallow Grave card and the Nether card are the two big ones, I believe. I don't think there's maybe something in old school outside of that. But
yeah, I mean, like, there's
idea,
definitely some other cards that do care about Graveyard Order.
Totally. They just don't see play, yeah.
So it looks like we got a Merchant Scroll getting casted here by Zach, and in response, Chris is going to switch. Ooh, Bosium Strip. Now, there's a card I haven't thought about in a while.
I mean, that predates my involvement in this game entirely.
So in response to the High Tide, in response to the Surgical, in response to the High Tide,
yeah.
Zach's gonna
casting High Tide.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity or good chance to do it.
So yeah, now that die is tracking how much islands tap for. Oh,
wow! Look at that! Look at the head tilt for Chris there.
Oof. That's a lot of mana right there. You got some mana over there, Zach.
It's a bit of an oof. And these players have both been poking each other back and forth, sequencing their spells in order to prioritize kind of shutting each other down, and this is the first kind of breaking point that we're seeing.
So a lot of High Tides have occurred, and now the Surgical occurs.
Yep.
Ooh! So that combos.
Interesting.
So I guess the way that it works in this deck is that you just storm off with it and play for lethal. Like,
Sure, that seems right.
I'll
I
just
don't know
ping
what
you
else
to
it's
death.
doing, right?
Yeah, so there's actually an infinite combo deck in Standard right now with that
With
card.
New Sahili?
Yeah, so New Sahili, and then you play the green green X spell that tutors for a creature,
Okay.
and you go and get so you like expansion explosion it, and then you get the 5-mana wizard that copies a spell, and it's
Oh.
legendary, so that goes and gets a second one, and they legend roll to the graveyard.
Whoa.
And then you copy the finale card and bring it back, and then you just go infinite by copying an infinite number of spells and go lethal with Sahili.
Oh, okay. So you can just loop. I was like, because you have to sack the wizards, but
So
you can
they
just
go to the
keep,
graveyard,
yeah.
but finale searches through graveyard and library. So
Oh, that I did not realize.
That's what I
the
missed.
loop. That's
Actually,
what I missed too. That's
yeah,
what I missed too.
What I missed when I was first exposed to the combo
That's
was that it's
sweet.
legendary. I
Yeah.
missed that the creature was legendary. I can't remember any of the names of the standard cards, so I hope that anyone listening at home is following along with
That's
that
totally
rambling.
crazy.
Did Zach get the card from the Merchant Scroll? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, we missed that. We were chit-chatting, but
To be fair, he's been playing his cards real close to the chest.
Yeah.
So.
Seems like chat's saying he missed it. Could be the unfortunate circumstance of being deep in the game right now.
Yeah, he's certainly trying to play really quick too. I mean, these guys know they're really late in the time.
Yeah.
So. I think you're right. I don't think he ever searched.
And it is more. At this point, it's even like, I mean, I don't know if they're technically in turns. Does look like RTO.
I think they're tracking.
They are.
I think
Yeah,
the die in the
they're
middle.
now tracking turns. Yeah.
I think
Good.
the die in the middle, not the one on the high tide in the middle, but the one on the other side of the board by the light.
So we're
pads.
entering. Like.
I think it's on 2 right now. So.
Boy.
Looks like
That's
Zach might
gonna be Zach scooping?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're just showing each other. Chris is
showing
jam.
how he's gonna win the game next turn.
Well, there is a good timely win in 3 games from Chris Wessel, battling out against Zach Dionysus High Tide, beating a double High Tide just by the nature of it being a little too late in the game for Zach to find the right stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome back to the booth, my guys.
Hey, everybody.
Josh Monks, Jake McCune. We got 4 rounds of Legacy coming at you. 3 more coming at you after this round.
Yes, and should be coming at you pretty soon. Looks like the pairings are coming off the table off the printer very shortly.
Yeah, I haven't confirmed this, but I'm pretty sure that was the last match. It was going pretty long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that we do have the metagame breakdown, and it looks like there's a lot of Miracles, a lot of Grixis, and your hair is the wrong color. That's really the problem.
Out in chat.
Yeah, they should be. Your hair is not a cool color.
I have to wear a headband.
Specifically a Naruto one from here on out.
Oh, yeah. I just meant this.
So we got some Dredge, some Reanimator, some Storm Feet to Fairy. Interesting.
Some I was like, what's a Stormfoot?
Something that's listed as Stone and AZ Stone. Maybe that's like Grindstone?
Azorius Stoneblade, I think, probably.
Yeah, Azorius Stoneblade. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Could be that new terminology.
Hey, Team Cameron. Yeah. Cool. The Geek Fortress Games event, the Geek Games event.
I'm getting close to sweatband territory, which really means I'm getting close to haircut territory.
Yeah, really. It's summer territory. It's like 3 or 4 months in Seattle where it's like, oh my god, it's warm out. I'm used to having to wear a jacket.
But yeah. Oh yeah, looks like we're just waiting on these pairings.
Yep. That's pretty much all I'm seeing. I think there's a couple Death and Taxes as well. Maybe just one, actually. I think just one, yeah. 1 Death and Taxes, 1 Infect, 1 Elves. Something listed
lands,
as
I think I saw. Yeah. Jim's
something
on
listed
lands.
as Jeff is playing Big Pig, which I believe is the new Sneak and Show creature.
Yep. Yeah. It's just the new. So now he previously was playing this deck before the pig got printed. He immediately put 4 of the new pig into the deck. Yeah. The big Mono Rex sneak attack deck. So it's a sneak and a through the breach primary. I think those are the 8 primary. Cheaty spells.
Bingo, bango. All right.
And
I kind of want to see that on camera.
Oh, it's so sweet. We had it a little bit last week.
Oh, did we? Is it okay if we get it on?
Totally it is,
I guess he's... we already got his opponent on camera.
Gotcha. Greg and Aiden might be a pretty decent one.
Yeah, let's see. What are they playing?
I think Greg is probably on Miracles.
Oh, yeah, Greg and Cho.
And
we don't know what Greg's on.
I don't know what Chris Cho is on, but Jim is playing lands at table 1.
Yeah, maybe we should just get that and see what happens. Yeah, let's get Greg's matchup. Table 4.
Yeah, I like it. That'd be a solid one.
This round. Okay. Or do you want that though?
A to Z Stoneblade.
An 8.
Now piloted by a pig.
What? Oh.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Didn't see that one coming.
It was not the guess, but yeah, we'll see how the matchup rocks out. Greg
Yeah.
Mitchell playing Eldrazi. I'm guessing Karn Post, to be honest with you.
Which
see.
I'm fine with,
Probably
honestly.
still has Thought Knot Seers, but I think all the other Eldrazi's are kind of getting crowded out by eight Karns.
Yeah, they're all like they're
Um,
kind of eschewing playing a lot of the like Bretts, like a lot of the creatures,
Yes,
Thought Knot Seers,
exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Table 4 is not feeling like
Okay.
it.
Okay, it's all good. No worries.
No worries. Oh, Joey Frank.
Do we want to go for table Uno? Maybe get some.
Depths versus lands.
Oh,
I don't think that's gonna be
not gonna be
super
great. Yeah,
interesting.
it's not a great
I think we
matchup.
should do table 2. Joey France is playing Dredge versus.
Oh, cool. He's usually on burn.
Stoneblade.
That seems sweet.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Table 2.
Yeah. Joey's usually a burn player, so I didn't pop that out. But if he's on Dredge, let's get that on camera.
Yeah, it might be Manaless Dredge.
It's fair.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the new board god's pretty sweet. Another one of those, like, it's almost like a. We talk about all the new cards that came in from War, like Narset and Teferi, and even like Blast Zone. But like, there's also another one. It's the Big Pig. He's not he's not busting the format wide open like these other decks, but he's pretty much accelerating some of these what's it called decks by a full turn.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because like, whereas you might have to wait for some setup to like 15 them, or whereas you might just 15 them and they had the potential to climb back. If you have Emrakul plus Pig in hand, it's 21.
Yeah, that's lethal.
So yeah,
Sorry,
it just makes it a little more explosive and a little more deadly.
my piece of my glasses underneath the ear
Oh, that's always tricky.
headset was
I
interacting
experienced that.
negatively. I was experiencing a negative interaction. Unhappy with that interaction.
Looks like Joey France may be posting that he's on stream. I always assume that if people have their phone, that's exactly what they're doing. They're telling all their friends that they're about to play on twitch.tv/Card Kingdom.
I thought they were trying to stream snipe and figure out their opponents were playing.
that would be hilarious. Be like, yo, excuse me, just pull your phone out in the middle of the
Watch
stream,
it during the match.
Put it right next to the live pad right there.
You should honestly get Twitch
That would be
chat
meta
up on
AF.
there and just have Twitch chat going, just shit posting in chat while he plays.
Hey, streamers play with chat all the time. Why can't I do it here right now in my Magic game?
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be great if you show up to a paper tournament with a webcam. You're like, yo, I'm streaming this right now. I'm just going to have chat up on my phone right here. You guys just don't worry about it. I might take a minute to consult them in between our games. Like,
See
what
what
a world.
the memes are. Yeah, what
Yeah.
emails they're spamming in my chat.
That'd be awesome. IRL streaming, yo.
The future.
Yeah.
I feel like that was an episode of like Community or something like that.
They had the Kitten Beans episode, which is a little bit like...
Oh, the
a
Meow
little
Meow
bit-
Beans?
Yeah, the
That was
Meow
like
Meow
the
Beans
social
episode.
networking
Yeah,
one, right?
exactly. Yeah.
There was there was another movie or something or a show where like the premise was one of the characters like has a webcam attached to
Oh,
his...
that is, I think, an Abed subplot in a
Yeah.
Community episode as well, I would
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. There was the Abed one. There was another one though that was like a
Oh,
little bit more
probably.
somber and serious, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh, you mean Black Mirror, maybe? No, wait, no, that's the social media one that I'm thinking of.
Not Black Mirror. No, I'm trying to remember.
Oops, someone busted a sleeve.
He was on Spell Pierce. Who needs that mana anyways?
Chester Quinkenberg. I definitely have seen that name around.
Yep.
Stoneblade, a very vanilla deck in the format right now, but notably did win the most recent Grand Prix. So.
Yeah. A lot of people were playing
Putting
it
up
at the
numbers,
Geek
yeah.
Fortress event too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Battle for Puget Sound or whatever. That
Yes.
was sweet. That was super fun.
That was super fun. Seemingly a big success for Dylan. I hope that everything went well on the production end, but as a player, the experience was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
As
can
a
only say
member
good
of the
things about that.
community,
Yeah.
very exciting to see that stuff happen.
Very fun.
I'm sad they didn't stream Legacy, but you know,
Always next year.
maybe next year.
That's
We'll
my
see.
attitude, yeah.
I was if they were streaming, if they were going to do Legacy instead of Modern, I would have been in that booth so fast. But
Absolutely,
I understand why they did Modern, and I can't fault them for it. You know.
Well, Joey's on, what is that card? Oh, he's on Dredge with this Scry
Oh, is that
creature.
the pre-game action?
I believe so, yeah. Joey's going to Scry 3 now.
Heck yeah, Sphinx of Scry 3 at the start of everything.
Absolutely, the name of that card is what I was thinking as well.
I looked it up just now. Sphinx of the
All right,
3
so
cards.
that's a pretty cool one. Going to be able to set up some Manaless Dredgy action. It looks like he has the Chancellor of the Tangle, too. This is a weird build that I've seen.
Oh,
I'm seeing.
interesting.
You know what this might be, even?
The something Genesis or whatever?
Neoformed
Yeah.
deck? What is that card?
He's discarding a Golgari
Oh,
Grave Troll.
sorry, I am confusing. I thought that was Chancellor. That's
Yeah.
just New Arc Grave Troll. That's Slow
Yeah.
Dredge.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
Dredge.
I think this is...
It's Dredge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
well, this
Newark
might
Grave
be
Troll just
Manaless Dredge.
Newark Grave Troll just threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
I was thinking it might be something more cute. Yeah, this is pretty sweet.
Or 5, 6.
I'm liking all these art choices from Joey here. This new border
I think
dredge.
this might be Manaless
This
Dredge.
is totally Manaless.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna update the thing. Well, I wasn't sure when he sat down.
Makes more sense. Narcomoeba's going to hit the battlefield from this dredge here, and we'll see what else Joey's able to pull off.
He does have Force of Will in his opener too, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool, especially when you've already gotten equity out of that Sphinx. And you're like, now it goes to the Exile Zone.
Exactly. So yeah, they used to be able to play Force of Will because they were a Gitaxian probe deck, and they had a bit of a blue count. And
Yeah.
it looks like Sphinx is maybe doing some of that work here for them
Yeah.
as well.
Setting you up a little bit.
Yeah,
So I think
helping you set up and also pitching the Force of Will,
Yeah.
basically.
looks like Joey's just gonna move to his end step. Go ahead and discard a Grave Troll. Back to Kester.
Yeah, certainly Manaless Dredge can go off very explosively, but it can also have these types of turns where one dredge a turn is producing creatures in some amount of value, but is not killing the opponent.
Usually the I'm gonna dredge every turn until I find a Phantasmagorian. It's usually the plan.
Absolutely, yeah, because that is the key card here,
Yeah.
right?
Even though the deck wants to like start with Phantasmagorian, sometimes you have to like backdoor your way into having one.
Makes a lot of sense.
So it looks like a True Name's hitting the board for Chester. Phantasmaglorious. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Joey's... Hey, he is going to force this. I was wondering. I was like, Joey might actually force this. It's kind of awkward forcing here because this does mean maximum hand size is going to get shrunk. Or going to get further away.
Right.
He's now got 2 less cards, so he's not going to be moving to discard every turn. But he is saying, you know, like, I already dredged this Grave Troll. I have it in my graveyard right now. I think that, like, I've got enough dredgers that I don't need to discard anymore to continue the engine.
Sure.
Because pre-board a lot of the time, like, once you hit the Phantasmagorian, you're, like, good to go. Like,
Yeah.
it's very hard to lose from that point.
Yeah. No, he is looking at 3 dredgers in yards. So
Yeah.
it certainly feels safe.
I think he is thinking about whether or not I should bring in the Icarid here, and I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah,
to-
you can get rid of the this guy that he's hitting right now.
Yeah, Street Wraith.
Street Wraith's a pretty free
I
target,
think
right?
That there's a lot of equity in bringing that in when you know that you already have a bridge in the graveyard, like, and you're getting a zombie out of it.
Okay, yeah.
And so I think it's okay to do it here, but I think you're probably better off waiting maybe just one turn.
I see.
Looks like no bridges here.
Nope.
Another dredger.
But yeah, the dredge train will continue. We now have. I mean, if he hits any target for the what's it called, dread return, he has availability here.
Yeah, definitely.
But other than that, it looks like it's just going to be attacking for 4.
And again, like pre-board games, you're not really worried about getting your like combo interrupted. So like if you have initiative, you're not that worried about like slowing.
Okay.
It sucks if like, you know, Chester has like a True Name Nemesis with a GT on it. Like that drastically changes
Oh
the
yeah,
equation,
2
but-
Cabal therapies as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't even notice those in the yard till just now. Gonna be nice for Joey to interact.
Yeah, it's HC Fox brings up a relevant point. When multiple cards go to your graveyard at the same time, you can order them in any order. Which we were talking about graveyard order earlier. Here is a deck that actually does utilize it.
Yes.
And it's worth mentioning that, yeah, your cards, when they go to the graveyard at the same time, you actually sequence them.
Yeah.
So you can put these cards that need creatures above them down first.
I know that Joe is newer to the format, but I do know he's a very heads-up player. So he picked Burn, he learned the ins and outs of it, and it looks like he's starting to do the same with Manaless Dredge now. I definitely would expect him to have researched the deck.
Yeah, these are definitely both budget options, but that tells me that he's interested in the format and he wants to see what else he can do.
Yeah.
So it looks like we got a backup True Name here from Chester. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah. It's
Chester
not
back.
it's not that impressive of a clock against the Dredge deck though.
Correct,
so
yeah. It's pretty anemic, pretty slow. That being said, you get an equipment on that thing.
That
and
is the thing.
totally new conversation.
Yeah, we are hitting the territory where a single Stoneforge is going to swing the game heavily. Like getting Sword of Fire and Ice would be huge here.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna see what Joe's gonna do here. I think he's just gonna be dredging 5. I think there's a Stinkweed Imp at the far left.
But
Looks
maybe
like
getting
upkeep.
Icarid
Yeah.
back? Yeah.
Yep. Looks like bringing the Icarid back. And here, I think Icarid's even worse than usual now that there's an untapped True Name. So like, it doesn't even connect here. I don't think it's right to bring it back here at all.
Sure. Another Icarid. There's
Flare
a
the
player.
Hatebound.
There's a zombie guy.
Yeah.
And the
Whirlwind
Whirlwind Rider.
Yeah. Whirlwind Rider. Tradewind Rider bounces creatures.
Gotcha.
So it looks like we're gonna see an upkeep Swords on the Icarid.
Yeah, that makes. So what's the effect on Whirlwind Rider?
When it enters the battlefield, you shuffle your hand into your library and then draw that many cards, and you replace them with dredge.
So this is a sword that's basically going to try to prevent Joey from getting that into play right now,
It's
right?
blocking a dread return line, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what I was. That was my.
I don't think there's a dread return in Joey's graveyard
There is.
right now. Oh, there is.
Far left, I believe that's a dread return.
Oh, okay. I thought
all the way there.
Okay, I thought that was a Stinkweed Imp.
He just dredged the imp back
Gotcha,
to hand.
gotcha,
So
gotcha.
there was an imp in that card's
gotcha.
place like a second ago.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
just
and
a
then
second
It
ago.
was the second card. Gotcha.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is a very heads up for Chester.
Yeah, very much so.
Because yeah, like getting the dread returning and Dread Rider seems like a way for this deck to start going off.
Yes, very much.
Yeah,
You're probably going to deck yourself if you do it
exactly. Yeah.
right. Because it doesn't interact with your graveyard, so as long as you like have dredgers in there, you're good to go.
Yep.
That being said, he is pretty low on dredgers, so maybe it's not going to be lethal. I guess there's probably... I think there's 2 dredgers in there now, so I think you're pretty likely to fill out. I think he's only got like 5 cards
He
left
still
in
has a
hand,
Stink
so.
Queen Imp here. He just needs to get another creature in play and not have Chester be able to interact. So
Yeah,
we'll see
which
if that happens this turn.
might happen here.
And he's going to trigger the zombie this turn now because he's doing it before Dredge,
Yep,
right? So
yep.
And
There's
now,
a Phantasmagoria.
there we go. Oh, yeah. All right, so
Rider, got some more creatures. There's a bridge from below too.
oof.
So Chester does have Force Will mana up right now, so he is able to hardcast Force if he wants to. Wow, Joey has a lot of cards in hand. I guess when you're not playing any cards from your hand, you end up with pretty high hand size, even if you cast Force Will.
And with the Phantasmagorian hitting the graveyard right now, this is like definitely Joey's game to just explode here.
Yeah, his deck certainly just unlocked. And I mean, that's kind of one of the things about Manaless Stretch Game 1 is like you don't necessarily need you can have a pretty anemic hand.
Yeah,
and
you can just dirtle for a few turns and all of a sudden it's this.
Yep.
Oh, looks like
Jared's combat, let's go.
Yeah.
Crack 5. I think you start with that for sure.
Okay.
Regardless of what you're doing here, it doesn't end in going to combat for lethal. So you
no, you're right.
First.
Certainly you can hate bound for the kill at this point, right?
Well, so there's a Force Will in Chester's hand.
Okay.
There's a bridge from below though. So actually, what Joey can do here is he can just sacrifice a Narcomoeba with a flashback Cabal Therapy. He gets a zombie out of this. And then...
there is a Cabal Therapy in the yard as well. Yep. All the way on the left there, right next to the Dread Return.
And I think that will probably be lethal. Oh, I guess you need one more discard.
He needs another creature.
Yeah, well, you need another Cabal Therapy, because then what you can do is you can sack the Flare to the Cabal Therapy and then dying it back. And so you get 2 triggers, and that's 9 damage by itself.
I see. Yeah.
I think
That's
he's going to start out by maintaining priority on this Phantasm. Oh, no, he's not going to maintain priority. He's just going to activate Phantasmagorian once.
All right. Yep. Flashback Cabal Therapy here. We're going to get some zombie tokens going. So yeah,
I got dice.
Still keeping the Dread Return alive. 2 zombies. Joey's naming Force of Will here. Looks like Josh is getting up to make sure we got something in check here. We'll see if these opponents adjust. But I think we're going to see a Dread Return. All right. And Dread Return here is going to take a token with it, make a bunch of zombie tokens, get this Tradewind Rider back, and here we go as far as...
okay.
Yeah, right. Now he's just going to go off even harder, I guess? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I feel like he could kill easier than
I'm
this.
pretty sure that the kill was, verified after the first Cabal Therapy.
Getting back Flare, the Hatebound, right? Because what does that do? It deals...
So when a creature enters the battlefield from the graveyard, it deals damage to a player equal to its power, and it triggers off itself.
Right. So
you Dread Return it, and it deals 4 damage, and then you...
And then you sack it, and it deals another... Yeah, okay. So it's like 4 and then 5.
Yeah.
So just the Stone 9 would have been good right there, but we're doing other crazy stuff here, too.
Yeah, this deck can certainly get a whole lot crazier, but I don't think you necessarily need to.
This is a good death. Yeah, Joey's definitely just getting practice in right here.
Yeah, certainly learning the sequence. So there is a Narcomoeba, which is cool because that also brings back the Prize Amalgam there.
Yep.
And we got another Dredge.
Is he just looking for another Dread Return here? Like, this is the problem, is that, like, once you get the Tradewind Rider back, you're getting rid of your way to win the game on the spot.
Yeah, usually you're also putting your entire deck into your graveyard.
That's true, exactly, yeah. So it must be the case here.
And it's one of those things that you can kind of, like, get as many cards into your graveyard as you want and then stop.
Sounds about right. Woof! Yeah, the dredges keep going. There's another Dread Return for Joey.
Yeah, I feel like when you're going to put more than 25 cards into your graveyard, you're probably going to hit another card you went for.
Looks like he did a batch rearrange too as well.
Yeah. I like how he's doing it too. He's very minimalist about the corrections. He's like, I'm going to do it one at a time unless it's...
I really like that as well. Just laying it all out. That's a graveyard, folks.
Yeah.
Just in case you are joining us.
Yeah, it's actually the title of the Wizards of the Coast documentary is coming out.
It's a
Enters the graveyard.
folks. Yeah, right. All right, more Narcomoeba triggers, Infinity triggers off
Here's
of
all my
these.
friends.
Yeah, off of these zombies.
Yeah, so now actually Flares is just lethal. You can just bring back the Flares, and then the Prize Amalgams, when they
Yep.
come in, are going to be lethal.
Boom.
Boom. There's 4 damage. I like
Pass.
Joey's
Yeah.
his digital modifications. Oh, he missed his Narcomoeba triggers. Uh-oh. I don't think it matters, but it's kind of funny.
Oh wait, no, he just sacked those Narcomoebas.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
He just brought back Flare with those, and I don't know why.
We're just having fun at this
Yeah,
point.
I
Oh,
think
you know
we
what?
are.
Now he's going to do the true murder, which is you bring back the
Yeah, of
Grave
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he has so many zombie tokens to
Yeah.
just sacrifice to his. To
Well,
his
what's
Dread
cool is
Returns.
Grave Troll, like, it's so big at that point. You just, like, if you get the Flare back and then you get the Grave Troll back, like, your opponent has to be, like, 60 to survive.
Yeah.
This Grave Troll just counts every creature in the graveyard, including itself, which is kind of interesting. A lot of people don't know that. If you Dread Return a Grave Troll, it counts itself
Oh, as a
creature in the graveyard. It's because it enters the battlefield with that many counters.
and then it drops below 1 as soon as it checks.
Well,
basically.
so the idea is that it's determining it as it enters the battlefield, which happens
that's
before it enters the
so-
battlefield.
That's so silly.
So
That is the weird.
I think it might be last known information about the contents
Sure.
of the graveyard,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
actually 100% sure, so feel free to correct me, chat. I'm sure HC Fox knows, but...
That's one of those things. It's like, is a Dread Returned Graveyard Troll 9 or 8, depending on the, it's like always, that's so crazy.
Usually it's not going to matter. I feel like the number it's going to be is going to be so much higher than like the threshold of 1 point mattering, but never know.
Well, Joey with the entirely manaless deck often usually has a weird sideboard plan, right? There's only limited options that you can bring in.
Pretty much like you guess what hate cards you're going to play against, bring in the appropriate hate cards that cost 0 mana, and that's about
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
Chester's
Troll
deck.
definitely counts itself, but I just wasn't sure if it was last known information or not.
Interesting thing I think about Manaless Dredge right now, most people are playing single-shot graveyard effects. We are seeing a downtick in the permanent rest in peace style effects in sideboards. I think
see
that's
that.
one of the strengths of playing Manaless Dredge right now in this field, is that like this is a deck that graveyard deck that doesn't really mind getting surgical that much. It can continue to play the game pretty easily, at least from what I know about talking to pilots of the deck. And I just feel like you don't see Rest in Peace or equivalents, even ley lines, that much these days.
Yeah.
You only see them out of the decks that have been playing them forever. And
Yeah, I
like
think Surgical's
even
a
a
lot
deck
more
like
common nowadays.
even a deck like Death and Taxes, like it used to play like 2 Rest in Peace like stock, and I feel like now it maybe plays 1, and that's a pretty big shift.
Yeah, I think a lot of Death and Taxes are moving towards Surgicals and Fairy Macabres as
Exactly,
interaction pieces,
yeah,
just because they get beaten by a lot of the decks that kill you on turn 2 with the graveyard. And like if your card that is like I beat graveyard decks like is too slow to beat graveyard decks, like
And that's what
seriously
I'm
consider
saying
what it's
is
there
nice
for.
about this. That is this weird, fun pocket where this graveyard deck is able to sort of slide in and say, oh yeah, all those cards you're bringing in for the fast graveyard decks, I don't really care about those cards.
Yeah. That being said, I think this deck is a lot more fragile than a lot of other Dredge variants. Like I think Mana Dredge is a lot better at beating graveyard hate than this deck.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, like especially with Phantasmagorian lines, you like kind of have to go all in.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if
true.
you go
This deck
partially
does
in,
just
you don't go anywhere.
pretty much fold to the ley line, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Arbor and
Reverend
Rev Silence. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
That was some of the, or maybe Reverend Silence wasn't, but Arbor was some of the modern no bandless tech for manaless quote unquote manaless dredge with only a few lands.
Yeah, in Legacy you can play Land Grant with it, so
Ooh,
you can find it from your deck pretty reliably.
that's nice.
Kind of funny.
All right, Joey is priced into keeping based on the deck that he is playing, and he is also priced into being on the. Chester may actually elect to be on the draw here.
Almost always.
Yep.
Whoever is getting to make the decision in this matchup should choose to be on the draw if they're educated about the matchup.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't know what you're playing against, and you win the die roll, and then you choose to play them like.
Yeah, that's that is definitely a percentage point that all Manaless Dredge players love to pick up on.
Yeah, Manaless Dredge players actually want to lose the die roll.
Yep.
Because it doesn't reveal the fact that they want to be on the draw.
Yeah, exactly. So awkward, yeah.
Yeah, I could get behind that HC Fox. That definitely helps.
Yeah, see, I think that speaks a little bit to what I was trying to say in terms of it just is very
Yeah, I think Ravenous Trap is
Not
probably
soft.
one of the best
Yeah,
interaction
and
pieces.
no one's playing that card really right now.
Yeah,
Like,
people are playing that in Modern again, though. which
Oh,
I
that
like.
makes more sense to me.
I just picked up my foil
Graveyard
set,
is
so.
Graveyard is way more explosive in Modern at this moment.
Yep. And what's funny is like when your opponent casts Cathartic Reunion, you can just hit him with it.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Faithful Suiting as well guarantees it, which is pretty relevant.
That's what I was just thinking of. That's exactly 3, right?
Yep, both those are 3 cards in the graveyard.
All right. Off to the races with Chester Klinkenberg start here.
Yeah, let's gonna lead with the Tundra here, which makes sense. One cast your Ponders, one cast your Swords of Plowshares. Stoneforge Mystics, True Name Nemesis, what have you, mid-range threats in the blue-white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leading with the Brainstorm, Sorcery Speed.
All right.
2 and 3. All right, not a lot of action.
That's not a Stifle, is it? What is that card he picked up?
Yeah, I feel like Manaless Dredge tends to be worse against instant speed interaction, while Mana Dredge tends to be a little bit more resilient to instant speed interaction, but pretty... yeah, not really sure. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's not like these decks have heavy player bases either,
Yeah.
so no one's doing a lot of the number running on these types of things.
Yeah. I think a lot of people try and make the Stifle on Neck Narco.
Stifle on Dark Amoeba, lol.
There's a Tormod's Crypt. Man,
All right.
I love that card.
Yeah,
that
see, that's a good one here.
That used to be the only graveyard hate. It was like Tormod's Crypt and then Extirpate, and that was like
Yep,
the list. And
that
like
was
Tormod's Crypt was for everything, and then Extirpate was for Punishing Fire. Like that was the
Those were the 2 options you had. Yeah.
maybe like Reanimate or you would have Extirpate, but like oftentimes you like would always be thinking about Exhume and be like, why would you ever play a card that only hits 1 card in their graveyard and you can just get them all?
Looks like Joey knows he's going to have to start the train no matter what here.
Yeah, so I like how Chester did not crack the
Oh,
Tormod's
yeah.
Crypt there. If Joey had a copy of
The Cycler, Street Wraith, yeah.
Wraith, that'd be really bad.
Yep.
That being said, Joey does find a Narcomoeba
This is
here.
a heck of a start.
And 2 Prize Amalgams and a Phantasmagoria.
Yeah,
So
this is definitely forcing the hand.
Yeah. And what you want to do is, as Joey, you really want to force the hand. It looks like Joey's just going to let it happen. Okay.
I mean, would you want to react by putting
Yeah.
cards in the graveyard that are going to get exiled?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the perfect dredge that Joey could have had because it immediately reset the battlefield.
Yep. And Joey's just going to pass the turn again. Put
Yeah.
the Grave Troll back in
Honestly,
the bin.
pretty good turn of affairs
Yeah.
for that dredge, just revealing a clean 7 power that Chester had to deal with immediately.
Very, very true. See what Chester's going to do here. He's got 3 mana. Wondering if it's going to be another True Name Nemesis coming down.
Yeah. Yeah, New Card's pretty crazy. It fits everywhere.
Yep.
I think that's the one thing that I don't know, I don't dislike it, but it's just like if it's good, then yeah, it fits everywhere.
So looks like Chester's going to Sorcery Speed in this Snapcaster Mage, going after Ponder.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe try to find another copy of Crypt that you cast for free here.
Yeah, really looking for interaction. I'm pretty sure that
Or
was
surgical,
like,
right?
Ponder and a Brainstorm and a land. So,
So not the best.
yeah, not the most exciting. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about wish cards in general. I feel like
Yeah.
interacting with your sideboard is like kind of a weird technicality almost, is what it feels like to me.
I think it should be preserved for special things, and I think putting it on a 4-mana neutral planeswalker that everyone can play is not
6
that.
mana, right?
The new card?
Yeah.
4 mana.
I thought it was 6.
Dude, they're both 4 mana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shows you how much I read cards.
Well, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a special effect anymore. It feels like something that every deck now has access to.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very silly. It's to say nothing of the Mycosync Platypus combo, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's
Even if
probably-
that didn't exist, it would still be a really annoying card.
being able to be like, yeah, now it's time for Trinisphere.
Right, yeah.
Stuff like that's a little questionable. Who knows that a one-sided null rod that it was just from, I guess that could be a problem. Exactly. I feel like you didn't have to spend a lot of effort to see
It
that
also
line
just
either.
and it also just restricts the future development of like now every potential sideboard artifact is a Karn target.
Yeah.
Which
And the thing is,
probably
it's
not great.
more that every main deck artifact could now just only take up 0 slots. Oh, there's 4 mana. Look at that.
Yeah, you just picked him up. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got one.
There you go. Yep. So now now you can have a deck with 8 4-mana Karns. And just have the Karn family up and running all day.
Yep.
Very powerful, but awful for Magic. Awful's a big word, but I can say that it's probably not. it'll probably be corrected in some way, shape, or form.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
I feel like this game is at its best when it's in flux,
Yep.
which can be both a blessing and a curse.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because sometimes that flux is, we haven't banned this card yet, and we are going to.
Yep. Excuse me.
We got a Mind Sculptor coming down. Speaking of 4-mana Planeswalkers, is this card?
The OG.
Yeah, is this card better or worse than Karn? That's really the question here.
I know, right? Kind of a weird world to be living in where we ask that question. But card's good.
It ain't bad, that's for sure.
Still modern legal as well as we go into the new Modern Horizons territory. So we might see more Jaces pop up on the battlefield.
Narrow design space there
Yeah.
from HC Fox for sure.
I think he's really he's a big brain on this one.
So I believe this is an end of second main phase. I'm guessing it might be end step, but the intelligent line is end of second main phase. So if Joey flips a prize amalgam, it'll come back. Did not, so doesn't matter.
Oh no, he did. He gets to trigger.
Well,
his...
yeah. Yeah. Because he had the phantasmic. Nope, prized amalgam already, but he found the dark.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, if you make that play during the end step, then the phantasmal prized amalgam will trigger during the end step and won't come back until the next.
Yeah, it won't come back
until
your next end step. So now we're Phantasmagorian still. Yep.
Boom, boom, boom. Discard 3 cards. Bring back the Phantasmagorian.
Keeping some of the other ones in hand, which may be something that I'm just not tuned
I believe
into.
he put the Street Wraith in the graveyard as the first part of cycling it. I think he did that before he actually brought any cards back, which is the right order.
All right, these are coming up with, a lot of people are talking about putting Wrenn and 6 in a Jund Shell with some sort of Mox Diamond and Smallpox kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, a shoe planeswalker or shoe creatures entirely.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Because I think there's two. Well, I think there's 2 Street Wraiths next to each other, right?
There were, yeah.
Are they not in the graveyard? Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah.
He just exiled both of them for the thingies, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I think they're just off the right down there.
Yeah.
Just off the battlefield.
I thought I saw 2 right next to each other.
Yeah,
So.
I believe he just swapped them for the Icarids.
I got really good at identifying all the cards in Dredge by just looking at 10% of the art.
Yeah.
But now they reprinted all the cards
all
with
the
new art,
yeah,
and now I don't know
throwing
any
you
of
off.
them. Yeah.
I feel that super hard.
Like,
yeah.
like usually for the street, it's like Street Wraith and Bridge for Below or Future Shifted, so it's really easy to pick those out. Same with Narcomoeba, but Narcomoeba was blue.
Yeah, no, Joey. I like the clean look of Joey's deck, but it's definitely a visual readjustment from being used to old border Dredge cards.
It didn't feel like this deck didn't feel like you were playing Magic, so it made sense that the cards were all so
This is weird looking.
Yeah. But now the art's, I think, art in general has become a lot more unified in this game. Like,
totally.
There's way better identity in what's going on in the art, which means that they tend to be a little bit more similar, I think.
Well, it looks like. Let's see. One Icarid got sacrificed, but the other did not. What's going on with that?
I think he flashed back to Cabal Therapy.
Okay. So we're still having Joey. I think looking to name a Cabal.
Well, I think he named Force of Will. I think we're in the tank after that play.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right.
Chester's revealed his hand. He put the Force in the bin. I don't think he countered it.
No, yeah, that's what I missed. Okay. Yeah, not a lot going on for Chester against this particular setup here. I think he was really hoping to buy some time off that Tormod script, and Joey just had such a perfect Dredge to make him to really force his hand on it.
Yeah, definitely. No, so Joey was able to create a board to attack the Jace, which is a big deal.
Yeah,
Chester definitely wanted on top with that.
All right. Gonna Dread Return.
Looks like it's happening.
And grab some more guys. And I think are we just doing it? We just trade when writing right now? He's got one in the yard. No, we're Flayer of the Hate Bounding.
Hate Bound time.
Oh, sure. Okay.
This is going to crack for 4.
Yeah. Does he have another...
I think he's got another Cabal.
Does he have another Cabal Therapy, perhaps? Or he's just going to get another crack off the... Let's see, he could Dread Return... Oh, he can just Dread Return a Grave Troll for not that much, though. Yeah, it wouldn't be that big. Looks like he's doing this math here.
I think he's doing it.
Oh, he has it. Yeah, it looks like he probably has it. Dread Return, Target Grave Troll. I have 1, 2, 3,
It's worth mentioning
4.
that I think that the 4 points from the
Yeah.
flare also haven't been tracked. So
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
think that's lethal. Yeah, so potentially did accidentally slide that Street Wraith into his hand, but it didn't end up mattering.
Yep.
Didn't impact the outcome at all. So yeah, that was Joey taking it down in 2 with Manaless Dredge,
Yep.
really closing out the combo strategy of the deck. Get Flail to Hate Bound in, win 2 games
Yeah,
with it.
and just the first game of our round. We're 21 minutes left in the round, possibly
Yeah, I'm gonna
a
take a
backup
look
match.
for a second round.
That'd be sweet. Yeah.
I'm also gonna see if there's more water cups.
All right, sounds good.
Beverage.
Yeah. Take a turn. Do a lap. We'll hang out here with chat. See if I can make it look nice and dark here. I don't know. We can never get this completely straight, but that's what happens when you stream out in the middle of a game store, guys. It's a bit of a production blow up. Honestly, I would ditch this entirely, but it's just kind of awkward with the people playing behind us. As much as it would look good, they would then want to also be on camera, so to speak. So, moral of the story: play Torpor Orb and Flare can't combo you. HG Fox, you are clearly just the wisest wizard of all them all when it comes to this this legacy format. I'm glad you're here in the chat with us, dropping these gems. All right. Is UW Dreadnought guy there? I believe you're referring to Jeff Schofield, because I've seen him play that in the past, and he's here, but he's not playing that deck. If you're referring to someone else, then they're not here. And that's what we've got. Josh is looking for a backup match. It's a light night, so we might not actually have one. There's a possibility that everybody who could be playing on camera is in the middle of a game, and that nobody is like between games. So as long as that happens, well, we might just have to entertain you folks. How's it going? Everybody in games?
Yeah, no dice.
That's
sadly.
fair.
Sometimes how it goes. We're kind of right
I was
when
just explaining that to chat. I was like, everybody who could be on camera is already in the middle of a game right now.
Yeah.
And there's nobody. We really are just at the mercy of time and who happens to be between games.
Yeah, it's kind of
So-
like there's definitely a sweet spot where like people are going to game 3. They just finished 2 games. They got about 20 minutes left for the third one.
Exactly.
Sometimes you find him, sometimes you don't. Blue White Dread Knight guy, I think he is. He's definitely not playing Dreadnought today.
I was about to say,
though. He's playing the board deck, right?
Talking about Jeff, right?
Yeah, Jeff
okay,
Schofield.
that's what I thought. I told him that
Jeff
as much
Schofield.
earlier. I do have
he's on that boards deck. Oh, we got
just
the
some sweet spoilers
yeah.
pulled up just to look at.
Yeah, we got some more slivers too.
I'm a little bit excited by Yawgmoth.
Yeah.
I think
Yawgmoth.
that card could be in some fun fringe decks in this format.
Yeah, it is a human.
Well, it seems like it's.
And it does have protection from humans.
It seems like it would slot. I don't know, maybe perfectly, but it seems like it would slot into his bombardment strategy as a new sack outlet that is a little bit more proactive than some of the other things that they have going
definitely.
on.
It doesn't deal damage, but it definitely attacks creatures and gives
Right,
you some
so
equity,
it attacks creatures and it lets you just kind of control the board that way. The proliferate, I can't think of anything that's too spicy with that, but certainly an interesting thing to staple onto a card.
I like the fact that we finally finished the Talisman cycle. I was wondering if we were going to do that.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's
okay.
from Mirrodin, I believe. Talisman
Gotcha.
of Impulse is the.
Oh,
red
you're right.
green one.
Yeah. So that was just one of the baubles. I didn't realize they didn't have another cycle.
Yeah, they didn't have the enemy color cycles
Very
until now.
cool. What do you think about slivers? Some of these new slivers
I
are
haven't
very
seen this.
explosive.
Yeah,
So
I did see that
there
there's
is-
that red-white one. I think
Yep.
that one's really, really good.
that one's really, really good. And this one actually
creatures deal?
doubles damage on slivers, which is pretty solid.
Whenever it's dealt damage, so it's
Oh, never mind. I misread.
not super excited about that one.
Oh, well,
No.
I thought that
We're
card was
looking
whenever
at-
it deals damage,
Yeah.
you may deal that much damage. I was like, oh, wow. And we recently got Collector Oof, too, which is a pretty
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah, that's the
piece
Stony
to tutor
Silence,
for.
right?
Yeah, Stony Silence on a stick.
Yeah, it's green, which is also super relevant.
Exactly,
And I think
yeah.
that card is probably going to see some play in the sideboards of Green Sun Zenith decks.
Yep, absolutely.
Seems great there.
Yep. Any Maverick deck, even though they run
What is this card?
equipments. This is the Storm card that gains 3 life.
What?
Yep.
I didn't know. What?
Yep. So Verdant Windstorm is a new
What?
Storm card.
Yeah, it is.
You
All
get
right.
3 life Storm, baby.
I've never seen that card before.
Yeah,
All
it's like just last night, I think.
Yep,
It was
alright.
when it hit.
All right.
Late in the evening
It beats
yesterday.
Tendrils of Agony, that's for sure.
Exactly,
But not,
yeah.
Not very well.
It certainly sets you up. They printed this little goblin
Yeah, I
with
like the Renown.
Exalted.
Oh, Exalted. I thought it was Renowned.
Super
Yeah.
sweet, yeah. I love him. He's a neat little guy.
Interesting spot for Exalted, I think.
Yeah, some of these new swords, which are nice, but maybe not necessarily like immediately going to see Legacy play.
I got another Manticore.
Yeah, Archmage's Charm is kind of
that Cryptic
interesting,
Command,
but
yeah.
again, a little slow for
Yeah, it beats
for the
Mirror Lage,
format.
that's about it.
I love Nature's Chant.
Yeah, I like how we just printed a strictly better Disenchant and Naturalize.
Just
Literally
doesn't matter anymore. They're
Yeah.
all the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like, I think the only scenario where it really matters, where that card isn't just strictly better, is like if your opponent is playing Flash Freeze and you're a white deck. Like, I think that's like the only scenario.
Yeah.
Which is pretty goddamn narrow.
We have 2 new ninjas.
Oh, what's that Spell Snuff? 3-mana counterspell, Fateful Hour. Whoa, that's kind of sick.
It's pretty sweet, right?
Usually that's 4 mana. I'm just gonna say that. Usually that effect is 4 mana.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's absolutely a good point. I like that they brought back Faithful Hour.
Yeah.
There's so many
a lot of
random
one-shot
mechanics.
effects. Yeah, they're like, we're just gonna print this mechanic once.
This new ninja's pretty interesting too, considering that
the
it just
deep hours everybody.
yeah, exactly. Everything's a deep hours. Synergizes exactly as well with Baleful Strix as Ninja the Deep Hours itself does.
Oh, I thought that card was called Kaya's Charm. It's Kaya's Guile. That's way less exciting. I was like, this is a weird ass charm.
Well, it's not technically like it's a choose 2, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those weird.
Oh, it's a choose 2 with Entwine.
Yeah.
I thought it was a choose 1 with Entwine. Okay, now it makes a little bit more sense.
Yep, makes a little bit more sense. I'm surprised they didn't just call it Kaya's Command, but I guess because it has Entwine, it wouldn't technically be a command.
Yeah, it kind of gets weird out of the cycle.
Exactly, yeah. So the fact that it's Entwine makes it a whole new type of thing, a Guile, which is interesting. Potentially a cycle. I could see,
Is that Orcish Oriflame? Ooh, I haven't seen that card in a while. Or Goblin Oriflame.
Oh, I didn't know this was an older card.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think Orcish Oriflame is.
Certainly, yeah, you're right. There is. Yeah, you're right. There's precedent for these cards. Absolutely.
That card does exist. Oh, it's 4 mana. This one's 2. Okay, all right.
Yep. Arena Sword's playable. I mean,
maybe.
Yeah,
I think the blue-white is
swords,
probably,
right?
yeah.
Like,
not quite, but close.
I think every sword that offers protection from relevant colors is nice, but like the backbreaking ones, I don't think they're going to print any swords that are more powerful than the past ones.
Yeah, I
think
they
know the
sort of
limits.
Fire and Ice and Umezawa's GT are just better equipment than anything we'll ever see from here on out.
Yeah, there really isn't a sword design that beats Fire and Ice and isn't more broken than Fire and Ice. You know,
exactly,
like yeah.
Like, I'm not really sure what the design space for better than Swords of Fire and Ice and not bust it out of its ass, because that card is not fair.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's the weird part about completing the cycle is you almost know that they're not going to be as exciting as the original swords, which had such powerful.
To be fair, that's kind of what we
effects.
felt about the new cycle, and that kind of held out true.
That's
I think
true.
Sword of Feast and Famine is kind of okay. Like, it does a very different thing than the rest of the swords, which is nice, but...
I tell you what I'm going to try to do is play Black-Red Goblins in Modern, because
the
they've
new Siege
printed
Gang,
some pretty sweet ones. I love Sling Gang Lieutenant. The fact that you can just, like, play this card and potentially...
I thought it was Siege Gang Lieutenant. I was
right?
like, kind of running out of namespace, I guess. But.
Sling Gang. So the fact that you can just play this card after combat and potentially like just sack your entire board to win the game is a pretty
like 5 them or
just
whatever,
like a pretty appealing proposition. I think
it's cool you can sack itself to itself. Too.
Exactly.
Not a lot of cards let you do that.
Anytime a card says sacrifice a creature or just like this one, sacrifice a goblin : with no other cost, I get super excited because I love having that access to that effect at instant speed.
Definitely. Got the Cat Lord.
New Plague Engineer.
Yeah,
so
we got
tutorable
engineered plague.
Yeah.
Luckily not a human. I was really afraid they'd make that card and it would be human.
I mean, it still would. I think it would still see play in humans as far as the legacy version of the deck.
If it was
Absolutely.
a human, it would be insane.
Well, yeah, it would be a main deck.
Because of the creatures of the chosen type your opponents control.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Mirror Breaker on humans, if Plague Engineer was a human, would be disgusting.
Yeah. I still foresee it as a sideboard card in Legacy Humans. Just going to be able to clean up a lot of the like elves and stuff.
Yeah, I like the Ren and 6. I think that card's pretty sweet.
Card's
I like
very
the name
sweet
too.
Yeah, I love that it's. I love that it's technically 2 people. So it's
like an Eldrazi that possessed somebody or something?
No, it's not an Eldrazi. It is a something else, but it's like a mech suit basically for this guy. So Ren is the guy right here, and then 6 is the name of his. Oh, it's a tree folk.
Okay.
So it's like a tree folk suit that he has, like a symbiotic relationship, sort of like a Titanfall.
Yeah. Okay.
Is I think
like
how
Attack
they
on
pitched
Titan.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not like Attack on Titan.
There's a whole lot more going on there.
Different type of Titan.
Different kind of relationship.
I also love the art on this Fallen Shinobi. It is creepy AF.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a zombie ninja.
True horror. Yeah, I like Hex Drinker is a pretty common item in League of Legends. You buy that item a lot.
Oh, that's funny. Same name. Hex Drinker's pretty sweet, actually. I didn't realize this card is like. I don't know where this necessarily like pumps up in terms of
so I see
everything,
that
but
card
there
is a 4-mana 4/4, which like is not insane.
There's a mono green beats deck that might want to play this card, but
maybe.
I don't know.
The fact scoot this window over a little bit.
Yeah. The fact that it is a mythic card raises my eyebrows for sure.
Yeah.
4-mana 4/4 protection from instances is maybe worth
protection from everything is a wording that you only want to print on very specific cards. I think that's why it's.
That's pretty fair. Pretty fair. Yeah.
I think that you don't really want that effect in 95% of games. It is very unfun to play against.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting limited bomb, I guess, or a limited card. Maybe not super bomb.
And they got the overloaded path, which is kind of cool.
That is
Costs
pretty
a lot of
sweet.
mana.
It does.
To be fair, that is a 6 mana sweeper at instant speed or sorcery speed.
Sorcery
That's
speed,
also a single target spell if you need it.
Yeah.
I love how Goatnap came back. It's one of the ways that they introduced Changeling Matters was Goatnapper.
I put that together in my head just when I saw it for on this spoiler season because I'm not super familiar with the older Changeling sets. I was like, why goats? And then I was like, oh, sweet, Changeling cards.
Pretty much specifically to trigger Changeling.
Yeah, very nice.
I liked also the Cowards Can't Block Warriors comes back.
Yes.
Boldweaver Intimidators is kind of a group out here.
Are there any creature type cowards in the set
that
we haven't seen yet?
About this set. So I saw this and I assumed that meant that Northern the Weary is going to be in the set.
Probably, yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I think there's some Changelings, but that's it.
I
don't think there's any actual.
Of course, we just talked about that.
There's literally one on screen for
we
us.
Literally we just talked about that. But yeah, you were saying the Boldwear Warriors.
Yeah, whatever.
Bit of an older legacy
Boldwear
group up here.
Yeah, kind of on the east side, Bellevue area.
We got a Bear Queen. I love that Bear Queen. Pretty cool.
I'm sad Umezawa's Charm doesn't choose to. Really.
I saw your note about that. I think that is I think that'd be very cool.
And I can't imagine any of the modes being too busted. Or if it's just choose one, do it twice. Maybe that's
that would be more better. But yeah, even then, that is typically how you operate it with the card too. It's not often that you pump something and kill another thing with Umezawa's Jitte.
Usually you just do nothing with it and force your opponent to lose the game.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's usually the game plan.
Glacial Revelation is interesting as far as just that card seems pretty sweet in the limited format if you get a number of snow permanents.
I don't think it's going to see play in limited because the problem with snowlands in limited is that you can't just add snowlands to your deck.
Oh, you can't. Oh, yeah, of course.
So you have to draft them. Well, maybe they'll change that for this set. I don't think they've announced that at all. But
Altar of Dementia, a pretty sweet one too.
Yeah, cool
another card that synergizes quite well with the Zombardment type strategy in Legacy.
There's definitely some sacrifice matters.
Yeah, definitely.
A Squirrel Mascot reprint? I didn't even know.
Yeah. That'll be an interesting one to see play in limited. That card's quite good if it goes unchecked.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Yeah, very slow. The new Sisei is pretty interesting.
So we are between round 2 and round 3. How much time do we have left in the round? 5 minutes?
That's a great question. Yeah,
10 minutes?
10 minutes still. So yeah, everyone's playing out their rounds. I'm willing to guess that it might end before the 10-minute mark, which would be very nice for us.
Yeah, we'll
get
see.
Back on camera a little earlier. But regardless,
certainly nothing I'm opposed to.
Yeah. There's a bit of a cycle happening with some of these multicolored uncommons. None of them are super appealing yet.
Yeah, I like the Thundering Djinn just because it reminds,
That's a bit of a a limited type bomb at uncommon where you just want to play that guy.
Yeah.
I do like the Ranger Captain. I think that's pretty sweet for humans. It's obviously a little slow, but
yeah, they're
I don't think they're begging for this effect, but it does do a good job of fighting sweepers with your Aether Vial decks. I think it'll probably be a lot better in modern humans than in the legacy version of the deck.
Yeah, definitely.
You run into more sweeper type effects in that format.
It's kind of an interesting slot too, because I feel like with the printing of that card, the fact that it replaces itself and then does something on board is really interesting. This is not really a design space we've experienced before. Usually our tutor cards are very, very weak.
Yep.
As combat-wise, and also don't do anything after they tutor. You're just playing Recruiter of the Guard as a tutor effect.
Yeah,
you're not really playing it I got my 3 mana.
You're not going to get another value out of it, right? Other than maybe chump blocking, right?
Whereas this Ranger Captain, you can tutor for a threat, or you can tutor for a dork or something like that, and then interact with your opponent if you need to, or stop them from going off. And it's also just a 3/3 for 3, which is pretty good return on investment stats-wise.
Solid rate, especially when it's pumping your other creatures in the humans deck, and there's not too many CMC1 creatures that you want to find, but the fact that Mother of Runes is the first one you want to find is pretty solid.
Yeah. Or whatever the new Mother of Runes is, Stepmother of Runes.
Yeah, I don't think that card's super great. I think it's I think it's hard to make a fixed Mother of Runes, I'll say that much. And I think this is certainly how you do it, but I also think that once you do that, it's just I think if the card isn't Mother of Runes, it's not worth playing.
Yeah, I think that the card's getting a bad rap because the card that you compare it to is Mother of Runes.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
Most of the time that you play Mother of Runes, it just gets killed.
Exactly.
It doesn't even matter.
In that sense, it's probably going to fill a lot of the same role.
Yeah.
It's just the idea that what this card is now is instead of a lightning rod for your opponent's removal for a single turn, and then a key kind of like protection piece, it's just like always a lightning rod for your
Yep.
opponent's removal.
Yep,
So like
exactly.
you are
Which-
just playing a time game at that point.
Yeah, which I think is fine. Like I think that when people say that, they're like, "Oh, it's so much worse than Mother Runes, therefore it's unplayable." Like Modern is still a very proactive format, and like forcing your opponent to use a removal spell on a 1-drop is still like.
I think,
That's fine.
yeah, I don't
Like-
think, yeah, I definitely don't think that worse than Mother Runes and unplayable are mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I think that there's a pretty wide range between those two slots, and I think people are, because of the perspective they're looking at it from, they see them the same.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Scale Up is a pretty neat one.
Yeah.
I was just talking to oh no, I'm blanking.
We were talking in the bus about an hour ago.
But
about
who's our Infect player locally? Matt Saxon.
Oh yeah.
Just talking to Matt Saxon before we started here, and he was saying that it seems pretty sweet. I didn't notice it was a sorcery until I talked to him, so that's a little less sweet.
Yeah.
I also didn't notice it has Overload. Not that matters
Not
a ton,
matters. Yeah, it doesn't relevant.
but pretty hilarious. And yeah,
Oh, yes.
it does basically accelerate the turn of the deck because 6 plus any of your 4 mana or 4 power pump spells.
Yeah. That being said, I think
helps.
Scale Up, if it does get played in Infect list, it probably will be taking the slots of one of the 4.
Yes,
Plus 4
absolutely.
spells, not one of the +2/+2 spells. Because usually the way that I look at it is like the +2/+2 is like pretty even return on investment,
Yep.
and then the +4/+4 is like if I get the opportunity to slide in, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But this one's going to be Scale Up's going to be a little bit conditional, so.
It's a cool space for a pump spell. I'll say that.
Oh, I like Dregscape Sliver. I missed that from Shards of Alara. That was the Grixis ability, Unearth.
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize. Oh, slivers each. That is pretty sweet. I didn't realize that was the unearthed sliver. That's tight.
Yeah, Dregscape Zombie is. I think it's a 2/1 for 2 that unearths for 1.
Honestly, I wonder how fun draft slivers is going to be in this format.
Yeah,
Seems
it's
super.
usually pretty tough to draft slivers because
fair.
most of them are pretty bad, and you need a critical mass. So like, it's rare that you'll have like only good ones.
That's
and,
such a.
you can't really draft them early. Like when you're looking at a pack and you're like, oh, I could take this green bomb or I could take this decent green sliver.
I
that
know
isn't gonna
that's such
wheel,
a bummer. It's such a bummer to hear because like certainly they put a ton of them in here as a type of limited archetype, but yeah. Goblin Engineer. Oh yeah, I did see this. This is kind of a neat one. Doing a little bit of a Goblin Welder
artifact
impression.
And then well done. Yeah. It's kind of cool. It definitely. I feel like WotC has gotten a lot better at like making sure that when they print cards, they like cover the egregiously busted aspects of them. So whenever I see cards that have wordings like convert mana cost 3 or less, I'm like, yep. Well, I know that they found the sweet spot of where this card isn't busted anymore, and that's where it's trying.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking at Force of Virtue. I didn't realize that was an enchantment with Flash. When I first saw that, I thought it was just a instant.
Yeah, it was just an instant given until
the fact that it's a permanent effect makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's definitely an anthem.
Yeah, it's
what's
certainly not the best
unexciting about
anthem.
it is that you can't flash it in during your turn, like which is going to be relevant.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course.
David Byer, welcome. He's got 4 rounds of Legacy. You got
Was Regrowth previously in Modern? That's interesting.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
it's kind of cool.
I think Recollect was the standard. So
Okay.
kinda cool. Spore Frog's back in.
Oh, that's sweet art for Spore Frog.
Do you guys think you could read exactly what they do? Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. Sorry, what we should do is here. I can actually do this. Give me 2 shakes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're just staring at a spoiler list, kind of going off.
Oh, sorry guys, I did this wrong. Ah!
Yeah, I could just flip back to us. Yeah, it's all good.
Here's what I need to add source. Sorry.
Haha.
Window capture.
Oh, I like it.
Spoilers. Yeah. Huh?
Eh?
It's loading?
Is it gonna work?
No? Come on. Well, that didn't work.
So much for that.
All right. Well, I tried to show it to you guys, but instead you're getting to see a black screen. So
Yeah.
no dice on that. Yeah, we will read out the card. Sorry about that.
No, good call.
We would desktop capture, but then you get like the infinite, whatchamacallit?
Recursion
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of effort to get it set up.
There's the new Urza, which is another sweet one.
Yeah, so High Artificer,
Yep.
ETBs creates a colorless construct, and then you can tap an untapped artifact to add blue, and for 5 mana, you I don't know what you described as. I guess you Bosium strip your library? No, I guess that's not it.
I think that's what someone referred to it, that
yeah.
I saw that referred to it as.
It's like, Yeah,
Shuffle your
just
library,
kinda-
exile the top card until end of your turn. You may play that card without paying.
You Mind's Desire. That's what it is. 5 mana.
You
Mind's
basically
Desire
do,
once.
right?
Well,
Like
you Mind's Desire.
Oh,
it's literally what
without
you do.
Storm. Yeah, you do. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
Mind's
literally
Desire
just
without
Mind's
Storm.
Desire once.
Yeah. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Then we got Pondering Mage to finish out the Brainstorming Mage cycle. I wonder if there's going to
That
be
is
a
a pretty
lightning
interesting
bolt.
one, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a Bizarre Mage, there's
Yeah.
Ponder Mage, there's Brainstorm Mage. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be like Lightning Mage and
I would like that.
Time Walk Mage. That one would be pretty good, right? Ancestral Recall Mage. Where's that?
Gotta check my
Chiller
email.
Pillar is one of my favorite cards in the set. 4 mana, 3/3, 6 mana, 2 of which is Snow to Monstrosity 2, and it gets flying. I just think he's a chill dude. You know? He's going to stay cool. And 4 mana, 3/3s is like pretty much always what cards used to be worth. Like Hill Giants and
Back
stuff.
in the day, yeah.
Yeah, we decided to push the line of what 4
Nurturing
mana gets you.
Peatlands. What do we think about the
Astral Slide reprint or thing.
No. Oh shoot, it just got away from
Oh,
me.
the Horizon Canopy Lands?
Not the Horizon Canopy Lands. No, it wasn't anything on the screen.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
I like this guy, the Lightning Skelemental.
that card is sweet.
The
yeah,
Lightning Ball Lightning.
Elemental Skeleton.
Mhm.
Say that 6 times fast.
Elemental Skeleton.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that card's sweet.
Yeah, it seems really cool, the Team of Battle Rage.
I hope there's just a solid. I hope there's just a solid black-red aggro deck in the draft format where like this is like a bomb you get past because no one else took it, and
Yeah.
you're the guy that's in black-red aggro, and all of a sudden it's just super sweet.
You guys talk about Dreadmage Arcanist Blue Red?
No, dude, we're talking about Lightning Skelemental.
I picked up some because maybe it's good or not, but we also played. I played against it on Sunday. Dreadmage Arcanist, you guys, in blue red.
A few times. It seems really good.
I mean, so the big factor that we forgot. So I played against it with my buddy Connor, and we both sat there and we're like, yep, we're gonna let them do this, and then it attacked, and we're like, oh, it's when it attacks. Yeah, we're like,
I thought it
we're
was
just,
combat
We're just not
damage,
gonna
so.
let it connect for combat damage, and then they attacked and cast a ponder. We were like, oh. Like,
Whoops.
both sat there. Both didn't read the whole card. Just we're like, yep, that's gonna be how that works on that one. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
interesting card, dude. And at 3 toughness, it's surprisingly hard to kill. I don't think we can pull it up on a card picker, unfortunately, for you guys at home, just because it hasn't been fully updated. But you guys can probably pull it up in the chat. Dreadhorde Arcanist is a 1/3
Oh, is it
with
Dreadhorde
Trample.
Arcanist?
Yeah.
I don't think it's in here, but
Yeah, exactly. And then when it attacks, you can cast an instant or sorcery from
Yep.
your yard
Nice.
without paying its mana cost. So for free, you got to bolt something, you can cantrip.
Those are mainly
usually
what
those
you're
two
gonna do.
things.
Honestly, you're probably not
really
gonna
just,
do
Really
anything
just
else.
those two things. You draw
you're
a
really
card or you kill
scraping
something.
the barrel if you get outside of 1 CMC
Exactly.
on that, guys.
Rage, flashback, Haze of Rage.
See, I like that.
I'm gonna put that Haze of Rage in there.
Yeah, Faithless Looting. Let's go, guys.
Let's do it.
Some modern tech.
Yeah, it's a sweet one though. It's definitely like, I mean, it's replacing Young Pyromancer basically, right, in the slots.
The decks I've been playing against have both.
Both. All right, I like that. Seems. I mean, they do synergize pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Servers just don't flip, which is really
Yeah.
funny to me.
Yeah.
It's like the Wizards deck in Modern. It's got like 16 instants or sorceries. It's like maybe turn 6 this will be a 3/2.
Chat asking if there's Lance player.
There
There's
is
one.
Yeah. There's one Lance, and then
yeah.
I think there's one Eldrazi, and I think there's an Agrolome as well.
Yeah,
I'll
we have
double-check.
Aiden, who's typically on Agrolome, and Jim, who is typically on Lands, and both of those players are in the room tonight. I think they are on their respective decks.
Yeah, just depths and lands, no Agrolome.
Yeah, probably like 3 or 4 players who could be and or usually playing it locally. Certainly some who only play lands, and then some who could be playing lands. Depends
Yeah.
on the day.
He's playing the Highlander.
Yeah. Jim is the Highlander tonight, because there's only one. Yeah,
So that was time in the round. I'm imagining I'm gonna go check see how many tables are left still playing.
sounds good. Yeah.
We're back.
Let me take that headset for ya. Can he slash black suspend cards? Any turbo depths tonight? Let me look at our little spotty spot list.
That's the thing.
Though we do typically have a player or 2 on that deck, I don't think we have any tonight. Oh, we do have 1. One player is spotted as being on turbo depths tonight. Have you seen the new spoiler academy? Oh, is that fresh? We just that seems fresh. I'm gonna refresh our
We
mythic
did not.
spoiler here and see if that shows up.
Where's 16KM in chat?
Boom! Hall of Heliod's Generosity.
Okay, so it taps for
Holy
a
moly.
colorless or 1 white tap, putting an enchantment on top of your library.
Yeah.
From your graveyard. Yep, sounds about right.
KG and Miles Wallio.
Yep.
The man wants this effect. That's pretty sweet. Recur your standstills. Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
art. That art is
Oh,
legit,
dude, those art is sick. I would.
didn't-
I would buy this on a playmat like
Yeah.
pretty easy.
Not gonna lie, that's some dope playmat art for
Yeah.
sure. Definitely
I
gonna get some
think
foil ones of
It's
those.
so undersold. Like Theros has such cool potential for art, but then like 90% of the cards are just like trolls and minotaurs and like
Yeah.
just
Squandered
not-
just a little bit.
I mean, it's just like stuff that we already know about for Greek mythic stuff. But then when they get into the Nyx and like all the Starfield-y stuff, like that's the unique
Yeah.
unique juice that I think if they ever go back to Theros, they better have a lot more of that. That's all I'm saying.
Outlast is coming back too. Man, they're just I like how there's like one of
Whoa.
every keyword in this set.
Wow, they're just making a sliver for every keyword. Yes, slivers have Outlast. That's pretty wild. Spells one class against creature type. Each creature type among creatures you control.
So
This
if
Valiant
you-
Changeling's pretty interesting.
So if you have a changeling in play, that guy's a 2-mana 3/3 double striker for what it's worth.
That's what I'm reading. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's actually pretty rock solid. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this card seems sweet. This card seems like a very I think shapeshifters might be pretty real in this draft. You first pick this bad boy. And
Well,
then
so
just,
like the thing about a lot of shapeshifters is like you draft tribal matters, and then you can just pick these and pretend that they're whatever tribe you're drafting. So like the
Yes.
pick priority is really really high.
Yeah.
Because you can also like take them early and then be like, I don't know what tribe I'm going to be in this color pair, but I'm going to play this creature no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. Hellbent.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Hellbent for pinging. That's pretty neat. Yeah. Well, the
Yeah, the fact that the Hellbent Pinger for Slivers is not requiring a mana cost is dope.
I'll be very interested to see if Slivers gets a punch in Modern or Legacy, mostly just based off the 1/1 or the haste flying one, because that's just like
Yeah.
that's exactly what the deck wants.
It's a good
but
spot.
it's just a fun aggro archetype that's definitely just kind of by the wayside these days. There are certainly better aggro decks to be playing than Slivers, but Slivers is very unique. It's very
Seeing the judge interacting with the computer, this might be good news for those of you watching the stream and looking for more magic.
Yes.
Rather than us talking about spoilers.
Hey man, I'm just glad it's spoiler season. Can
Yeah.
you imagine if we didn't have a bunch of new Magic cards to talk about?
Yeah.
Whew. So
Exactly.
much time to kill.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about any of the cards from the War of the Spark even.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We're in such a flood, like a legit flood of new Magic cards that
yeah.
are just affecting the formats left and right. Like, I haven't even who even cares about Standard? These new cards are going straight into Modern and Legacy, baby.
Yeah, I'm thinking about building a Standard deck. We'll see.
It's fun. I mean, I certainly like watching the deck lists evolve. Like, I want to build 4-color Dreadhorde on Arena. I just don't have some stuff. I just need to in order to get cards on Arena, I have to grind with decks I don't want to play, and so that then it just stops right there. And then I don't get a Standard deck on Arena that I want to play.
Yeah,
I don't play
definitely.
Standard on Arena anymore.
Exactly.
But the decks do look pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Certainly we're at that critical peak of 10 shock lands, 10 buddy lands, and even more mana fixing than that.
Yeah, exactly.
So really pie in the sky as far as what you can do with the card pool.
Definitely, yeah. I still want to play Cryptic Command in Standard again. I'm still convinced that Lorwyn Standard is the most fun Standard I've ever had.
I've heard that from a number of people. I didn't have the privilege of playing it myself, but it's one of the ones that I would if someone handed me, if someone was like, we've got 5 decks.
I am actually planning on proxying the metagame of that Standard environment
that's
just to
hecka sweet,
have in
dude.
a Boulder case with me.
We
in
could
case-
definitely
yeah.
match that up. I would love to learn on some of those old decks, especially.
Kithkin was super fun. You had Windbrisk Heights. You put Mirror Weave and stuff underneath there. You did
Yeah.
some crazy stuff in that format.
Women's Guys is super sweet. Mono G Tron.
And there
in
was Dragon
Standard.
Stompy as well. Your Dragon Storm, because you could Spine Rock Null, you put Dragon
Yes.
Storm underneath that.
Yeah, Dragon
There
Storm's
was
wild.
Pyromancer Swath and Grape Shot. You'd Storm for 5 or something like that, and it'd be lethal.
Fairies as well, no?
Yeah, I mean Fairies was the best deck.
Just
for
the
sure.
dominant deck? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I played 5C, which had 7 or 8 main deck cards. You're this is only good versus Fairies, but you're gonna need them.
Yeah.
It's you had 4 Plumeveil and Cloud Thresher and Esper Charms.
Oh, just all the hate. Yeah. Cloud Thresher
Volcanic
was a super
Fallout.
hate card, right?
Perfect. All right, we got
Alrighty.
pairings for round 3, my guys. Good news for you.
Yeah.
Should we do table 1, Justin Harala versus Jim? I believe that's Lands versus Justin. I think is on Eldrazi. Is he on red
he should be
Eldrazi?
on post. I think that'd be a good one to get. These are 2 very experienced players.
He's on post, so it's probably Karn post, but I
It
guess
is.
we'll find out.
I saw him shuffling up new
Okay,
cards
gotcha.
before.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do table 2 then.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
We get table 2 set up?
Table 2.
Sweet.
Justin Harala and Jim Huang. Update the stream.
Perfect.
That's where Legacy Elves came from.
I guess there's some sort of Tron deck in Standard right now too.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know what's making the Trons.
Is it Warren Power Stone? Is that the name of it? No.
Oh,
What's the?
potentially.
I don't know the
Reed-
name of the
what-
card.
Yeah.
There's like a 3-man artifact that taps for each one you
What's
control. or
making the
something.
Trons, Reed?
Yeah, I don't know. Power
Yeah,
Stone
okay,
Shard.
it
Okay,
is.
that
Yeah,
is the
we're
card I'm
Power Stone
thinking of.
sharding. That seems sweet. I said sharding.
I'm sharding.
SHARDING, folks. That's what I'm saying. I don't know about you guys at home.
Horizons and Modern only, correct. These
Yes,
cards will not
that
be ported
is
into
that's the
Standard,
whole thing. Yeah,
which is
it's
too
kind of
bad.
cool. Everyone like kind of I think the Modern community basically like thought exercised that set into existence. Everyone just it was like, what if there was a Modern set that went right into Modern for years and years and years and years, and then the Wizards finally was like, you know what, good idea.
Yeah, it was like we don't have anything to talk about because
Yep.
there's no spoilers right now. So if we were to pretend to make a set,
Absolutely, yeah, it was
puts
a
old cards
huge, yeah,
in,
it was always that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that Wizards clearly like they want to cater to Eternal formats. This is I feel like the first time where like they're printing stuff for me and like I've seen so many that I'm worn out almost. Like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm like, all right, you guys get tone it down a little bit. We get it.
And just speaking to someone who only really plays Eternal format, this is the first time I've pre-ordered a box in a while, just because I want to draft it.
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
just want to sit down with friends and crack open a box and draft the set. And like, I don't really do that for Magic sets typically, so it's like really awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if the players are ready. Head down to the match. Looks like they are shuffling up.
Okay.
Got them on the wrong side though, which is too bad. Boop.
I see. Ramp with Karn and a Wishboard sounds about right to me. I could see that being a best. I kind of forgot that best of one exists on Arena now.
Yeah.
Like they gave me what I wanted and I never went back. But
My problem is I never remember which one's which. Like one of them is like ranked and one of them's normal.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I think
the
ranked
language
the best
is
of one or
weird.
something like that. The
There's
whole UI on figuring out what queue I'm signing up for is just like it was a mess in Magic Online. It's a mess in Arena.
yeah, it is. There's ranked for both technically.
Yeah, why
speaking.
is there a slider that goes between advanced play modes and normal play modes,
That's
and like
that's
two
the
of the
tricky
things
one, yeah.
change,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
like,
that's the whole.
what's
That's
the
the whole thing.
delineation there? Like,
That's
what's
the whole
going
thing.
on?
Yeah,
I just get lost.
feels like someone asked for that, and a lot of people were probably like, "Why?" And they were like, "I'm in charge. I'm asking for it."
Yeah.
And then it got made.
If I was trying to figure out how to interact with this client, I would assume this ticker would exist.
Yeah, I remember getting fooled by that the very first time I used the Arena client and thinking that they had shut down events, like they had just taken them off the table. I was like, why can't I do this? And then I, eventually found the little slider.
For me, I was like partway through a draft, and I couldn't figure out how to get back in the draft. I was like,
Oh,
where do I
God.
go? What was the name of the draft? Was it classic, traditional, or ranked? What set was it?
what is this?
Like, they're all sets that I've like played with 3 times and know like 12 cards in and can't remember which set's which. I appreciate them doing high roll. I believe that Jim won. He rolled a 10. And Justin rolled an 8.
I think he beat Justin's roll for sure. Both of these players know each other quite well, play each other quite a bit.
Yeah, these guys definitely have played some Legacy in the Seattle area for quite some time. Running a few times. Looks like Blast Zone in hand for Justin. That's a new card.
That is another new card that is making its way in here. Lands, colorless decks, loam decks.
Yeah, actually, I think that Blast Zone land is actually really sweet. I think that Tron decks, specifically in Modern, on turn 3, if they can assemble Tron, on turn 4, they can guaranteed be able to tutor for that and play it, which is super cool, and crack it. So like that gives enough mana to play Expedition Map, crack Expedition Map for it, and play it, and then use it, or play a Chromatic Sphere, crack it for green to cast Sylvan Scrying, and then play it, which is cool. I like that. That seems very elegant.
Yeah.
And I think blowing up X = 1 on a land is like a pretty relevant effect up front, and like the fact it scales very easily in that deck is a big deal. So.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Both of these decks also notably, I don't know if it comes up here, but Vesuva on Justin's side and Thespian Stage on Jim's side, both give them the ability to crack it on 0 if need be.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is pretty interesting and something that was built into the card for you not to be able to do. And like the fact that they can jump over that hoop a little bit in this format, Blaststone just can hit anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that the reason it comes in with 1 instead of 0 is because I think it'd be unplayable if it came in at 0.
I mean, that's also fair. It would be too much of a setup, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think that in Legacy specifically, there's a lot of like 0 cost permanents you might want to blow up.
Yep.
But I think outside of Legacy, like that goes down considerably, and like you mainly are going to want to be using that to like blow up 1s, 2s, or 3s. So the fact it comes in with 1 is like making it better.
Well, Chalice on 1 is going to resolve here.
Legacy's like, we're trying to go backwards in time, actually. Can we reduce the number of counters on this bad boy?
Yeah.
Or like Chalice the Void, or pretty prime examples of that. So there's a Rishadan port in Jim's hand. In Jim's hand. So he will be able to port down Justin if he so chooses. I imagine he will be going after that tomb.
Yeah, just going to start on the controlled plan. Hope to take Justin off 2 mana this turn. Even if he has another Cloud Post, he's only making 2 mana now.
There's a Thought Knot in Justin's hands. I was wondering.
Does have the Vesuva.
I was wondering what the scale was going to look like in Justin's hand. I was wondering if he was going to play some of the lower end threats. It's great that we're talking about Thought Knots here and being like, yeah, this is an early game threat.
Yep, exactly.
These card decks just go so far to the top. So there are quite a few Wondrouse in Jim's hand that are currently locked down.
Yeah, he has a pretty heavy one. No access to crop rotation, no access to gamble. I don't see if he has any explorations, but the Chalice did come down before he had a chance. So
yeah, Chalice on 1 on the play is such a big deal in a lot of matchups.
Yep. Wow, another Ancient Tomb for Justin. He's just all the mana in the world now.
Lots
gonna have 6 active mana.
I think he's got a Glimmer Post in hand too that he could potentially play if he wants to.
This is just new. Whoa, okay, so new card.
Kind of surprised he didn't tap the Vesuva. He tapped the 2
Sure, yeah.
instead, but hey, it's his own.
Maybe he has a follow up. And so he's just, it's all going to add up. Maybe he's getting
something. He's going to find himself a Thorn out of Amethyst, I think.
No, that is it. What is that? What is that?
Quicksilver coating.
Whoa. Is that the Quicksilver coating or liquid metal?
Liquid metal, sorry.
Liquid metal coating? Okay. Holy crap. What does that let him do? Shut off anything with Karn?
It turns something into an artifact.
So yeah, because Karn's ability is static, of course, of course.
Yeah, it's the Stony Silence. I couldn't find it.
LIQ, just see what comes up. LIQ, yeah, no D.
Liquid metal.
Liquid metal. Liquid metal coating here.
So that's a card I'm going to pick up.
Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to type. So this is a slick one. It's
you just
hit
lands with it on upkeep.
Yeah, so people have been combining Karn with Microsleeve Lattice, which is like a 6 or 7 mana spell, and obviously that shuts off everything. But when you can get and play this card in the exact same turn,
now he's finding it.
That is just gross. Oh man, I'm not liking this sequence at all.
Yeah.
You downtick the Karn first to find coding, which gets rid of whatever problematic permanent you need for the time being. Then you untap with your lands and likely have the mana to actually
and if you
cast
don't,
a Lattice.
if you don't have mana for Lattice, you can also just turn something into an artifact and then Karn just gack it.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild. This new Karn is nutty.
Yeah, definitely buying a liquid metal coating before I leave today.
That's a good point.
I've been slowly building my Tron list in Modern.
Certainly new Karn's going to be included there. Huh?
Oh yeah, well I've gotten all my Karns. I'm just trying to figure out what my wish.
Oh no, absolutely. That's what I mean.
Right now I need to pick up an ensnaring bridge, and I like playing with foils, and there are some foils where I look at them it's
not worth it.
I'm just never going to play a deck with this card. How's that sound?
Haha, that's one way to win the game.
I've been foiled.
Well,
I've been foiled by a foil printing. All right, I will look at a liquid metal. I can't imagine this card is worth much. I mean, obviously it's gone up since.
Right.
Since then, yeah. Usually when a card is 69 cents for non-foil, I'm usually. $15 out of stock. Never mind. All right.
Wow, there it goes.
I guess I'm buying a 69-cent liquid metal coating.
Everybody's
They have
on.
one in stock.
Everybody's onto it. Get them. You heard it here first, folks. Get them now. Get them now while you can. I mean, new Karn is $15, but that's probably not going to go much lower for the time being. This card's getting played in every single format. It's pretty crazy.
Fire Bridge is so expensive.
All right. Well, these players are sideboarding in between rounds, and.
Are you buying a liquid metal coating?
No, I bought 2 Karns earlier, and I'm just deciding to buy 2 more right now.
Okay. Do you want to add a liquid metal coating to your order?
I don't
want to add a 60-cent order. There was one left, so.
We'll see it. We'll see if it's still available. All right.
Cool. I hope nobody in chat is stream sniping us and gonna sneak our liquid metal.
You heard it
coating
here
chat.
first. Well, it's in my cart now, so they shouldn't be able to. I did it.
It's been purchased.
I beat you, internet.
We're in.
No, yeah, I picked up 2 Karn because there was a list in Legacy that looked like a lot of fun that was running 2 Karn and 2 Birthing Pod with a 3rd Birthing Pod in the board for the Karn.
In Legacy or Modern?
In Legacy.
Okay, I was oh man, I want to play
Modern.
Birthing Pod in Modern.
No, I wish, man.
That's a good artifact to find with Karn.
I know, right? It's pretty sweet.
Oops. Yeah, find cards on the ban list and put them into your hand.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So there's some cards in Hearthstone that are like, find a legendary minion from the past and put it in your hand. And it just like grabs a random legendary creature.
Whoa, that's kind of wild.
And like sometimes you get Dr. Boom, which is like arguably one of the best creatures ever printed. It's actually been
Absolutely,
heavily outclassed at this point, but when it was printed, it was like by
that
far
was
the
when I
best
played
thing.
the game, and it was I had a tragic story. I don't even remember the specifics, but needless to say, when Dr. Boom first came out, I misread the card, and I dusted it because
Oh.
I thought that I thought the things like were summoned for your opponent or something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like
Or like
I
they dealt
straight
damage
up
to you when they
yeah,
exploded?
something like that. Like I straight up just completely thought it wasn't as busted as it was, and then I realized it was that busted, and that was sad.
Yeah.
But that was years ago.
Yeah, so Jim was on the play this game. He did lead with Grove of the Burnwillows, but no turn one play. Justin had a City of Traders into a Chalice on one, so he does get the Chalice down, but doesn't have a lot of good follow-up as he's going to strip mine himself there.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to strip mine himself after he casts a Thought on Seer.
Sure.
So it looks like we got a K-Grip in response, so Grove of the Burnwillows is going to give Justin a mana, and Ancient Tomb is going to deal 2 damage to Jim, so 3-point life swing on that Corrosive Grip casting. But Chalice of the Void out of the way, Thought Not Seer is connecting. Well, not connecting, but it's seeing, I guess.
Right.
It's thinking. There we go. It's in the tank. Thought Not Seer in the tank. Oh, yeah, we should update the timer. 40 even. Cool.
40 seconds. Yeah, pretty easy to. 4-0 end of round 3. Time is flying here tonight. We
Yeah.
got some pretty solid, eventful rounds of Magic. Did have a little bit of downtime, but even then we were able to discuss.
And it looks
some
like
lovely
Justin's going to
Magic.
take crop rotation here and leave Jim with a Tireless Tracker, which I imagine is going to be what Jim plays here.
Certainly, that's.
I think you got to take the crop rotation there because there's a Thespian stage in Jim's hand, and
Okay.
I think he just has the kill this turn. Well, next turn.
So Justin's basically saying you do get to play this Tireless Tracker game.
Wait, there's another crop rotation in his hand. I didn't even see the second crop rotation. Okay, so Jim should just play the Thespian stage and pass. Okay.
Wait, is
I
that
can kinda get
that's a
behind
Thespian
that.
stage? Okay.
I can get behind that. I can get behind the Wasteland there. That's reasonable.
I think you buy yourself a turn.
Well, it's weird because like Wasteland effects like that, they're kind of tempo equal. Like they're not really tempo positive because both players lose a land. So you're not like time walking your opponent. You're just setting the game back a turn symmetrically.
I see. And so now Jim is going to pass with the setup for 2020.
Yeah, exactly. And Justin's going to play a second Soul Land here tapped.
Ooh, pretty notable that he's going to have a clock, or not a clock, but he's going to live through a single
He's
swing.
going to survive, yeah. I imagine that Jim is holding tracker because he's going to play this crop rotation and make a 20/20 before blockers.
Yep.
This crack is not going to be lethal. Justin is going to be put to 2.
Very
I like
fancy
Justin's
new...
reaction. Justin's like, yep, yeah, go for it. You got it.
Do it. He just uses his big metal
I got
deck
my
box.
own Merit Age. You need it?
Hey. I wish he would just plunk that big metal deck box down as his Merit Lage token.
Here's my 20/20. I wonder what Justin's doing. It feels like Justin was prepared for this. Like he wasn't surprised by this or anything.
Yeah,
so.
he definitely. Maybe he didn't see it when he attacked, but the moment he did, he was like, oh.
Here's what I'm hoping. Justin has another 2 mana, and he's got like a liquid metal coating or something. Or he's got a card-defined liquid metal coating. Oh, that's too slow. Never mind. I don't know. He might just be dead to this 20/20.
If he has
all his dust,
if he has
ooh.
2 mana,
He needs 3 mana. Oh, yeah, he needs 3 mana for that. So.
Yeah, so he's going to 2, and then.
Oh, a port. That's pretty good for Jim.
Yeah, that's super
That
good here.
might
That
be-
pretty much assures him
Yeah.
the
I'll
win.
take 2 to port you.
Yeah. Boop. Yep. It's gonna shut Justin off of most
Ooh, Grim
plays.
Monolith +1, so he's at 4 mana. He's back at parity. Yeah. Gain 3 life.
3 life.
Whew.
Okay.
So another 16 to add another.
Yeah,
turn.
right.
So steps for 3 here. Going to deploy Grim Monolith. 1 mana in the pool afterwards.
Okay.
That's not enough.
Yeah, it's not gonna be enough. He's just got a Karn. Okay.
Can't make a blocker though.
Not
Can't
gonna make a blocker. Yeah.
Can't make a flying blocker. Jim's like, oh, I
New
guess
Ugin notably showing up here though. Nugan. if
that
you
is
will.
reducing the cost of Karn
Yeah.
down to 2.
Wow.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, this is just colorless Super Friends now, huh? All of these Planeswalkers help each other out.
Yeah, game 2, going to Jim there. pretty rock solid application of 2020s to
Yep.
Justin's head.
Yep. I'm gonna take a moment to grab some water real quick.
refill your water. Definitely, good choice. Make sure to stay hydrated, viewers. It is important. We are basically houseplants, so make sure to get your proper amount of water. I don't know what the sweet spot is, but it's more than I drink, so if I had to guess.
You want me to fill you up?
Oh yeah, please. That's a quick pile shuffle from Jim, making sure he gets all his Dark Depths and Thespian stages evenly distributed throughout the deck. Just taking a far more conservative, traditional shuffle. Just mashing. Nothing crazy needed. What Justin needed there is I think he needed Karn to find an ensnaring bridge, I think was his win condition there, which would have been a pretty rock-solid win con. Thanks. Yeah. Pretty rock-solid win condition there. Kind of blocks out the Merit Lage forever. And with the city, or with the Cloudpost lands that Justin had access to, he wasn't having to take damage. There weren't any Ancient Tombs, so he was kind of... would have been okay to sit behind that for a few turns. Ooh, Karakas would have been a good find, too. I don't know if you can find Karakas off Karn, though. I think that's just like a 1 or 2 of in the deck that you just kind of hope to draw. Yeah, I think Justin had to make a land drop to be able to cast the Karn because he had 2 Cloud Posts and a Grim Monolith. So Grim Monolith was +1 there, that gets him to 4. It's just not quite there. So close. I believe so. Justin's going to be on the play here. I don't think he's looked at his 7 yet. Jim looks like he already has and has made his decision. He might have made his decision, but not shown which way Jim's going to be resolving that mulligan yet, though. It's an intelligent way to do it. Let's see. Quick cut. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Justin did mulligan, which tells me Jim kept. Looks like we got a couple... 3 Cloud Posts, a Glimmer Post, Chalice of Void, and I'm not sure what that 6 card is. Well, the second one. Looks like a Scry as well. Where's the Scry going? Looks like staying on top, and Cloud Post passed. And so Justin will be able to play a second Cloud Post on turn 2 and to play that Chalice on 1, which is a pretty good spot to be in. Jim's got an Exploration already and a Wasteland. Ooh, that's a good start for Jim. He is already miles ahead. If he has a Life from him, this is pretty much a hard lock at this point. Finds a Punishing Fire. Oh, there's a second copy of Wasteland. That's pretty good. Oof. All right, got a fetch land as well. If Jim has a Life from home here, the game's over. Justin will just not be able to cast a single spell. Brutal. It's too bad. If Justin had a Soul Land, he would have been able to play a Chalice on 1, and then the Exploration would have not been this egregious. Sometimes that's how these Soul Land decks go. You just don't quite get the tool you need to. I think this is going to be a Sylvan Library. Oh, it is the Loam. All right. I think that's game. I think Justin's just going to go ahead and scoop him up here. So yeah, really fast game.
Let's go look for a backup.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so Justin basically will never be able to have 2 lands in play for the rest of the game. He's just going to get wasted out of the game every turn, and there's not really anything he can do about it. The Exploration's already come down. This Life from the Loam gets around the Chalice. I don't see Justin getting out of this one at all. Like Jim's about to have like Wastelands on Retainer here. He can play both Wastelands, Waste, and then Life from the Loam if he wants to. Just so far ahead already. Just going to use the Loam immediately, getting back the Cycle and the Wasteland. It's probably game. See, yep, Justin has finally given up. Can offer the handshake. All right, so Jim taking that one in 3. Welcome back to the booth, my guys. I'm Josh Monks, joined by the Spectre of Jake McCune. As you can tell, he's currently haunting somewhere else. I believe he's haunting the play area right over there, looking for a backup match so we can get you a little bit more time, a little bit more action on camera. We got a little bit more time this round than we did last round. Having 30 minutes instead of 20 minutes is like pretty drastic in the probability of finding a backup match. When there's 30 minutes, you can like hang around and wait for, 5 minutes or so and be like, oh, these guys are almost done. We'll see what happens. But when there's only 20, it's kind of hard to find that, and people tend to be a little bit more rushed to 20 minutes than they are at 30, so it can be a little bit harder to get somebody to move. But that's how it goes. Yeah, so for any of you guys in chat, are there any spoiled cards that you're kind of excited about, thinking you might see some play? What's the story with the hair? You lose a bet with TNN player. I am a TNN player, and that's why my hair is blue. That's the only reason. No, I just thought I wanted blue hair. And, I've had it now for 6 months, 7 months. It's like early November, and, I like it. So I might do it again. We'll see. Haven't decided. It's one of those things you can kind of decide every few months if you want to get touch type or not. More people should dye their hair is what I'm thinking. Goes very well with a lot of things. I like the color. Let's see. I don't know if Jake's going to find a backup match or not. Looks like he's looking around. Oh, I think he found somebody. Looks like... Oh, I see him with both hands in the air. Fist pumping. Looks like we got Sam Hilljack, and I'm not sure who Sam's playing. I can check that, though. Sam is playing Mark McCarthy. Okay.
Got it. We got Sam Hilljack on the right, and who's his opponent this round?
I never remember how to spell his name.
Mark MacArthur, who is on Elves, and he will be on the left side.
Is Sam on Miracles?
Yes. So yeah, Sam just went up a game.
Okay.
I was kind of like birding them right as they finished to usher them right into the feature booth.
So MacArthur.
What is Vista? Is that the new one? What is Vista?
Not sure. How long till Vista gets banned in Legacy?
The Omni Fetch? Oh, I don't know, man.
I think that card's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like it.
I think that it's definitely the trump of the arms race of Blood Moon effects and Wasteland effects.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite good for those.
Gravy Prime, I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. I think it's just an unfeasible opinion. WotC gets into a really, really weird legal design space if they start allowing proxies and stuff in their events, and I think they just don't really want to expose that at all. And the truth of the matter is I hate the Legacy's unaffordable. I really wish it was more accessible, especially to people of lower income brackets, but I wish there was a way to resolve the reserve list situation that we're kind of in now. I have FBB duels. I hope they tank and are worth $1 tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's a weird dilemma. The best thing that can be done about it at this point is for Legacy communities to kind of put it on themselves to provide accessibility to newer players if they want those newer players to join the community.
I'm gonna see if.
And it really is at that point. It's this isn't a format that gets supported by WotC super hard because it doesn't use a lot of new cards.
It doesn't sell product either.
Yeah, exactly. It puts the onus on the community, and so even though duels are at a very inaccessible price range, I like to think that if there's a Legacy community that wants to thrive, if there's a group of players in the community that can collectively agree they want people to enjoy and play the format, then they can find a way to hopefully share decks, lend out duels, use extra copies of cards to help friends complete things. That type of community action is frankly the best thing you can do for the format at this point as far as providing accessibility to other players.
And it's tough because I think that having a community like that, you can't really make one. That's a community that exists. And the truth is Legacy is a format that you don't draw somebody who just gets into Magic into Legacy. I mean, that happened to me, but I feel like I'm the exception, not the rule.
Same here, right? It's pretty rare, but certain people do get into Magic wanting a very specific type of competitive game, and Legacy scratches that itch super well. And as Jay Winter says, you can proxy outside of events all you want because jamming games of Legacy is just fun, especially if you're not attending weeklies on the regular. If you don't have the community access for that type of thing, then get 4 of your friends together, proxy up a bunch of decks, and just spend the afternoon hanging out with each other, alternating matchups. Yeah. It's totally not a bad way to kill time. Kitchen table, but with a super competitive bent, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot. What's the point I'm trying to make? It's weird because I feel like Legacy in general, there's not really a lot of competitive avenues. There's not a lot of places and opportunities to play Legacy at a very high level.
Yeah, it's true.
We get a couple of GPs every year, and that's about it. And I feel like the only reason why is because Legacy players will he and ha until we do. And I feel like we're entitled to 1 or 2 a year. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a reasonable thing to ask for.
I would say that in the spirit of the game, it would be strange to outright ignore Legacy and even Vintage.
Yeah.
It would just be ahistorical. It would be boneheaded on WotC's point.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, not even to say that they, yeah, it would just be weird.
Definitely. And the truth is there are some legacy decks that are a lot more affordable than others, and there's a lot of legacy decks that kind of build into each other. So while it is a really hefty investment, I think that if you want to be somebody who can play legacy anything you want to, there is a way to slowly do that while playing a new deck every couple months as you slowly build out your collection.
Yes.
Not saying it's cheap and not saying it's affordable and not saying it's feasible, but you know, you got to do it somehow.
I mean, Magic's a hobby that requires some level of monetary input more than a traditional buy it once and you have it game. So on that level, everyone knows the deal of getting into Magic.
Yeah, this is far more like a pastime than it is a card game.
Yeah,
is the way that I look at it. I mean, when people like work on their cards and stuff like that, they're happy to drop a couple grand, you know, when they're like souping up their engine or whatever. Like it's kind of just a drop in the barrel.
Yeah,
and I think
even
that,
building a gaming PC, frankly, you know, these are other avenues of, you know,
I think gaming PCs are going to be a little bit cheaper, but yeah.
It's
at
true.
a point,
Actually,
gaming
that's a
PCs
good
were more
point.
than legacy decks. That's not the case anymore.
That's a good point. I didn't even think that.
Now it's like you get a couple dual lands. You're like, oh, I could have gotten just.
I forgot that. Yeah, you could probably sell like one UC and build a decent gaming rig, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely play Overwatch or Fortnite with something. So it looks like Mark's going to lead with a Dryad Green Sun Zenith once he gets in the red zone. There he goes.
Yep.
Just jumps around. House Pain.
Fetch, shuffle, or fetch, Zenith, and then shuffle.
It's actually fetch, shuffle, Zenith, shuffle.
Shuffle. I love that.
Yep, Green Sun Zenith shuffles twice. It's very important in case your opponent has a Kosi's Trickster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a Mirage Forest. One of the quality ones. I like those. They kind of look like there's a little like Stargate or something going on in the background almost.
Ah.
Maybe it's not that Mirage Land, but one of the Mirage Forests does. Sam's been playing the same islands forever, honestly.
Yep.
Those are Sam's islands. Some
Sam
people,
is, he's very settled. He's very settled into his cards.
All oldest printing. That's his thing.
Oh, like OG printing.
Yeah, well, I think he plays with like
whatever, like the first set it was printed in.
Yeah, I think he plays a lot of beta cards instead of alpha, but you know.
Well,
makes
I mean,
sense.
there's that. Yeah, certainly he's not
reasonable.
playing the beta islands or anything, right?
Yeah. Well, I think islands kind of are the exception.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Vintage is also super fun with a few proxies. I think that Vintage with proxies is a lot more engaging than Legacy with proxies, because I think Vintage is a lot more like play the crazy cards in your hand and then talk about it and then kind of never play that deck again, while Legacy is like get 300 reps in with this deck until you can play it with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back.
Yep.
Which is less fun if you're picking up something you don't have a lot of experience with, which tends to be how proxy events go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mark's going to explode a little bit on the board and pass the turn to Sam. Sam did not find a Terminus. I believe he shuffled with that Ponder, so Mark knows the coast a little bit clear to deploy some threats. I wonder how many points do these guys have?
I don't know if he did. I think he kept cards.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
But I don't know what he was finding. Oh, he doesn't have the EE. Okay.
I do love Engineered Explosives. It's so good on boards like this.
Look at this. Yeah, EE would just be a 2-for-1 against these 1-drops.
3-for-1. Oh, never mind. Sorry. That's not
that's
Visionary,
what
right?
I was thinking. Yeah.
I thought it was another something.
Me too. Pondering again, though, is Sam.
I mean, ultimately, when you're playing Miracles, really your goal is to like find an acceptable Ponder that also has a Terminus on top.
I was about to say, just like,
That's usually the goal.
Draw a card, leave Ponder, or leave Terminus on top. Yeah, it's fast turn,
Yep. Let's see where Mark goes from here.
That might be what we saw. I didn't quite see the results of that Ponder, but he did keep and draw, I believe, so.
Mark still plays land for the turn. Yeah, I was really hoping... Well, I am really hoping that Arena allows kind of an avenue to play some of these Eternal formats, even if it's not like true Legacy, if they're like pseudo Legacy or something like that, where they like print like a Legacy Master set and like some of the cards are in there with the idea of like we're just printing the set to get these cards on here.
I was thinking that might be how they pull it off for any type of pseudo Eternal format on Arena. I think it would also just be cool to frankly have an environment on Arena where you can just cube, and even Phantom Draft cube.
Yeah, and they've done some like fun draft formats on there, but they've been with like standard legal sets.
That's what I mean, though. If they just put Legacy Cube on Arena, and whatever, you paid some diamonds.
All right, so Mark is, getting back to this game.
No, you're good.
Mark is exploding here. He's having his guys cradle 3 mana dorks to get this Crater Hoof Behemoth onto the board. Grayview, we are located in Seattle, Washington. Ballard, beautiful, just off the water.
Yeah, Ballard neighborhood.
It's in the summer, and yeah, honestly, Seattle, if you've never been here during the summer, you should probably come.
Yeah, it's the best time. It's easily the better 3 months out of the year that makes everyone really happy that we live here. It's
So
just
we're gonna
pleasant.
we're gonna see a brainstorm in response to this crater hoof. I imagine Sam's just looking for like a force of will.
Yeah, I think this might be it though.
Yeah, I think not. I
Scoop
think he's
him
just
up.
gonna scoop him up.
That is going to be a tied game here as we go into game 3 for Sam and Mark.
I like to call that ancestral recall.
Nice.
Cast ancestral recall and
Draw
then
3 cards.
Yeah.
Scoop them
lose
all.
the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Draw 3 cards, lose the game.
Draw 3 cards. Draw 57 more cards back into your hand.
Yeah, Seattle is not necessarily the most affordable. Legacy is not the most affordable. There's a whole lot of software developers here. There's a whole lot of software developers here at the Legacy scene. So
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
definitely being cognizant of the lack of intersectionality in this game is important and something that I try to draw awareness to regularly. So
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of folks around here that have other types of jobs but manage to play Legacy as well, it should be said. Just the fact of, we've got a lot of entrenched Magic players in the area too.
I mean, I've been
Honestly,
playing Legacy for almost 10 years. At this
yeah,
point,
some of these
so.
folks got their cards back when they were not even that bad of a splurge, let's say. But as with Seattle Rent, Legacy cards have skyrocketed quite a bit recently.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I remember hemming and hawing over buying Underground Seeds at $40.
Whoa! Yeah. So this is
a long time ago.
That's always so fun for me to hear because that was well before I even played this game. Period. Like I learned this game in 2010 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm always just like, ugh, to be a Magic player back then and to have that access, even if you didn't know what you were doing.
Well,
at the
commons
time.
were worth $0.
Right.
Uncommons were maybe worth $1 if they were played.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so the joke was well, you could buy a standard deck and then have to buy another standard deck, or you could spend double that standard deck and buy a legacy deck and play it for years. And now
Yeah.
it's you could buy that legacy deck and afford college.
Right. There is a cool thing about Legacy where once you have your cards, you almost never have to sell them.
Yep.
And they will likely accrue value.
Yep.
And so, yeah, whereas a format like Standard or even Modern, cards that you have could get banned or decks that you have could go out of the wayside, so to speak, just because of newer printings that impact the formats more, to say nothing of rotations.
Yeah, definitely.
Your investment stays in Legacy more often.
Yeah, so getting back to the game in going on, it looks like Sam led with a land and passed. Mark fired off a Cabal Therapy, named Force of Will, and got a headshot.
Yeah.
Looks like Sam's hand is lands plus is at Staticaster. So Mark is going to have to get through that Staticaster, but Sam needs to find a Brainstorm before his hand has any cards in it even.
Right.
So.
And Mark was able to see it off of the Cabal too, right? So he can play around it accordingly. And certainly the deck can do it, right? They've got the bounce effects in order to just make it not so good of a value card.
Definitely. That being said, Wirewood Symbiote is kind of the
only thing you kill.
I would say a lot of the axes that this deck, a lot of the lines that this deck has access to are basically through Wirewood Symbiote.
Yeah.
And certainly a lot of the evasive lines.
Yeah. Puyallup is definitely a place nearby. There's actually a Modern tournament coming up there.
Yeah, crazy one. Definitely
Yeah.
sign up for that if you guys haven't already.
Yeah,
Looks like Mark is going to deploy Wirewood Symbiote and a land. Dread Arbor specifically. So if you're Sam here, I think you just Staticaster the land, honestly. I think killing Symbiote's a big deal, but I think that strip mining this turn is way better.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have a link for the tourney? We do not. It's called the Summer Con,
Yeah, look
something
up
like that.
Washington State Summer Con.
Yeah.
That is the name of it. It's pretty generic, but
Yeah.
Googling that will get you the website.
Yeah, and it's not detailed very well, but the tournament itself is first place gets one of each revised dual land, all near mint, and then top, I think second place is 2 boxes of Modern Horizons.
2 or 3, yeah.
It's pretty insane prize payout, and the entry is free, but you have to buy a pass for the con either on that day or for both days.
Yep.
So
the entry is really $35.
yeah,
or
it's
something like that.
$35.
That is to say, it goes further than just a Magic tournament entry.
Yeah, it does give you something to do after you scrub out.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see a bunch of people play Modern for duels. It is
weird
it is
overlap of
notably
players.
also the most exciting thing about this upcoming tournament is that it is the day Modern Horizons become legal.
Yeah, it's the first
day after Modern
Yeah,
Horizons
it's the
becomes legal.
first legacy or first Modern tournament.
Yeah.
I think after Modern Horizons.
That'll be interesting.
And then the following week is GP Seattle. So
Oh, wow, just
Yeah, they're like
back
right next
back.
to each other.
Yeah,
It's-
I gotta get my calendar in order, dude.
Yeah.
I've been making. Yeah,
I
it's
was-
all coming. It's all coming up fast.
Yeah, so Mark's going to play the combo, Wirewood Symbiote, Elvish Visionary. Of course, Staticaster says, nice combo. Metal Sentinel, of course, also a great body.
Nice.
Let's see what Sam wants to do here. Looks like it's going to be an AK Sorcery Speed, going to dig a little bit. Of
Sure.
course, Sam has a land, but he might find some, like a cantrip or something like that. Looks like nope, finds fetch, plays a different fetch.
Probably just going right for the symbiote here, or passing first.
I think that either you do it now or you do it on the end step.
he's doing it now. Yeah.
You basically want to set it up so Wirewood Symbiote does not get to bounce Elvish Visionary again.
Yes.
It's kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah. It's gonna
That's
happen.
really
it's
the-
gonna happen once, no matter what.
There's not really a way you can stop it from happening, so you kind of just wait till whenever. Natural Order's a draw for Mark here, so he's certainly got some tooling to win, and he knows that Sam's hand is basically just stone nothing.
Yes.
So he might be pretty excited to go ahead and deploy this Natural Order here pretty soon. Maybe find Archon of Valor's Reach, is that what it's called? Archon of Night's Reach,
Yes.
something like that?
Archon of
Valor.
Valor. I don't know if he's playing it in this deck or not. Certainly, it's in lists, but we don't have quite the player-specific knowledge on Mark that we do on some of the other
Yeah,
players.
interesting. So Mark has an Abrupt Decay, and he's going to
Yeah.
go ahead and use it now. I'm a little surprised he didn't use it before deploying the threats into the Staticaster, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a Mind Sculptor from Sam. I definitely feel like Sam's trying to grab this driver's seat with this sequence.
Yeah, this is just hopefully the key to future Terminus. Oh, speak of the devil.
Speaking of,
Yeah,
there
speak
it
of the
is.
6-mana sorcery.
Yeah, so his miracles I really like when you get to do this, and you have the fetch land up behind the Jace,
Mhm.
but then you also have a Terminus on top of your library. So like you make it look like you're gonna shuffle away these bad cards.
Dreadhorde Arcanist of Valor's Reach is a good one.
Of Hund and of Knight's Reach.
All right, so Mark has a bunch of lands. He's gonna be able to just deploy some creatures, draw some cards against this Jace. Hopefully, get some value that's not going to get swept up by this Terminus.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with a green sun here. X equals 1. Imagine
Okay.
this is gonna get a symbiote,
Yeah.
and then of course, Gaia's Cradle will then tap for 2 mana to get that Elvish Visionary out of Mark's hand. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Shuffle the second time for this turn.
It would be nice if he drew another. Oh, he has played a land for the turn actually, so he
did,
can't
yeah.
double cradle in this turn if he draws it.
We're gonna see an attack at Jace for 2, get him
Yeah.
down to 1 counter. And Guy's Cradle, 2 mana, draws an Elvish, or plays an Elvish Visionary, and untap the Sentinel, and shippy doo. Sam, of course, gonna Miracle of Terminus. What are the chances?
Yeah, we knew that was coming, but Mark, obviously, heads up player, going to be able to at least return this Elvis Visionary back to his hand, keep the chain going.
That's really the goal here. I
Yeah,
think, with
the
deck
other
most
two
of the time.
cards, they don't matter quite as much.
Just pick it
They're
up.
allowed to go bye-bye.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Oh.
Up.
Almost.
Almost.
I'm just saying I was going to correct him. Sam would never let this
Yeah,
happen.
I was about to say, like, Samuel Jack is not gonna. Yeah, he would never.
And Sam still has a Jace activation. Man, untapping with Jace the Mind Sculptor, it's a good feeling.
Oh,
If you've
dude.
never done it before, should try it sometime.
I don't even do it that often, and I know
It's like
I know
heroin.
how powerful it is. It is crazy.
And Sam has a backup Terminus hero still on top of his library. I think this game is probably just locked and loaded at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if Mark has the potential for some sort of explosive go, but this does seem like the point at which Miracles is able to take over, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I know that this is like a much talked about matchup, I should say, between pilots of this deck, these decks. Some people have it drawn up one way or the other. Seems somewhat 50-50-ish.
That was close. Mark played Glimpse of Nature and then deployed his land for the turn, which is not casting, so you will not draw a card off the
Oh, yeah,
Glimpse
for
of Nature
sure.
plus Stride Arbor. This one, though,
Double
2
draw.
cards. Yeah.
It's not so bad.
Boom, boom. Yeah, first one you get for sure. The second one was like, is it resolving now? Or
Yeah. And has played a land for the turn as well,
Correct,
so
yeah,
really
Dread Arbor
is
came
kind of just done here.
Yeah, Mark was certainly hoping to draw another card off of that Elvish, or the Glimpse of
It's
Nature.
an interesting one, yeah. Got a little mixed up on ETB effect there for a second.
Yeah, it's kind of a specific wording. The way that I remember it is so Dryad Arbor can never enter the battlefield with Containment Priest in play because you can't cast it.
Oh, yeah. And Glimpse says when you cast a creature,
Correct.
right? Not when it ETBs,
Correct.
right? Yeah. So, yep. Some cross wires nonetheless.
Yep.
It does happen in this game.
Yeah, sometimes like the flavor of the effect is pretty clear, but
Exactly,
then, like, the
yeah.
paperwork of the effect sometimes
That's a good way to put
requires
it. The
you
paper. Yeah, I like
think
that.
it through.
Well said.
This is a game about taxes, so
I think Sam found it with these baby blue sleeves. They're really perfect for him. I know he had some like Azorius Signet ones earlier, but like this is truly, it's blue with a little splash of white. That is the perfect Sam Railjack sleeve.
Exactly. It's certainly back to basics sleeves. Is the way
Yeah, that's what
when
it
I see
is.
those sleeves, I'm thinking back to basics.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're brainstorming first.
Yeah,
Oh no, we're brainstorming with
pondered
Jace.
and then brainstormed.
Yeah, brainstormed with Jace.
I like doing it in the other order, but you know,
Okay,
it's kind of
okay.
whatever goes. You can shuffle off the ponder, so you kind of
Sure.
get a shuffle effect for the. All right, so back to
basics.
coming down. 4 basics tap for Sam, 2 non-basics tap for
and
Mark.
this is a pretty big backbreaker here for Mark.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning that Jace is unprotected. Will probably get clocked here for lethal.
Yes, true. But worth it, I think, for Sam. Ultimately, he's saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, he's got the mentor in hand too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
this is
spend resources on this Mind Sculptor.
Yeah,
during your
Jace
turn,
has done
please.
his job. We're entering the end game now.
Exactly, yeah. Who are you again? Yeah, so let's see.
Do some attacks.
So if Mark attacks with the Dryad Arbor, it'll stay tapped forever. But if Mark just attacks with the Elvish Visionary and Sam has a swords, the game is over.
What a bad. Yeah, I
So-
know. I feel like you you kind of have to go for that.
Yeah.
You kind of have to tap the Dryad Arbor. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel great, but.
Miracles is really good at giving you these scenarios where it feels very much damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh yeah. There's also the chance that you'll be able to bounce it and recast it, which is like honestly a good way to play around back
Non-zero,
to
yeah.
basics. Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning that
but he's going for it here.
Yeah, I like it. Just a soft attack. Honestly, that's what I would do here
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Whoop. Oh, brainstorm. Okay.
Well, I mean, I think
don't-
Sam realizes.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, I don't know. Is it worth it to save a Jace for this? Like, you gotta tap both of your duels for this. You're basically strip mining yourself twice.
Interesting.
I guess you're using 2 Lotus Petals to.
Yeah. I think he feels confident untapping with 4 lands to Mark's 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, with a fetch in hand as well, so.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think Sam's probably got this game won no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mark's going to continue to play it out, though, as it is game 3. Might as well.
This is
Got
round 3,
9
right?
minutes on the clock. Yeah, this is round 3. We got one more round tonight.
That's what I
Thank you
thought.
guys for joining us. If you
I couldn't remember if this was 2 or 3. I mean,
if you are just entering, no,
that's
time
been going really fast.
time flies when you're in the booth, but
God, we've been here like 3 hours already.
all of these rounds blur together. Yeah, we've had some good matches on tonight. Had a little about maybe 10 minutes of downtime earlier, but other than that,
Yeah, I think
some
the downtime
solid,
is pretty
some solid
active too.
stuff. Yeah, no,
Sometimes
absolutely.
the downtime is boring, but sometimes sometimes you're just passing the time, and sometimes you're actually doing stuff during
Yeah,
the downtime.
yeah.
So
All right, well, 5 basic lands with Sam Railjack in play and a mentor usually spells doom for.
I mean, I think this game
the
was
opponent.
lost when the first Terminus got casted.
Yep,
I don't think
that's
that
fair.
you need to scoop at that point, but it's weird because I feel like Miracles often is like non-deterministically locking you out of the game, but
Okay.
like they have to like grind you out of the game. So
Yeah,
they're just
I feel
gonna.
what you're saying.
Their resource acquisition is so much better than yours that it's like impossible for them not to win that grind.
Sure.
Like the draw sequencing has to be so bad for Miracles for them not to be able to beat you drawing 1 card a turn.
It's absolutely true. Yeah, they have quite a few ways to find what they need.
So it's not like it's a deterministic combo kill, but like if you're spending a lot of time spinning your wheels in scenarios like this, like
Yep.
it gets risky fast.
Often with Miracles, if the first Terminus is like a 3-for-1, it's just like there is not a lot of coming back after that, right?
Yeah, so AK for 2 cards and a monk there, pretty rock solid. Yeah, and I mean Sam just wants to pretty much go to Cantrip City here.
Yep.
He's got the Jace activation.
Yeah, Jace activation is just going to set up for what was probably going to be like the perfect rip of cards. He did find a Narset off the Jace, so that might start things off. Notable that it does trigger prowess. Wow, I hate that.
Tessier said goodbye, shows up 20 minutes later.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Trying to get,
what happened to playing?
Darkness.
Oh,
Oh yeah?
I'm waiting around for him.
Yeah.
Sounds
you get any
sweet.
liquid metal coatings?
I got liquid metal coating today.
Yeah.
Oh, put it up.
yeah, we saw. Oh, we didn't see Mike get liquid metal coating. We saw someone else. All right, more tokens coming down for Sam.
He got
He's got
coated
my man got the Goku tokens.
Yeah, dude.
The best monk.
Son Goku.
Traeger.
Yeah.
Wow. Goodness gracious.
I love Spyglass. I think that card is underrated. It's so irrelevant at this point.
Oh,
but-
it's super. It's a great card, but yeah.
Wirewood Symbiote. I'll name Wirewood Symbiote.
Honestly, the fact that prowess triggers off of everything is so busted.
Not everything.
Well, non-creature. Oh.
Do you like me some foils?
I don't even know what that card does.
Hazer Rage?
Yeah.
I think it's somebody who was talking about comboing a Dreadhorde Arcanist, so let's find out.
So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Sam's got some beefy monks right now. To say nothing of the army he's building for next turn.
Oh, that's what it is.
Crack for 5, crack for 4.
Yep. Imagine Sam just has lethal next turn without doing any math here.
Exactly, yeah.
So Haze of Rage is Storm, gives all your creatures +1/+0 till end of turn.
You know, he actually is out of... No, he has 1 Snapcaster Mage. Okay. So he does have lethal next turn. But not through blocks, I don't think. Unless he gets cute with Force of Will stuff, actually.
So he's got 5 here, so 3 are getting 3.
His
so he
hand
needs-
is 3 Force of Will Snapcaster.
Yeah.
So, it's
So
an
he basically
interesting
needs
setup.
like 3 prowess triggers next turn
Yeah,
for
yeah,
lethal,
yeah.
or 2 if he plays the
Yeah.
snap.
So yeah, he could snap, prowess trigger, force, prowess trigger, hardcast force, prowess trigger.
Definitely.
Which is pretty crazy. Oh, counterspell in hand as well.
Also Jace activation next turn. Like finding his swords there,
I
just
mean,
like
yeah.
immediately removes all.
And he's just
math.
snap counterspelling anything here, I'd imagine.
He's only got 2 mana up, right?
Right.
So he's counterspelling this turn. Is that true?
I think so.
I think you want to
Did I
interact
miss
with
it?
the
No,
spell.
he has it.
Doesn't he only have 2 mana up?
Yeah.
How do you snap counterspell then?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean like Snapcaster counterspell.
Oh, you just mean,
I
like,
meant
snap
like
it off?
snap
Okay,
it
yeah.
off to mark spells just to make a token.
Gotcha,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Language is funny.
Yeah, I've definitely watched my wording with that because I used to say
Absolutely,
that all the time.
good call, yeah,
Snapcaster's
yeah.
like, hey,
This is the first time that's happened to me, but I'm surprised that hasn't.
It's probably
come
the
up.
first time it's happened when there's been a Snapcaster relevant in the Snapcaster
That's what I mean.
game.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's super funny. All right.
Oh,
well,
we got mana.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, we
didn't
got
see
the
that one
thing.
coming.
Yeah. I don't know how he's untapping the. How is he untapping the forest?
Not with any of those creatures.
Yeah, but he is making 3,
Yeah.
and not making any more than that.
What?
Is he trying to do something with?
I don't know.
What? Where did we untap
Oh, so I
our-
think he's just the wording
Sequencing?
wasn't clear, but I think
Yeah.
he wanted to make 3 mana with the Heritage Druid and
Yeah.
then play the Birchlow Rangers with
Got
untapped
it.
Metal Sentinel, and then there's 2 mana or
Got
another
it.
mana.
And Sam does have the Force of Will, as
Yes.
we discussed earlier, so that's going to make it 2-1 in Sam's favor.
Oh, welcome back to the booth, guys. So that was round 3 here at twitch.tv/Card Kingdom. I'm your host, Josh Monks, Jake McCune.
Hey, everybody.
We just got a few minutes left in the round.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten an opportunity to talk about the war cards that we were interested
Oh my
in.
god.
We ran out of time.
So many war cards that are, still new cards, everybody. Like, hold it on the spoilers, even us.
Yeah, we're still reading these ones. Hold on.
No, it's crazy. So quietly over the past, 3 weeks or so, Narset has now become a huge player in the Legacy
Yep.
format.
Did see that coming.
Yeah, absolutely. It powered
That and Teferi. Definitely saw them both.
Yeah. I think in the initial assessment, people lean towards New Teferi a lot harder.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. I certainly did.
But certainly early on in the conversation, I did see people go, actually, Narset. And then more people started going, oh, Narset. And then people started saying, it feels like dig through time. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah. Oh, it kind of is dig through time.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, so you look at 4 cards and pick 1, and then you look at 4 more cards and you pick 1. And that's kind of like looking at 8 cards and picking 2.
Yeah. Certainly gets into that space. When you're talking about that, like that's kind of all you can do in Magic. Because you're like, it's close to this effect. It's not quite. It's certainly worse.
Yeah,
but
and it's certainly not as busted, but it is allowing for a consistency that is somewhat in line with what Dig Through Time allowed in the format for decks like Miracles. I've been wondering if there's going to be a sort of a mono blue Omnitel shell coming out of this.
I think it's going to probably be blue white with
New Teferi, because that would probably be good within that shell as well. To say nothing of the Karn, the new Karns that have popped up, the Blast Zones that have come into lands, the Pig, which is now a mono red staple.
Yeah,
so
I really
in
wanna see
one
that deck
set,
round 4, by the way.
we've actually had multiple archetypes in Legacy get new cards, which is almost unheard of.
What? Oh, yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, that
That's
makes
what I
more
was-
sense.
okay.
Yeah.
Hit the first thing, he was like, oh, that's what it does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
little bit lucky that my opponent understand. Kind of assumed,
Yeah,
shortcutted
the
a card.
super specific and narrow sideboard card
Yeah.
for that matchup. Yeah.
There's Sam Hurljack saying that his opponent sort of misunderstood how the Staticaster worked there, comparing it to an older Goblin Electromancer
Yeah.
card.
4 lands, yeah.
So that bought him a little bit of an edge.
If I don't need to use it, I have Staticaster. Take the game.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, so Teferi, Narset, Karn. Any other cards seen play?
So Blast Zone,
Oh, yeah, Blast
Teferi,
Zone, yeah.
Karn, Narset, Boar God. That's at least 5,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Accepted.
And spread out amongst different archetypes too, right?
I can't remember what this art is. So I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, I remember it. Okay, yeah.
Creatures.
I think
That's
this
cool.
card was an enchantment way back in the
I
day.
wonder
I didn't really
if
get...
he's picking that up for.
Well, so Dreadhorde Arcanist. So you play it on Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then you attack and cast it off Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Oh.
Because it gives it at least +1 power.
I see.
This card combos with Dreadhorde Arcanist, which occurs when it attacks, not when it deals combat damage. It's something that I learned today.
So you pump your Dreadhorde up to a 2, and then you attack.
Well, let's just say, worst case scenario is you play that with the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then you go to attack and play it twice because it storms off.
But the fact that it storms just means that you could just go.
The dream is that you play Ponder and or you play Swift Spear and Ponder and Brainstorm, and then play Haze of Rage, and then go to combat, and then play Haze of Rage again.
Oh yeah.
Because that'll be lethal, I think. Pretty much straight up. It is worth mentioning that Storm does not trigger Prowess. Prowess triggers the same way Storm does, and Storm doesn't self-trigger, so Storm doesn't Prowess trigger.
Is anyone playing the Boar God deck? Someone is in the room
and
today.
I want to get it on camera, so that's my hopeful round 4 match.
And if we even manage to not do that, I will let you know that if you look at the VOD right now on our page for last week, you will find some matches of the Boar God getting cheated into play. So check that out. Just last week's Legacy.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't remember which round. You just scroll through it and find,
You'll have to watch the whole thing, I guess. No skips.
Oh, woof.
It's the only thing you can do with something like that.
Ha ha ha. That's how I get it. It's a boring deck. I mean, you're not actually wrong. That deck is very straightforward. Straightforward. It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
And it does
makes its own path through the underground.
If anything, now it goes a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Because the Boar God
a little bit more
is
explosive.
in there. Yeah.
I think what it is there's some scenarios where doing the same thing with a Gristlebrand or an Emrakul isn't quite lethal, and now this will.
And now it super is. Yeah, exactly. It feels like it accelerates the deck by about a turn.
Yeah, that's probably a good estimate.
My stealth water drinking cup experience there.
Yeah, reverse dominant is what I like to call that.
Gotta stay hydrated, everybody. Gotta drink that water.
Not gonna lie, Stay Hydrated bot, pretty cool little thing you should add to your stream if you stream. I'm certainly.
Oh, I've seen that. It's pretty fun. That's pretty cute.
Borignos. I like it. I wish I was better at puns. I'm pretty decent at puns when I'm just shitposting, but when I'm live and talking in front of a camera, it is so hard to come up with that stuff on the fly.
Yeah, you can't try.
You also don't have Google in front of you, which is the other thing. And if you're saying stuff, it's really hard to think about other things. Gorilla Shirt is derp. Thank you so much. The thing I like most about it is that it's a subtle Harambe reference, but not an overt one.
Well, there you go.
The name of the shirt is Watching from Beyond or something like that, and there's nothing in the description that talks about Harambe. But I know.
I think anything with gorillas now is a bit of a subtle homage, whether it means to be or not.
Yeah, exactly. I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
You better be prepared for your shirt to assume that it's a Harambe shirt if it's got gorillas on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're getting close to round.
Yeah, we're certainly in time. I think there's probably only 1 or 2 matches left. I see most people kind of standing up, hanging around. So we don't get to see the whole room from where we're sitting, which is really just a poor architectural decision.
Yeah.
They only built the structure 5 years before we started streaming or something.
Yeah,
like that,
not a store built for a stream. We definitely have a decent setup for what we got.
Yeah. For
every DMT or blind name SSG with Revoker, if you wear that.
Yeah, most people name Jace versus me. Somebody in chat once said that I think it was right after I won the 1K playing Grixis, and someone's like, "I'm pretty sure Josh's blue hair just gives him an unfair advantage when he plays mid-range blue decks." So I think everybody's caught on to that. Now everybody names Jace. Even if they might not know what deck I'm playing, they might just see 2 fetch lands and be like, Mind Sculptor. Feeling Sculpty today.
I mean, if you have Revoker against a blue deck, deck that is not a combo deck. Jace is usually a pretty solidly up there on the list.
Until I play Narset on the next turn, right? That's where it gets clunky.
Narset. Yeah, and that's not even a card that's worth naming that much, unless you snipe it from their hand, unless you get ahead of it,
if you have prior info, I think it's great. If your opponent already has one in play, but in the dark, I don't think I'd name Narset ever.
Yeah, well said.
I think there might be a case to be made, like if your opponent goes like land go, and you're on the draw on turn 2, you're like.
I will say on a couple weeks ago, there was a game where I was sitting there with the Revoker in that scenario.
Yeah.
And I went, Narset? And then I went, no, Jace. And my opponent slammed a Narset. And I was like, dang it.
Thank you.
I was like, I should have been gutsy. All right. Where is
Table 10?
Is he out of there? Oh, is he in there?
He's still here.
Cool.
And when
I thought it'd be a pretty quick one, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like we get shot on camera like every single week playing Bomberman.
We do. Is that the matchup?
Yeah, is that something that would be interesting? That versus Moon Stompy?
That seems like he just plays Chalice on 0, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess he's not necessarily. No, he has a Chalice deck, but he's not like the Stompy variant.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely. I think there's more interesting matches to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe like Aiden and Taylor, or.
All right, I actually want to see which Schmaltz is playing. We've got this deck
let's
that
go for it.
Our spotter literally, he's like, what deck is this? And then named off a bunch of cards. So table 4.
Let's check it out. Let's see if they want to get on camera. Yeah.
Turns and burns.
Turns and burns?
Turns
cool.
and burns?
Yeah, so
let's do it.
that's what we're watching. So you got Grixis versus Turns and Burns.
I hope they're down to play.
Yeah, so I think what our spotter wrote, I'm not sure what this is. He said Teamer, Pyromancer Ascension, I saw Temporal Mastery.
Ooh.
I do think he was also playing Shocklands, which I assume is more of a budget decision than a metagame decision.
Sure.
I really need to have less life than I do right now. Yeah, so we're getting round 4 set up for you guys. Hopefully you're excited for one more match of Legacy. I certainly am.
Oh, well.
Okay. In that
I feel
case,
like Aiden's been declining to be on camera recently. I wasn't sure if that was him earlier.
Is that okay? Yeah, let's do table 10. We'll get that back up.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're getting the boar deck on camera. It looks like it's boar versus Bomberman, which is one of those decks I feel like we get on camera all the time.
We managed to get Bomberman quite a bit for only being Sean playing that deck.
Yeah, it's...
Are they out? Oh, okay.
Crap. All right.
Justin
we've gotten like
Chase.
everybody else on camera.
Yeah, we've already gotten Daniel on camera. We have not had Gregor at. No, we've got Greg. Kelvin Connor.
Yeah, let's do table 8.
Yeah, see if they want to do it. Kelvin usually is down.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's playing Miracles tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Wow, yeah, he is. And his opponent's playing Storm.
Oh.
With the fairy in it. What the hell? Storm feat to fairy. All right.
Wow. Storm with the fairy, is that what it says?
Yep, Storm feat to fairy.
Wow.
FT.
Wow.
It's got the features.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I was really excited to get that. One of those sweet decks on camera, either the Turn and Burn deck or the board deck. But hey,
yeah, we do not force people to be on camera here if they want to go home. Or
I
if
actively
they
don't want to put someone on camera that doesn't want to be on camera. I'll be even more clear. It's not that we're like, well, we'll let you choose. It's like, please don't be on camera if you don't want to.
I
it can be a stressful
actively
experience.
do.
Yeah.
I just know it's rude. So I'm,
I love being on camera, and I want to be like, hey, you should put me on camera unless there's somebody you want to put on camera.
Nice.
But yeah, some people don't want to play on camera. It's certainly a little bit more stressful, and it's a different experience. So
yeah, it is. It's not. Yeah, it's certainly just
I like it.
A little bit more of the attention the room is paid on you when the matches when their matches are over. To say nothing of thinking about like what people are watching.
Twitch chat can sometimes be kind of rude and condescending to people who play, so I understand where they're coming from. Not calling you out, Twitch chat. I'm just trying to draw some awareness. That's all. I think this table is probably accepting. Our judge will come back and told us no. So.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, good call.
So we got Kelvin on the left. Oh.
Good to go.
Kelvin Wallace on Miracoles.
Kelvin is not a traditional Miracles player, so I feel like this is definitely him being like...
He's a Storm player, and I saw him today with 4 Nimble Mongooses in his hand. So I was thinking maybe he'd be on Rug Delver, but I'm pretty sure he's picking them up from Modern.
Yeah, I know, right? Everybody's about to give it a shot. I don't think that deck can work in Modern without the cantrips.
Yeah.
But, you can actually... Maybe they'll try a Faithless Looting shell. Faithless Looting and then fill up your yard for those geese.
Yeah.
And then actually have... Oh no, there's not a lot of synergy there with Phoenixes because they will reduce your threshold.
There's still, I'm pretty sure you can find a
probably do it.
A couple Graveyard Matters interactions there.
That's true. That's true.
And walk to the finish line somehow.
Yep, definitely.
Kelvin led with a preordain. Looks like Connor's leaving with... Oh, there we go. Oh, I just hadn't updated it yet. Problem solved.
Ah, yeah, there we go.
When there's an Ophidian in play, every deck draws a card a turn. Tough to work without Days in Wasteland. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do think
a different kind of deck almost.
Yeah, I think that like the questions you're trying to answer are a little bit different in
Yes.
Modern than Legacy too. So I'm saying
Yeah.
Days and Waste certainly make it tougher, but it's not like it's totally
Yeah.
impossible.
So yeah, I was about to
Don't have
say
to
if
ponder
you're
here.
if you're the Storm deck, are you maybe just not even caring about these other 2 creature cards?
Probably you're gonna say, hey, I think my clock is gonna be low enough that these creatures are not gonna be relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Connor
being
may be looking to go off this very next turn against an unknown safe hand.
Yep, definitely.
Safe opponent.
Yeah, in Stoneforge I don't disagree, but I also think that 1 mana 3/3s are pretty sweet.
Yep, I agree.
You don't have to do a lot of finagling for that. So
I
except you gotta,
miss Wild Nicketal being good.
yeah. Got a Brainstorm from Connor here. He's got so many cards in his hand, including Past in Flames, Double Cabal Ritual, and lands, it looks like.
It really
so.
does seem like he is. He's got his pick of the litter. Gonna
Looks
find
like
a
2 lands go back. I imagine it's going to be a quick fetch land crack here. Oh, no, just going to ship it.
Ooh, only an island for Kelvin. Not a great draw.
Yeah, I believe he's got a Scalding Tarn, though, so at least he can get a Tundra, find this Mentor, get it into play.
Yeah.
Find a way to get a body. And so, like, really the clock is the first part of beating Storm, and I think that's one of the reasons why Storm is actually positioned pretty well versus Miracles, is because Miracles is pretty bad at saying, okay, I'm going to turn the clock now, I'm going to be the beatdown.
Yeah.
It doesn't-
Even this is going to take at least 2 more turns,
Yeah,
right?
it does not pivot well.
Kevlin Wallace.
Oops.
I just noticed. I'm gonna call him Kevlin every time I see him, and just wait for him to ask me, or
Yeah.
just call me out
I don't
on
think
it.
he'll ever correct you. I
That's
think
what I'm
he
saying.
would not care anywhere close to enough. Even if he knows you're
We'll
just
see.
moving.
We'll
Yeah.
see, Kevlin.
I think he doesn't like it if you call it Kevin. If you call him Kevin,
I mean,
think
that's
what it
fair.
is.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
that's
sure
when he's like,
that's-
dude, just there's
Yeah,
no. But if you're like,
yeah.
I don't understand how order works, then at least you got a little bit of ground to stand on.
Oof, another thought.
Thoughts off the top for Connor. Yeah.
And it's not even going to be that much of a I think.
Yeah,
his
I don't think
brainstorming
it's a
said,
priority to even cast
Probably going to
here.
just go back.
Yeah, Kelvin hasn't played a cantrip yet, though, so Connor knows the contents of his hand. There's one piece of
Good point.
mystery meat, so
Yeah.
Thoughtseize is not very exciting. So it looks like we're adding a ritual and a lotus here, or 2 rituals and a lotus here off this brainstorm. So Connor's got 3, 4, 5,
He's got
6, 7, 8,
ton
9,
of
10, 11,
mana.
12 mana right now, assuming he casts the Cabal rituals with Threshold, which I think he can hit here.
Yeah, and I actually don't think he has any payoff.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's missing the payoff. I think he's got Past in Flames, but Past in Flames for cantrips is not super exciting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we got a cantrip here, Snap Preordain, which is Snap Ponder, which is not the most exciting for Kelvin here. He's looking down the barrel of a gun.
Definitely.
What's also clunky here is that Connor does have that Thoughtseize, so he is going to be able to tool a little bit here.
Kelvin finds a Force of Will,
I think
but
it's-
no blue card.
Yeah, Force of Will missing a blue card.
Yeah.
Land go? Yeah. So.
Well, he will be able. I guess he
technically-
will be able to hard cast it next turn then. So that's why he.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he actually. Oh, he's land in hand. I think. Yeah.
Because the rest of the cards did not look good off of that pawn.
Yeah, I think it was a land and a white spell. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking it starts the Plowshares.
He's gonna fetch it away probably.
Yeah.
And then be able to hard cast Force.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he'd hold on to it. I wasn't sure if he had another land in hand because there's a land on top of his library right now. So
Yeah.
I think he will be fetching it away though. Yeah, Kelvin has certainly sat across from this many, many times, or sat in the driver's seat of this matchup
Totally.
many times. So now he knows what it feels like from the other side. It's like, oh, this isn't looking good. You got a lot of cantrips going on over there.
Yeah.
This is sometimes how I feel when I play Miracles vs. Storm. I'm like, man, what if I had this many cantrips in my deck? What happens if I played Brainstorm twice this game?
Every single turn, yeah. Well, there's the tutor. So that does seem like a good way for Connor to get started right now. This might
Yeah.
just be it.
Imagine he's going to start with the... I'd actually play the Lotus Petal here and then cast Dark Ritual off the Underground,
Okay.
just in case. Maybe it's better to do it this way. Oh, he's got the Pokemon energies ready to
I
go.
like it.
Storm's at 1 off that Ponder. Storm's at 2 off this Ritual.
All right.
Here comes Thoughtseize, I imagine. Yep. There's the Seas. Here's my hand. Force of Will Terminus land. Would you like the Terminus?
Not so
Dang it.
much.
Dang it.
And we have the rocks. We have the. I think he can just get. Is he going to get up to natural storm here? Does he even need? Storm is 6. So storm is 7. Yeah, he can just find tendrils right away here.
Yeah, I think so.
Nothing cute.
Yep. Yep. Kelvin's like, oh, that's an Infernal Tutor? Cool.
Yeah.
Crack on my LEDs.
What are they going with this? Yeah, okay. Show me the tendrils.
Kelvin knows
There
he's
it
dead.
is. Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, all right, I'm
He's
dead.
like,
I'm
just
going to
show
shuffle
me,
him up.
Show me the cards in your library and we're good to go.
Show me you're not going to get a deck reg error for
Right,
forgetting
yeah.
the tendrils.
Yeah.
All
Alright, that's game 1 for Connor.
Yeah.
Calvin gets obviously a little bit more, but even post sideboard, what is this? Where does this go for Miracles?
I think I said this earlier, but I feel like control decks tend to get better post board.
Sure.
And I think that Storm doesn't really improve much post board.
Sure.
That being said, I don't think that all of a sudden this is an insane matchup. You just get a little bit more tuned. You lose some of your clunky removal spells, which Kelvin had access to, I think, 2 of that game. One
That's a good point.
in hand and one on top of his library that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
potentially got rid of.
Yeah,
So, like, I think the matchup definitely gets better for Miracles compared to Storm. Like, if I was playing this matchup 100 times, I would much rather they be post-board games than
Sure.
pre-board games.
Check out this Mentor in Connor's board. That's a pretty cool
Yeah,
one
I've
for
actually
Storm.
seen some people do that. And
interesting.
I will say on the deck list, or on the spotters list of what all the players are playing, Connor's mentioned Storm Feet to Fairy. So,
sure.
like, I think it
White
definitely has a white
splashes.
splash.
Yeah.
And I've seen some Storm decks play Dark Rituals and Young Pyromancers post-board. As sure, I'm not going to be able to storm you for lethal, but I'll just grind you out. Like, I'll play like a crappy Delver deck.
Yeah. No, I like it. Like it a lot.
So, Teferi's also coming in, which I guess makes sense. I mean, this is certainly a matchup where you're like, I would like a defense grid, please.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a pretty rock solid defense grid, all things considered.
Yeah, New Teferi does a lot. Basically like bouncing a permanent, drawing a card, shutting off spells. Honestly, the least impressive thing it does is give your
plus
your
is almost
sorceries.
irrelevant.
The
Honestly.
plus
Like,
is
it
super
basically
irrelevant.
doesn't have text.
Yeah, but everything else is just a very nice package.
Definitely.
The plus is beneficial in that it lets you minus again.
Yeah. If you plus 3 times, then you get to minus. Yeah. The card definitely feels at its best when it's like seriously attacking your opponent's tempo, and like, that's the liability for them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really the sweet spot of that card.
It has the added ability, especially in a deck like Storm, to bounce a permanent of your own, draw a card, and rebuild and basically recast for Storm. Yeah. I'm sure that might come up.
I also think that Storm is one of the decks that could say, oh, I could really win if I could deal with this one enchantment or artifact for one turn.
Absolutely.
Or creature for one turn.
Yeah, this absolutely sets up for that kind of thing.
Whereas Miracles tends really not to be like that. It's like, I can bounce this, but he's just going to recast it next turn.
Totally.
Especially cards like Choke and stuff like that. It's like, does not matter if you tap out to bounce their Choke with Teferi. So they're just going to recast it next turn. But if you can untap with it, then you can go an entire turn cycle and bounce on the second turn and you play it Teferi, which is a little bit better.
I freaking love Connor's mat here. Is that from a specific Magic card?
Yeah, it is. Okay. It's one of the Outlaws creatures, I think.
Oh my god.
Not 100%.
No, you're right. That's totally Con's theme. Giant bird.
Oh, okay. So
Massive
Connor is
bird.
playing Kelvin's deck, and I think Kelvin is playing Connor's deck.
That's hilarious.
Gotcha.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, you met. Oh, Connor, you doesn't know. Oh, even that helps though. Look at that. Look at the arm. Look at all the diffusion that arm provides us.
Yeah, getting some shadows
Amazing.
on there. Yeah, I can't read the stuff in parentheses.
It says, put it down there. I will something. I can't tell ya at all. Amazing, folks.
It's gone. The secret message is gone. We did not manage to decipher that code.
I appreciate A+ for effort though, Connor.
I like when people send us notes in the booth. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Makes me feel thought about.
it's nice to feel seen.
Yeah. I feel seen and not heard.
Yeah, there you go.
I like writing little notes for myself.
Oh, that's sweet. It's like the Simpsons where he leaves himself dear Homer, I owe you one donut. Past Homer, signed past Homer. Darn, you passed Homer.
When you started going down this road, I thought you were going to talk about the episode where he starts smoking weed, and he, at the very end, he like has a joint with him, and Marge's like, "Why do you have that? What are you doing with that?" He's like, "I keep it as a reminder," and then he pulls it out, and then it's got Dentist Appointment Tuesday
I
written on
haven't
it.
seen that. That's good.
The episode where he does a bunch of medicinal marijuana for his eyes. It's the episode where I can't remember, the bus driver Otto is like, "They call him Fingers, but I ain't never seen him Fing." Oh wait, there they go.
I gotta go back. I gotta go back to The Simpsons.
It's classic. It's old too. It's a really old episode.
Well, at this point, yeah.
I mean that episode.
Oh, that
is-
episode. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That is not a recent episode. That was an episode I watched as a kid, far before marijuana was legal
Connor
medicinally.
with the shiny island here.
Yeah, unhinged. Well, it's Kelvin with the unhinged island, right?
You're right, Kelvin with the shiny island.
I
here,
do love
yeah.
me some unhinged lands.
Yeah, they're still my favorite as well. I picked up another unhinged plane today because I only had one, and I need two.
Looks like we got a Pyroblast on the Preordain. No cantrips for you, says Kelvin. We got a Ponder. Finds a Narset. Finds some lands. Definitely able to cast this Narset.
Yep.
Kelvin has a couple lands in hand. So the proper way to stack this is make sure that you get one of those lands, but then you want to dig past the second land with the Narset.
Sure.
That being said, I probably would have kept the Tundra instead of the island. I'm just like not afraid of back to basics. So. It's not like it's a big thing, but it's certainly non-zero. All right, so we got a Lotus Petal from Connor here, immediately getting cracked. Ooh.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yo, that's a hot cast, and it definitely is going to force the
Force pitch Flusterstorm? Oh man, Connor's got so much. Connor's got so much equity off of that.
Yeah.
That being said, Kelvin's going to resolve his 3-mana Planeswalker for more of this part.
Right?
The other 3-mana Planeswalker.
This might let him keep pace with Connor now after 2 for wanting himself.
Does Connor have cantrips? He's got a Preordain in his hand, so there's already one piece of action that this Narset is just straight up blanking.
Oh, you're right.
Dark Ritual, Infernal Tear. Oh, you know what? So the Preordain not drawing a card here actually means that Connor can get Hellbent.
Oh, wow. So it's just Scry 2 here, right?
Yeah. Scry 2. Scry 2, you're done.
That's so good. All right, so
Kelvin's excited.
yeah, clearly.
I was excited for that Teferi to come down.
That's sweet.
I ain't
man.
gonna lie. Left field right there.
Definitely crazy times for these new cards.
And land and pass. Okay, so yeah, I believe there was a Brainstorm and a Thoughtseize. Is that what the two cards were? I probably would have gotten rid of the Brainstorm. Like, I'm not really trying to draw that right now.
Yeah.
Not the card. So Counterbalance found off this. I imagine that's what you take. That or Flusterstorm, I feel. They're both pretty reasonable here. I think you want to leave up that counter spell that you revealed last turn, so...
Okay.
HC Fox, he actually did put Mentor into his deck from his sideboard. That and,
he put it in for sure? Okay, I just saw it in the board. Nice. Just one Mentor. That's exactly what he has.
Yeah, I think he just put in one Mentor.
Yeah.
Right, so we got a Preordain
You memed
here
it
from
into
Kevin.
reality, Fox.
Jason Swords, so I think you want to leave a 1 on top here. Maybe you want to leave a 2 on top, in which case you get rid of the 1. Yeah, okay, so he's going to double top, leaving his swords on top of his library to counter any 1s with that counterbalance, and then has a Jace to follow up next turn.
Ooh.
Which heads up play is Connor's going to Thoughtseize directly into it. Oof!
Nice.
Oof! That's what that sounds like.
Yeah, that's an oofta.
Oof da da, oof da.
All right, so Kelvin firmly getting into the driver's seat
Definitely
here.
winning this game,
Yep,
pretty sure.
yep. Might just be going to a game 3 real
So,
quick.
I'm wondering if Kelvin is borrowing Connor's deck.
That's what
or
I
if
was wondering,
It's coming
yeah.
from somewhere else because I don't think I've seen I don't think Kelvin owns Miracle's cards. Like, I mean, obviously he's got the
Certainly,
lands, but
yeah. Certainly, he has not played the deck that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen him sitting down and playing that deck.
So it looks like I think he's got Engineered Explosives and Swords on top of his library right now. Swords
Okay.
topmost.
Okay.
Yep. Counterspell Ponder in hand, which means that EE and Swords are the only remaining cards.
Okay.
And Dark Ritual is going to get countered. I imagine Connor's just going to play this Infernal Tutor now.
Sure.
Play the land and then play the Infernal
Sure.
Tutor, obviously. Land. Just pass, okay.
Yeah.
If you play the Infernal Tutor now, your opponent can guess what they need to put on top.
All right. So brainstorm right away.
Yeah. Another counterspell. This game's over.
Yeah. If I was Connor, I would just
As a Miracles pilot, I wish there were scenarios where I could like just reveal my hand to my opponent and be like, all right, will you scoop? Like,
totally.
we need to update the timer.
That's basically how the deck is set up to win. So
Yeah, definitely.
it's definitely, I think, a certain thing that is a nice skill in Legacy is that like only gets developed the more you play is knowing precisely when to scoop against your Miracles opponent for time.
Yeah.
Because the onus is kind of on you at that point.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. There we go.
Yeah, this is Lock City here, and I think this is like. I think what we're looking at is about to be just like the new state of Miracles. Is a Jace and a Narset right next to each other.
Yep, sitting with both of them in play. Counterbalance, sure.
Yeah.
Incidental.
Yeah, right? Like, barely matters at this point. Like, it's nice for sure, but...
I'm glad we got this on camera. If they did swap decks, I think that's very funny, interactive.
It'll be probably good for them to go back and watch as well. And realize that they need to write bigger.
You can reveal your hand anytime you want to. It's just kind of rude to be like, hey, scoop to me.
Yeah, you certainly can. It's just not sportsmanlike.
I've certainly
in a
done it to my
competitive environment.
I've certainly done it to my friends at a weekly, but
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
I'm not about to try and do that in like an actual tournament with stakes.
Absolutely.
But I will certainly do it to make fun of my friends.
Yep, sounds about right. I think you could do it, and then you would be known as the guy who does that.
Yeah.
And nobody would like you.
And if you like that name, then you know what? You can...
Yeah, you do you.
You're allowed to. It's not against the law.
Exactly.
So Connor's going to crack a fetch here. That's a red source. He's got 4 colors of mana. He just needs a drop here to really hit the circle.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that he had Swamp in play and the
And the Tundra. Don't forget about the Tundra.
I guess he's just not playing green, right?
Probably not. I assume that all of the splash you get out of green, you could get out of the white splash.
Sure, yeah, for sure. Blowing up enchantments and the such.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you lose like Abrupt Decay and stuff. All right, Infernal Tutor. Wow, Kelvin is really good at setting up his counterbalances.
Yeah.
Is the Storm player playing Teferi? That he is, Void Lily. He casted it earlier off a Lotus Petal on turn 2, and it got Force of Will. Connor also has a Mentor in his sideboard that he boarded in.
Yep, you can take a look right now.
There it is, right next to the Lotus Petal. It's also worth mentioning that these players have swapped decks. So.
Yeah, they apparently played each other's decks for the whole night.
I'm pretty sure that Kelvin is playing Connor's deck. I don't actually know that for sure, but pretty rock solid guess.
Yeah, either that or Kelvin borrowed it from someone else and lent his deck to Connor. Yeah. Something like that.
Probe was that bad for them. I don't think that Belcher's been in a reasonable spot for quite a while.
Right.
Missing a lot of stuff. Oh, there's another land for Connor. He is not in good shape this game. And Kelvin's just going to keep getting even further ahead. See, in situations like this, like there's at no point is Storm's win rate going to increase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It feels like Connor should be just trying to trying to go back on the play.
Yeah, I mean they got 30 minutes left, so it's not like they got a time constraint or anything like that. Just us.
It's just like, it's like, what are you even visualizing in your head at this point in the game, right?
Like ad nauseum, it probably is not resolving. So it's like ad nauseum plus double thought sees plus an answer to that counterbalance. It's like, how many cards do you need to draw a turn?
Exactly. Quite a bit.
Oh, Connor's going to respectfully play a Brainstorm into the Narset.
Ooh, nice.
To draw 1 card and put 2 back. I believe he's doing this just to look at the top card of his library to determine if he should fetch or not. Connor's just like, let me draw spells. Come on. Connor even knew what it was. Is the best part.
Right.
Because of that Brainstorm earlier. Inset Brainstorm from Kelvin here. That's how a Brainstorm is supposed to resolve, when you put all 3 cards in your hand. Hammer Fisher for Kelvin. Let's see. Got another uptick on Jace, just on 11. Like, we're just waiting for the Jace to tick up. Connor's going to decide to fetch. We got more shuffling before a draw occurs. We're trying, guys. We're trying. This is what Legacy's going to look like probably for a little bit.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the thing I've been thinking about is like, what does the month from now look like now that we know that these cards are actually quite good?
Yeah. What decks are supposed to look like now that we see kind of the correct configurations of your opponent's deck.
Totally.
I think that's usually what it takes to build the correct control deck, is you need to know the deck lists of other people in the tournament to be able to build the correct control deck to answer them.
Well, we have Dark Petition, so that's a card.
Yep. Cabal Ritual, sorry. And the pet. And
I
Kelvin's
think we're
like,
just
all
gonna
right,
hard cast Forcible
hard
here.
cast the force. Cool. Ah! Throw
And
my phone on the
Connor's just
ground.
gonna Connor's content to just make Kelvin do it.
Yeah,
so,
Connor is not interested in scooping this game.
I mean, now we have J Salt, so there we go.
Mhm.
And with Connor with no hand, right? That just
Yeah.
means that it's super done. Okay.
Pretty much lethal.
Yeah.
The new Jace would be lethal.
Which is the new one? The one blue one?
The Lab Maniac one.
Oh yeah. That one's sweet.
They wouldn't really be lethal here.
Nah.
So whenever I think of
Crazy.
somebody drawing a card from an empty library, I'll just think about that scenario.
Sure.
Imagine that you ult Jace the Mind Sculptor and then they win. What's the creature that you can sneak attack in a Planeswalker?
Oh yeah. It just came out.
Get him
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that on the end step. Oh man, that's dirty. All right. Kelvin finally manages to close the door on that one. Going
Yeah.
to game 3. Miracle's able to slam the door on like turn 4, and only took like 10 more turns to win the game. So
That is how. That's the miracle, as they say.
Yeah.
But this will be our last match for the night.
Mm-hmm.
So final game. All
Vote now in chat.
right.
Franker Z for Kelvin. Forehead for Connor Diedrich. Vote now in chat.
Take all of. I still don't know anything about Twitch emotes, so.
Aren't you in the FGC? What is this?
I mean, I don't really. I'm not like a stream monster. Like,
Okay, all right.
I don't really ever type in chat. I just have it up.
Yeah, sorry, we tried to get Borgot on camera, but they declined being a feature match. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
And then our backup Taking Turns deck called Turn and Burn also declined.
It's
so
true.
We had to go to deck 3, or matchup 3 of round 4.
And this, to say nothing of the fact that once these cats are done, everybody's going to be gone.
Yep. Very much so.
Purple sleeve battle here too.
Yep.
Maybe these
they're
are both
different.
of Kelvin's
I believe
decks.
they're different types of sleeves.
Oh, you're
to be
right.
fair.
They have a different. They're showing up a little.
Kelvin, I'm pretty sure, uses the KMC Hypermats. And
Nice spot. Oh,
I think the Miracles deck might be in Katanas. I think those might be Katanas. I haven't recognized those from the top down on camera yet, though. So
Gotcha. All right. Well, Connor pitching 2 and drawing. Nice.
Connor,
Kelvin reminding
Scry
him.
2. There's no Narset in play this game, sir.
He's like,
You draw your card. You get it.
fair magic.
Cantrips are way different if they don't draw cards. Let me just say that.
Yeah, that's very true. They are not cantrips.
Can't trips.
They can't. They are cantrips. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I
Can't
like it.
trips.
That looks like an alien race name. The cantrips.
Yeah. Connor will never forget. His brain will always be in Narset mode.
Right.
I'm glad you can Thoughtseize your opponent and they don't draw a card when they're in Narset mode. 1 mana Scry 5.
They never saw play.
I know they've printed a 1 mana Mill 5, but it's not really the same thing. Yeah, it's amazing how drawing a card changes the equity of a card considerably.
Yep.
By almost an entire card is what I'll say.
Yep.
Scry is not worth a card, but scrying plus draw is free equity, pretty much. Counterspell's a draw for Kelvin. He's got 2 mana up. Pretty good spot to be sitting. Let's see how close Connor is to actually killing him, though.
Alrighty.
Diabolic Vision. It's almost Tigan scheming or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Scry. I think Tigan Screaming is. I guess it's not Scry 5. What's the Scry where you put it in the graveyard instead? It's in the new set in Ravnica. What's the wording of that? Surveil. There we go.
Surveil. Oh, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Tigan Scheming is just straight up Surveil 5.
Yeah.
So we got a Spell Pierce on the Thoughtseize. Kelvin does not want to reveal his hand, which is understandable.
Yep.
Usually want to keep your hand a secret in the Thoughtseize deck. Why does the Storm deck have a Tundrus? Connor's Storm deck, which I believe is actually Kelvin's physical cards, it has a Teferi and a Monastery Mentor in it.
Yep.
So the White
Yeah.
Splash is coming out clutch for just a couple cards there. But
Yeah, it seems
not
like
bad
it's
ones.
just experimenting with some mostly just new Teferi as a cool
Yep.
main deck, like piece of interaction, and also something that helps you storm off.
It's defense grid, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh,
defense
you're right,
grid
you're
that
right.
like sometimes draws a card the same turn as defense
forgot
grid,
about
which
that,
is
yeah.
kind of cool. Certainly relevant in decks they're trying to combo off.
Yep.
Yeah, and we saw the Teferi get casted game 2. However, it definitely did not resolve. Connor trying to decide what land to fetch. Usually it's Underground Sea. Yeah,
Teferi and combo
Teferi.
decks makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like Teferi's text goes in very different decks. Like I
Yeah.
feel each line of Teferi's text does a different, like drastically different thing. So like there's not really a deck that needs all of them.
Sure.
You want to be playing a deck that needs one of them and can take advantage of the rest of them. I think Miracles is probably the spot for that specifically, which is slow down your opponent, open up windows. Standstill, yeah, Standstill does. Good call, HC. Good call.
Yeah, HC's got the hard knowledge tonight.
Always refer to Standstill. I think that's his 4th time today referring to Standstill. It might just be 3. I don't disagree with it, but...
Well, Connor found a way to make some gobos.
Empty the Warrens, yeah.
Empty the Warrens,
problem is, versus Miracles, you like make gobos and
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's
instead
bad.
Brainstorm,
You're right.
I'm gonna draw Terminus.
Yeah, it's super bad. You don't even want that. Oh, but he is going to draw the land. Oh, he's maybe going to fetch after this. Or just keep going.
I decided to play Mistil. Hell yeah. I love Mistil.
Because it's a fairy. Ooh, there we go.
I've never seen that preordain art. I think it's the Mirrodin one. Is that right? Mirrodin Besieged or something like that? Scars of Mirrodins?
It's definitely, I think it's like
Mirrodin.
a promo from that era, maybe? Or
Oh, maybe it's from a dual deck.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, like a dual deck era or something like that.
Yeah, I think it might be a dual deck. All right, we got a Brainstorm here from Connor. He's going to draw that Empty the Warrens. I wonder if he's going to jam it. It feels real awkward to jam here.
It does. I know he's sitting on all this mana, but even now, doesn't he not have...
He's got a Lotus Metal, so he can find...
Oh, he does have one? Okay. So he can start going off.
Oh, there's also a Volcanic in hand, yeah.
I think he's made his land drop is what I was
Oh,
thinking.
yeah, okay. It might be next turn that he goes off.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right.
Calvin fetching. So he just needs to discard, says Fox. Yeah, he just needs some sort of insurance.
Yeah, it's weird because like discard doesn't necessarily beat the Brainstorm Terminus on top, because if they
Right.
respond to the hand disruption, then it's like really clunky.
Right. Hashtag Team Connor. We are drawing lines in the sand here.
Yeah.
In chat.
I like to see chat take a stance.
Team
anything that's not Miracles.
That is
That's true.
is absolutely my team.
I respect that. It's a good team to be on.
Yeah.
Team Miracles goes to discard. Is
Right.
the team Kelvin's on.
Team 7 cards in hand.
Yeah. Team maximum hand size should be increased by 1.
Yeah.
Discard Snapcaster Mage. That's what I like to see. That's a play right there. You're sending a message with that. Oh, you
Huge
know what the
message.
message is? Is that Kelvin can't draw lands. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
right. The message is I have 2 mana right now. I can't.
Miracle. Yeah, it's funny. Like, people trim lands so much in Miracles. Like, they are so aggressive. Like, they're like, oh, I'm playing 16 cantrips, so I'm just going to play 12 lands. I'm kidding. Those aren't actually the numbers.
No, but no, I think you...
It's 19 lands and 12 cantrips.
Make a good
is
point.
Usually where the line
Yeah,
is.
yeah. All right. Here we go.
I don't even think
Storm
JJ's
time.
here today.
No, he's not.
He didn't even come.
Nah.
It's rude.
I think he's been missing out on Mondays for
Yeah, well, I think he's working.
reasons.
Yeah, well, now I think he's like working in some fancy valet.
Oh,
Or something
okay.
like that. I think he's moving up in the world.
Jordan is also lacking on Monday nights recently. Jordan Isaka.
Yeah, he's been streaming a lot though. So
Oh, cool.
you
Nice.
kind of get bite-sized Jordan Isaka.
I gotta check that out more often, actually. All right, Storm, 3,
Dun, 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 dun.
and we're still at 5 in pool.
Mhm.
Connor is deciding between, because I don't think he can get to lethal, can he? With for tendrils, 4. He needs to get up to 9.
I don't think Tendrils is, but I think what you face it, Passing Flames is.
Oh, sure.
And Kelvin's like, sir, you missed a mana.
Yeah, I know, right? Helping a buddy out.
Yeah.
Looks like he's just gonna go for gobos here.
Yeah.
So Storm is 5. Gonna be 10 goblins. What do we got here?
Empty the Warrens for 10 tokens, 12 tokens.
I think 10. Storm's sitting at 5, right?
I don't know
Oh,
if
so
he's
12.
uptick. Yeah, I don't know if he's uptick Storm from playing
1
this
plus
spell,
5
and it's
copies.
always like you get X plus.
I always
1.
forget that
Yeah.
too. Yeah, 1 plus 5. I think it is 1 plus 5 copies, maybe. So 6 total. Kevin's like, oh, because he has a Flusterstorm in hand, so I think he's just trying to
Yeah.
make sure he doesn't mess this up.
Yeah, well, it's weird because like you kind of want to min max on the number of things you counter.
Sure. What is this card? Is that just a counter
That's
spell?
just counter spell.
Okay.
I don't think that's the one you'll play.
No.
Whoop.
That's not
Whoa.
gonna... What's gonna happen here?
What?
What is he gonna... What? 4 copies left? So there's 5 copies left. What's going on?
I don't know. That was a weird
Kelvin,
play.
what happened? What happened, bud?
Kelvin, you know how this deck works. Like
Oh no.
he has the Flusterstorm. I don't
I'm so
understand.
confused about why we're not Flusterstorming the Storm card.
Oh.
He's got so much mana.
Even still, like I think you force him to crack. Like, oh, I guess if you use a Fluster, then you can't play Counterspell.
Yeah, he can pay through all the copies. I did forget about all the mana floating.
Yeah. Tip. All right, and then we have
Alright,
another Force
now he has
Will.
to get back. Yeah, okay.
So now we just got to beat all the tokens for Kelvin to win.
But then, like, why? I feel like what he's still getting how many tokens out of this? 6.
I think so. Yeah.
So.
Which I mean, that to be fair, I think that adds a turn to the clock. So.
Okay, maybe that is worth it.
I like this. So I would have played this AK during my opponent's turn in case I draw Terminus.
Sure. Yeah. How many copies of the spell got countered? 2 different copies off of Storm 6?
3. Right. 2 forces and a counterspell.
Okay.
There's a Narset, which.
So yeah, he does only
lets
make
him
3.
dig. I might play Brainstorm here before Narset. I guess you might need the Brainstorm in case you find Terminus off this.
Sure. Finds Jace, finds Force as well.
Yeah, it finds Jace, but no 4th land, so Jace is kind of irrelevant. I mean, both these cards are irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you take Jace Hope to rip a land, but it's not even going to work that well, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Connor just looking at the sideboard there. Oh, looking at the graveyard there. 2x per copy. Right, so 3 copies got countered and 3 copies went through, and that equals 6 1/1s.
Correct. There's a Passive Flames from Connor, not too active at the moment. Tokens. I think you just send 3 at Narset and...
yeah, I wouldn't even risk it.
Oh, actually, hold on. Never mind. You can't send 3 at Narset because that increases the clock by a turn.
What do you mean?
So if Connor sends 3 tokens at Narset and 6 damage at Kelvin...
Yes.
Or, sorry, 3 damage at Kelvin.
Oh, but okay. But
so
look,
I like this. He's going to send 1 power at
just
the
enough so that it doesn't
Narset, so the Narset dies if it downticks.
Yeah, I believe that is the correct play.
I actually would have gone 2 at the Narset because it keeps the clock and then stops Kelvin from being able to
That's what I
activate.
thought was happening here.
Oh!
Shoot, yeah, that's what I thought.
So,
I thought Narset was a -3 for a second.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
So this is actually huge.
Yep.
Kelvin, by being able to use the Ancient Explosives there, is able to...
Should have attacked for 3 at the Narset, or attacked for 2 at the Narset or whatever. Attacked for 2 at the Narset.
To be fair, I feel like Miracles just had 10 or 12 cards to look at, and I feel like a control deck should be able to win the game if it is able to look at that many cards.
I mean, that's the power of this of new Narset, right?
Yeah, so for anybody watching at home, these guys traded decks before this event. I think this is the first time Kelvin's played Miracles, and I have no idea if Connor's ever played Storm before.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, this is definitely funny to watch for the end of the night.
2 Lotus Petals, Past in Flames.
Whoa.
I think that's going to get... Oh, Kelvin's like, oh, shit.
It's like, uh-oh. That is actually a lot of mana you can start to make now.
It's kind of relevant, yeah.
Yeah, you can go
It's
off.
actually not super relevant because there's no access to red mana.
Blue or red, yeah.
Oh, it's actually still lethal. Double Kabbalah Ritual into Infernal Tutor for Tendrils of Agony.
Yeah. Because he's only have 5 life. Snap.
Yep. Oh, there's
Kelvin.
a Surgical in Kelvin's hand, though.
Oh!
Yeah, I like this. So he can just Surgical. I think you just go after the...
Tutor?
Yeah.
Then he can't do anything with the mana, right?
Yeah. I was thinking either Tutor or you just go after the Kabbalah Rituals and just say, you can play Tutor this turn.
Yeah. That's actually, that would effectively do the same thing,
I guess
right?
this is probably better.
This is better for the long game. Kelvin still needs a way to win.
Yeah, Connor does not get to tutor his library in this play.
Absolutely,
while he does
yeah. So close was Connor. All right.
Let's see where we go from here.
Has to preordain into LED into another cantrip into tutor. Well, he doesn't even have. Yeah, now he just has 2 color any mana, or 2 of any mana, and I don't think he can do a lot with that here.
So the problem with the big mana into making goblins is that there's no red mana available. If there's a dark ritual in the graveyard, then Connor could play dark ritual to cast a Cabal ritual and still have a Lotus Petal for red.
Connor's on Ponder. Well, he finds a Petal, which does let him keep
it kind of
going. Yeah, Xeroxes, yeah. Lets him just keep going with the cards he has in the graveyard.
I think you shuffle and hope to draw LED, honestly.
I think that's fair. Yeah, that would be super nice right now. Just lets you power up all your mana.
I think you shuffle, knock the top of your deck, hope it's LED. I think that's the only out here.
Word.
Looks like Connor's gonna keep.
All right. Gonna continue to go for the pedal, I guess.
Yeah, so he's got a pedal in his hand still. He's gonna fire off a Preordain here or a Brainstorm?
Preordain. Okay, so he's gonna dig 2 deeper or 1 deeper now.
Yeah, I see both those cards. Get a double
Oh, you see
bottom.
both of them. Okay.
I don't know. I guess this accomplishes kind of the same thing.
Sure.
Kelvin does have Force plus blue card, which we're talking about the reality where that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to cast this Ponder from my hand. Comes like, yeah, whatever.
Yep. That's a whole lot of gas, or not gas, air. That's a whole lot of air.
Yeah, and HC Fox brings up that probably instead of playing the Ponder from hand, Connor should have played a Brainstorm in his graveyard.
Sure.
Keeps card numbers in hand.
Sure.
Kelvin draws a Flusterstorm. Dark Ritual off the top.
What is this for?
How much does Past in Flames cast flashback?
Oh,
5?
of course, yeah.
I think it's 5, so I don't actually think this matters.
So 3 mana.
I was thinking that this was enough mana to then cast Past in Flames, cast Dark Ritual,
Oh, did he
and
just
then have red.
Did he just not count as well?
Yeah.
Did you just realize
He's one
that?
off as well.
Yeah, he's one off as well. Yeah.
This is how the Storm deck loses a lot, is that like it can make a ton of black mana, it just needs one more mana for
yeah,
red.
exactly,
It just needs
yeah.
one red mana.
Yep. Yeah.
That being said, this is one of those scenarios where
Connor
Kelvin
says boo.
yeah,
All right, flash it back, and then what? Can't do anything with it.
cast a cantrip. I
Yeah,
don't know.
cast a single cantrip. Yeah. And he's like, no, I don't even want to. Get out of here.
I'll just pass. Dark Ritual, go.
All right, so now Kelvin's on 5 mana. He can hardcast his Force of Will. He can cast Brainstorm if he doesn't have to do that. All right, let's go. Pull him back in at 3 life.
Yep.
Connor could just cantrip into
So
Tendrils.
Tendrils of Agony plus like
Right?
a spell.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
is
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
certainly pretty scary here. I mean, Kelvin does have Flusterstorm and Force of Will, so it's unlikely that
That's fair.
copies are going to resolve, but it could happen. And Connor's also drawn like 3 lands in a row.
Like
which is-
if Kelvin like taps out for a Jace or something that he draws, I don't know.
Jace Fate Seal, and then Connor fetches, finds a Tendrils.
Exactly. Fetches and ponders and finds it or something.
These players are friends, and I think Kelvin was smack talking him a little bit
Oh,
by
for
doing
sure,
that. I
yeah.
think that was some playful ribbing. There we go. That's the phrase I like using.
Well, all right.
Yeah. All right. Kelvin's finally got a clock, so we only have 9 more turns of this game now.
Exactly.
I feel like if I'm Connor, I might hold a land or 2 back, guess I draw a Brainstorm, have some action to, well, some blanks to shuffle away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mentor coming down. That's a good clock. The clock. Dark Ritual land in hand for Connor is not really where you're trying to sit. He does have a lot of mana here. He's definitely able to play that Dark Ritual into Past in Flames and then play... Now he's still have 2 Dark Rituals, so he'll definitely have access to ample black and red mana, but it's kind of past the point. All right, Connor's going to shuffle. Ooh, excuse me.
He's just waiting to get enough mana to hard flashback the Past in Flames, I guess.
Yeah. Kelvin could have Miracled Terminus there and killed his own Mentor.
Ooh.
Just going to attack and pass. This game's going to take a little
I
while.
know, we finally get the Mentor clock, but Kelvin just doesn't have a way to produce tokens, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, Connor is not really going to be drawing much action, so basically just going to be sitting here. If Kelvin spends resources, it's going to probably be a net disadvantageous for him.
Yeah.
I think it's right for Kelvin to just attack for 2 until the game ends.
Makes sense.
But not the most exciting viewing
No,
experience.
definitely not.
All right, 3 mana in the pool. Storm is 1. Passive Flame is not going to resolve, so none of this actually matters.
Right.
Now, if you're Kelvin, you got to counter the Passive Flame. You're like, sorry, dude, I can't.
I think you just hardcast Force of Will, right?
Yeah, probably. Ultimately, I don't think it matters how you do it. I think it's,
Fair.
as long as it's actually countered. I don't think Flusterstorm does it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Flusterstorm doesn't make it really awkward for Connor, though, because he's got to tap 3 more lands, I think, or maybe it's 2. Oh, we got Snapcaster, Brainstorm, and then Flusterstorm. Oh, he's got hard counter. Okay.
Oh, yeah, snap counterspell.
Yep. That'll
Which
do.
also just helps him, yeah, clock it up.
All right. Is Connor scooping him up?
I don't think so.
Looks like he almost did.
Yeah, he scooped up his storm token.
He like started
which
going
is basically
for it,
the
yeah.
same. Woo, we got a Jace just to pump these mentors up. Let's go. Let's go. Trigger. Crack it in for 2, 4, 7 is Kelvin this turn. After, he's probably cracking it for more.
I think it's just going to be 7. It's lethal next turn, pretty much, no matter how you cut this. So
That's fair. I figured he might brainstorm first, but
I don't think that he can get to lethal this turn off 3 mana.
that's a good point.
I think he needs 6 more points. I think that could potentially be 6 more points, and I think he needs 7 here.
Sure.
He needs 8, so yeah. He would need to cast 3 cantrips and then force his own spell, or 2 cantrips and his swords and force his own spell. There it is. 7 coming in hot, right at Connor's head. Connor goes to 8. Game's ticking. Connor needs to win the game here. Oh, he finds
Echoing
an echoing truth. That'll probably not resolve this game.
No, that's the thing, huh?
I was like, oh, that's going to make the game go even longer because Kelvin doesn't need to counter it. But Kelvin will have a lethal if he counters it.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I guess you counter it.
It's actually quite nice.
Elegant, yeah. Sometimes Mentor is an elegant kill.
Looks like he's gonna.
Count his mana sources really quick.
Yeah. Oh, he's resolving a brainstorm. I didn't even notice. Okay.
He's resolving Jace, yeah. Oh. Terminus going to get played. Flusterstorm going to trigger on, or counter the Terminus, and Storm's going to happen. Echoing Truth coming in hot for Connor, and Kelvin has Force Bitch Force.
There it is.
And game.
All right. We made it.
Alrighty, welcome back to the booth, my guys.
Hey, everybody.
So that was 4 rounds of Legacy action coming at you live here from twitch.tv/Card Kingdom. We're in Seattle, Washington. Beautiful game store. We run Legacy every Monday here at Card Kingdom in Ballard. And then on Thursdays, we stream Modern over at the Bellevue location. So
Yes, check that out if you like Modern.
if you're into Eternal formats, but like Brainstorm's too crazy, then you definitely got that. We also do a lot of weekend events. We just had a 1K, so I don't know when the next one is. Probably like 3 weeks or something like that, 4 weeks maybe.
Yeah, it will be in June, and then notably in July, the Invitational will be
Invitational,
happening,
and I think Rags to Riches also just got announced in June or July. So if you guys are into
there's one in a
Pauper,
couple
just
weeks.
be prepared for that. It'll happen. Welcome, Romario. Sadly, you got us right at the end of the broadcast. We're just going down for the night. It's been a sick 4 rounds of Legacy, and it's dark outside. Last time I looked out, it was still bright, and that's kind of how Seattle summers go.
Yeah, totally
Right at,
crazy.
like,
just
9:30
now
or
getting dark at 10:20. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you had a great time. We'll be back next week, basically.
Yeah. Are you casting again next week?
I have no idea. I'm not on schedule.
Because I know you just like rapid fired off.
I took all of May, and now we're done.
Yeah, now we're
and
done
the
with May.
future is yet to be determined.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
I have no idea if I'm casting on Monday or not. We'll find out, everybody.
Stay tuned for next episode.
Stay tuned.
All right, guys, we're going to head down for the night. Thank you so much for tuning in. From everyone here, have a good night.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. All right. See you guys.
Big ups to Legacy.
Cool. Lots of Legacy, LOL.
LOL, lots of Legacy. Everyone knows what that means.
Is your child talking?
Okay. Now I'm gonna see if these fucking things saved.
Yeah, right.
And I'm also. Oh, if I hit separate.